In this world, known as Blue Star, a perilous realm where modern cities are ravaged by bloodthirsty fierce beasts, these terrifying creatures, radiating dark energy, pose a constant threat to humanity's very existence. To combat them, a portion of humanity has awakened special abilities, becoming valiant warriors who protect the world. A young man has transmigrated here, but ironically, his awakened ability is the E-class weak electric current, with power no greater than an electric baton. However, he recalls a painful transformation process his power underwent, hinting at a hidden potential. The scene shifts to Jiangcheng No. 2 High School, where a tense atmosphere grips the classroom just one day before the unified exam. Homeroom teacher Chen Fan begins instructing the cultural exam students to prepare their tools. He then issues a stern warning to those participating in the martial arts exam, emphasizing its extreme danger and the risk of death for anyone with power below D-class. The transmigrator, Xu Jingming, merely smirks inwardly, knowing the teacher's warning seems aimed directly at him. He reflects on his new life in Blue Star, a world ravaged by ferocious monsters. Here, everyone awakens a unique ability at the age of 16, creating a society of extraordinary individuals. These abilities are categorized into 9 ranks, but most people possess power ranging from F-class to D-class. Xu Jingming is acutely aware that his own ability is merely E-class, a weak electric current that seems to have predetermined a mediocre future for him. His thoughts are interrupted when a classmate, resting his feet on the desk, aggressively questions his decision to participate in the martial arts exam. The bully, a blonde-haired student named Huang Tian, mocks Xu Jingming as an E-class trash and offers him a desk job at his family's company. Before Xu Jingming can react, a purple-haired female student named Lin Qinglun intervenes, telling Huang Tian to mind his own business first. Huang Tian dismisses her, challenging Lin Qingluan and declaring he will prove who is the best in the upcoming exam. As he leaves, Huang Tian delivers a final threat, asserting that someone like Xu Jingming is bound to die in the arena. However, Lin Qingluan turns back to advise Xu Jingming not to mind the bully's words, comforting him that choosing a peaceful life is also a good option. The registration form tells the whole story. Xu Jingming, 18 years old, male, possessing an E-class elemental ability, ready to face the nation's fated test. Xu Jingming contemplates the world's dangers, realizing that whether he participates in the martial arts exam or not, he cannot escape the threat of fierce beasts. He recalls a horrifying childhood memory, helplessly witnessing his parents' death during a beast tide. The pain of the past forged an unyielding resolve in his eyes. He never wanted to experience that feeling of helplessness again. With that determination, Xu Jingming affirms his choice. He will participate in the martial arts exam. The sunset casts a glow on a building, signaling the start of training time. Inside, Xu Jingming's silhouette relentlessly swings his spear, his shouts echoing through the space. He grips the spear shaft tightly, and lightning energy begins to surge from his palm. A powerful lightning strike is unleashed, but immediately after, Xu Jingming gasps for breath, utterly exhausted. He collapses onto the floor, his body pushed to its limit, and unable to continue training. Lying down to rest, he feels disappointed that after 2.5 years, his spear techniques are still only at the beginner level, though the thunder-breaking spear skill has made him slightly stronger. He is acutely aware of the harsh reality. The mortality rate in the exam for low-ranked individuals like him is steadily increasing. Nevertheless, the desire to enter a university for awakened individuals forces him to accept the risk, clenching his fist with determination. Just then, a blue system screen suddenly appears before him. His eyes widen in astonishment as the words "System Activating" appear. Sitting on the floor, he dazedly reads the notification of receiving a beginner's pack and wonders if this is the legendary cheat system. With an expectant expression, he wonders about the contents of the gift pack, and the system reveals the astonishing reward: an S-class ability and 200 ability points. He is stunned to learn the value of an S-class ability, something that can turn a person into a top powerhouse, sought after by the entire nation. Realizing this is a golden opportunity to change the fate of an E-class individual, he reaches out towards the notification panel. Without a moment's hesitation, Xu Jingming decisively chooses to accept. The system confirms his successful receipt of the gift pack, adds the ability points, and begins transmitting the S-class ability, Purple Heaven Divine Thunder, symbolized by an image of a heart reinforced by lightning. As soon as he accepts, the transformation process begins, Xu Jingming gritting his teeth as violent purple lightning tears through his body. The energy erupts violently, creating a massive lightning sphere that shatters the training room floor. The shockwave spreads with terrifying power, shattering the building's glass windows. Below, neighbors look up in horror at the anomaly emanating from the Xu family's apartment. a curious child asking his mother what is happening. Worried about the Shu boy, a man quickly calls the fire department for help. Meanwhile, Xu Jingming is still writhing in unimaginable pain, as the ability transformation process surpasses the 70% mark. This event causes a massive disturbance, causing the sky in the area to suddenly darken, leaving pedestrians bewildered. Atop a building, a colossal energy converges into the form of a majestic lightning dragon. From a high-rise office, a commander senses immense pressure, suspecting a lightning element fierce beast is about to invade. Immediately, he orders the Jiangcheng 3rd Legion to enter the highest state of alert. The lightning dragon roars, a sky-shattering roar, and dives straight down from the sky. Simultaneously, Xu Jingming's transformation process reaches 100%, a system notification confirming the ability transfer is complete. The chaotic energy instantly calms, condensing into a cocoon of light that envelops his body. Inside the cocoon, a hand slowly clenches, the lightning now completely under control. Xu Jingming confidently stands up, feeling the power of the S-class ability, Purple Heaven, Divine Thunder, and realizing it is on an entirely different level. He looks around the devastated training room and thinks he should have gone outside to test his new strength. Afterward, Xu Jingming remembers he still has 200 ability points, and the system explains they are used to upgrade ranks and skills. He becomes incredibly excited about this direct cheat system and immediately requests to open the control panel. The status panel appears, clearly displaying his name, S-class ability, stats, and 200 unallocated ability points. Aware that the unified exam is tomorrow, Xu Jingming decides to use all his points to enhance his combat power. Xu Jingming decided to pour all his ability points into the 2 core stats, physicality and spirit. Immediately, his stats began to skyrocket at an astonishing rate. A surge of dark energy mixed with purple lightning erupted around him, making Xu Jingming feel his vitality boiling intensely. He clenched his fists, sensing the physical power surging through every muscle fiber. Testing his new strength, Xu Jingming moved at a terrifying speed, unleashing powerful martial arts strikes that created countless afterimages. He confidently flexed his arm, realizing that raising his basic attributes would enhance the power of both his combat skills and his superpower. The status panel appeared, confirming his physicality stat had reached 141, and his spirit stat was 160. With this power, Xu Jingming was certain he would pass the Superpower University entrance exam, and wondered how he would rank against other geniuses. To verify his actual strength, he hoisted his spear onto his shoulder and decided to head to a martial arts gym. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed as someone forcefully kicked open the door to his apartment from the outside. The door shattered, and a fully equipped team of firefighters rushed in, catching Xu Jingming completely off guard. The stern captain announced that they had received an emergency report about a fire at this location. Standing amidst the ruined room, Xu Jingming calmly explained that the recent chaos was caused by him cultivating his superpower. Understanding the situation, the captain immediately used his radio to report that the situation was under control and ordered his team to withdraw. Before leaving, he couldn't help but stare at Xu Jingming in awe, secretly admiring the terrifying strength of the younger generation. After changing clothes, Xu Jingming left the building and was greeted by an elderly neighbor named Uncle Kai, who praised his diligence. For awakened individuals, training at martial arts gyms is an essential path to enhancing their strength. Xu Jingming headed to the Thunder Martial Arts Gym, one of the most renowned martial arts gyms in the Great Xia Nation. Inside the crowded hallway, he knew this was the only place that offered free access to high school students like himself. Amidst the crowd, a group of students suddenly noticed him, and one girl seemed to recognize Xu Jingming. Among the students, a tall girl with black hair and striking red eyes was introduced as Tang Qi, Xu Jingming's cousin. Xu Jingming approached, surprised to see her at the Thunder Martial Arts Gym. Tang Qi was slightly flustered, replying that she was just accompanying some friends. Afterward, Xu Jingming bid farewell to her group to head to the training room. As soon as he was out of sight, Xiaoya curiously asked Tang Qi about the handsome boy, while Tang Qi secretly thought her cousin looked unusually different. Tang Qi explained that he was Xu Jingming, her cousin, a third-year student who would also be taking the military entrance exam tomorrow. The accompanying male student teased Xiaoya, asking if she was looking for a boyfriend, and the dreamy girl replied that with that face, Xu Jingming would be a fantastic boyfriend to show off. Hearing this, Tang Qi bluntly shattered her friend's illusion, revealing that her cousin had only awakened an E-rank superpower. The male student sneered, suggesting that someone with an E-rank superpower daring to take the martial arts exam was at least very brave. But Tang Qi worried because the risk was too high. To change the subject, Tang Qi pulled Xiaoya's arm, inviting the group to explore the martial arts gym together. As they walked, Someone in the group mentioned that this was their first time here after 3 years of training elsewhere, viewing it as a way to relax before the exam. Meanwhile, Xu Jingming found a secluded training room, standing alone before a massive target dummy. He lifted his spear and noticed it felt significantly lighter, quickly realizing that the spear hadn't changed, but his physical strength had increased. Thinking of the upcoming exam, he decided to test his pure physical strength first, without using his superpower. Xu Jingming exhaled, channeling all his strength into his body. He swung the spear fiercely, generating a violent vortex of air. The spearhead struck the center of the target, and the electronic display above showed an astonishing number: 321 calories. Xu Jingming clenched his fist, realizing his physical strength had nearly doubled, far exceeding the 100-calorie threshold of an ordinary awakened person. His eyes flashed with purple lightning as he decided it was time to test the Violet Heaven Divine Thunder. Instantly, powerful purple electric currents began to flow and envelop Xu Jingming's body. Xu Jingming unleashed a lightning strike on the target, measuring a power output of 3,021 calories. He smiled contentedly, secretly admiring the power of the S-rank superpower, as a basic attack was already comparable to a Tier 1 superpower user. Asserting that this was not his limit, Xu Jingming believed that the combination of his physicality, superpower, and combat skills was his true trump card. He channeled all his lightning energy into the spear, preparing for a final attack to test his true limits. With a heaven-shaking roar, Xu Jingming unleashed his full power, creating a terrifying energy explosion. In the main hall of the martial arts gym, a male student and others were startled by the sudden tremor, thinking it was an earthquake. On the same floor, Tang Chi's group also staggered from the violent shaking. A wavy-haired male student in the group immediately recognized this as an extremely powerful energy fluctuation at the level of a superpower user. He wondered if some master had arrived, as this floor was supposedly reserved only for students. Tang Chi's red eyes shone with determination. She decided she had to investigate the source of the tremor. As the group walked down the corridor, they unexpectedly ran into Xu Jingming, who was carrying his spear and stepping out from a corner. Tang Chi called out to him, and Xu Jingming replied that he was heading home to prepare further for the exam. The wavy-haired male student wished Xu Jingming good luck, while reassuring Tang Chi that the energy source definitely did not come from her cousin. After Xu Jingming left, the group approached a metal door, confirming that this was the source of the energy. The door suddenly blew off, revealing a devastated training room inside, leaving the entire group stunned in disbelief. Xiaoya gasped, unable to believe that even the memory alloy had been destroyed, and wondered if there was a student in Jiangcheng strong enough to do that. The wavy-haired male student analyzed the violent energy residue, concluding that this must have been caused by a Tier 2 superpower user. He asserted confidently that even the geniuses in the capital city couldn't achieve this feat. Xiaoya suddenly froze, pointing out that the only person who had just passed by was Xu Jingming, and hypothesized that he was a hidden genius. Another male student in the group immediately refuted this, scoffing that it was absurd, and that with an E-rank superpower, Xu Jingming could not possibly be that powerful. The wavy-haired student hypothesized that the powerful person had left through another exit, which is why they hadn't encountered him, then turned to ask Tang Chi for her opinion. Tang Chi replied distractedly, her attention entirely focused on the ruined wall as her hand brushed against the jagged surface. As the dust settled, she discovered a perfectly circular hole in the stone, and realized this mark could only have been made by a spear. Tang Chi's eyes flashed crimson, and the image of Xu Jingming carrying his spear and walking away flashed through her mind, forcing her to reconsider her assessment of him. The scene shifted to the day of the ability examination, a vast plaza crowded with examinees bustling in from buses. Amidst the crowd, a group of examinees stood out with impressive weapons and gear, immediately drawing the attention of those nearby. Xu Jingming arrived, carrying his spear over his shoulder with complete confidence, his blue eyes shining with undisguised determination. Another group of examinees gasped in horror upon seeing the silhouette of a gigantic rhino-Keelin beast behind the fence, realizing the difficulty of this year's exam had skyrocketed. An arrogant young swordsman named Zhou Mingyang mocked their fear, declaring that anyone who couldn't handle a monster of this level was simply incompetent. Xu Jingming's close friend, Liu Jie, approached, recognizing the arrogant youth as Zhou Mingyang, the one dubbed the Gale Sword of First High School. Zhou Mingyang stood with his arms crossed smugly, while rumors about his B-rank Swift Gale ability and his advancement to Tier 1 circulated through the crowd. Xu Jingming looked directly at the potential rival, who was considered the top scorer candidate, and confidently thought to himself that he was the stronger one. Suddenly, a loud shout rang out, demanding the attention of all examinees. A man in military uniform with a scar across his eye introduced himself as Wang Haiyang, the general commander of this year's Jiangcheng Ability Examination. Standing atop a military vehicle, Wang Haiyang announced that the examination would last 12 hours in the ruined city behind him. A map of the examination area appeared, showing it was divided into the outer ring, central area, inner area, and core, with scores increasing based on monster difficulty. Wang Haiyang sternly warned that the core was a reward reserved for the best, and advised everyone not to risk their lives for points. Hearing this, Xu Jingming secretly resolved that while previously he would only have dared to stay in the outer ring, now his goal was the inner area and even the core. Afterwards, the examinees were instructed to meet their homeroom teachers to receive their exam supplies. Xu Jingming and Lu Jie lined up together. Xu Jingming received a bag from his teacher, who informed him that it contained 3 essential items. The exam items included a smartwatch for score tracking, a tactical backpack containing 12 hours of survival supplies, and a safety orb capable of generating a high-voltage electric barrier. The homeroom teacher instructed Xu Jingming that activating the safety orb would prematurely end his exam, but that life was the most important thing. Just as Xu Jingming turned away, a girl with purple-gray hair unexpectedly called his name. The girl introduced herself as Class Rep Liu, offering Xu Jingming a spot on her team, while Lu Ji, standing behind him, also promised to protect him. However, a gray-haired male student in the group immediately objected, arguing that adding Xu Jingming to their 5-person lineup would compromise their goal of achieving high scores. An argument erupted when another member of the group was accused of planning to withdraw at the last minute. Amidst the chaos, other members also expressed contempt, declaring they didn't want to carry an incompetent person, and were surprised Xu Jingming even dared to show up for the exam. Xu Jingming calmly stepped forward, politely thanking Class Rep Liu for her kindness, leaving the entire group stunned into silence. He confidently declared that he would go alone, and advised them to form their own team. Class Rep Liu was surprised by his decision, but accepted it and told him to be careful. The gray-haired student immediately pulled Class Rep Liu away, saying they should find someone named Huang Tian to form their team. Watching their retreating figures, Xu Jingming smirked to himself, believing that even without teammates, he could still achieve a high ranking. When the exam officially began, the gates opened, and streams of examinees flooded into the testing area like a torrent, determined to seize the top spot as the carnivorous beasts were released. In the crowd, Tang Qi and her teammates rushed forward with determined expressions. A female student with light purple hair also charged bravely, swinging her greatsword. Elsewhere, Zhou Mingyang demonstrated superior strength, gliding through the air using his ability. Xu Jingming also merged into the flow of people, gripping his spear tightly, ready for the unified ability test. While running, he tapped the smartwatch on his wrist. A virtual screen appeared, confirming his identity as examinee Xu Jingming, student of Class 5. Grade 12 at Jiangcheng Second High School. Immediately after, the screen switched to the live regional leaderboard, showing that Zhou Mingyang had quickly taken the top spot with 7 points. Xu Jingming smiled confidently, noting that the top student from the other school had started scoring, and decided it was time for him to act. Meanwhile, other groups of examinees were rushing into the central area of the ruined testing grounds. Separating from the crowd, Xu Jingming advanced alone deep into the desolate city. His steps suddenly halted when he discovered the corpse of another examinee slumped in a pool of blood. Xu Jingming realized with horror that the wounds were too severe. The victim hadn't even managed to activate the safety orb, reminding him of his teacher's warning. He shuddered, thinking that if he hadn't awakened his S-rank ability, his own fate might have been just as tragic. Nevertheless, he calmly used the deceased's device to call the logistics team, accepting the brutality of the exam where opportunity and risk always went hand in hand. Suddenly, a sense of danger sharpened Xu Jingming's gaze. From the shadows, a fierce beast with glowing purple eyes and a dark aura emerged, and Xu Jingming realized the corpse was merely bait. The monster revealed itself to be a gigantic feline creature, and he realized he had fallen into its trap. Without hesitation, Xu Jingming adopted his long spear stance, ready to face the growling, fierce beast. The beast lunged, swinging its sharp claws enveloped in blue energy. With an agile movement, Xu Jingming dodged the lightning-fast attack. He quickly analyzed his opponent. Swift movement technique, razor-sharp claws, a biting force of over 1,000 pounds, a true rookie assassin. The fierce beast let out a savage roar, the oppressive aura radiating from its glowing eyes. Xu Jingming recalled his knowledge of fierce beasts. They possess a special kind of malevolent aura capable of suppressing the prey's spirit, preventing first-time awakeners from utilizing even a third of their strength. He thought about how wealthy families often hired professional bodyguards to take their children into the wilderness, helping them become accustomed to combat early on. But he didn't have that privilege. This was the first time he was truly facing a fierce beast alone, and it was charging straight at him. The distance closed. In the blink of an eye, the monster's claws were right in front of him. In that very moment, Xu Jingming unleashed a lightning spear strike, the tip of his spear flashing with violet lightning as it pierced straight through the beast's head. With his blue eyes flashing, Xu Jingming realized the fierce beast's suppressive aura was completely ineffective against him. Standing next to the corpse of the shadow cat, a system notification appeared, informing him that he had received 3 ability points. Xu Jingming mused that slaying beasts could help him grow stronger, but the unranked ones yielded too few points. Amidst the ruined city, he decided not to waste time in the periphery and quickly moved toward the central zone. Xu Jingming plunged into a slaughter, continuously taking down numerous unranked fierce beasts to accumulate ability points. He realized that even with the extra points, what he lacked most was actual combat experience, and using his S-rank ability to eliminate weak beasts was inefficient. Purple lightning bolts flashed as he contemplated the terrifying energy consumption of his new power, compared to his old E-rank ability. Knowing the exam lasted 12 hours, Xu Jingming told himself he couldn't afford to waste energy before entering the core area. His plan to train his spearmanship was interrupted by the appearance of a gigantic rhino fierce beast. Facing the charging monster head-on, Xu Jingming did not flinch, taking a stance ready to engage in battle. He was sent flying into the air by the beast's massive ramming attack. With a skillful mid-air rotation, Xu Jingming landed directly on the monster's back, plunging his spear into its head. The spearhead pierced the thick hide, causing the colossal fierce beast to collapse instantly. Standing beside his kill, Xu Jingming was astonished by the speed of his strike, and wondered if his spearmanship had achieved a breakthrough. A notification appeared, confirming his spearmanship had reached the intermediate level, making him realize that pure combat was the best path forward. In his mind, countless images of advanced spearmanship techniques began to flow into his head. He was overwhelmed by the massive influx of knowledge regarding advanced techniques flooding his mind. With a confident smile, Xu Jingming gripped his spear, eager to find a first-rank fierce beast to test his new strength. At the same time, Class Rep Liu and her group suddenly stopped, as she suspected she had just caught a glimpse of Xu Jingming. The gray-haired student dismissed it, suggesting she was mistaken, while another member asserted that Xu Jingming coming here would be nothing short of suicide. Class Rep Liu remained troubled, sensing that the figure she saw was indeed Xu Jingming. Suddenly, a group member called everyone over upon discovering the corpse of a gigantic rhino fierce beast that had just died. The group approached to examine it, and one person noted the fatal wound on the beast's head was inflicted by a spear. Hearing the weapon was a spear, Class Rep Liu was stunned, further convinced that the person she had seen earlier was Xu Jingming. Another member scoffed, arguing that a monster of this rank would require a C-rank awakener to defeat single-handedly, which Xu Jingming was incapable of. To end the argument, he suggested they simply check the score rankings to find out the truth. Class Rep Liu immediately checked, and was dumbfounded to see Xu Jingming's name proudly sitting in 46th place. Her companions also shouted in extreme disbelief, unable to fathom how an E-rank individual could achieve such an extraordinary feat. Meanwhile, in the external observation area, officials and spectators were monitoring the exam's progress on large screens, discussing the dominance of First High School. Education Bureau Director Zhang Wenshan smugly praised Zhou Mingyang as the city's ace, believing he could make it into the provincial top 100. He turned to compliment the principals of first and third high schools, who were obsequiously flattering him. Director Zhang then harshly criticized second high school for its poor performance, noting that their best student was only ranked 18th. Second high school principal Zhao Yao secretly lamented the disappointing results and muttered the names of his top students, including Xu Jingming. Suddenly, Principal Zhao froze, wondering who Xu Jingming was, as he had never heard the name mentioned in the gifted class. A nearby teacher screamed in horror, confirming that Xu Jingming had indeed broken into the top 50. The teacher broke out in a cold sweat, trying to rationalize the impossible, wondering if Xu Jingming had been concealing his true strength. He was frustrated that only the top 10 received dedicated camera coverage, preventing him from watching Xu Jingming's combat footage to see how he achieved such a high score. Returning to the exam grounds, a warning appeared, indicating that the central area had a high danger level. A steady figure stepped into the desolate area, crushing a glass bottle underfoot. It was Xu Jingming, calmly eating rations as he entered the center, noting that the ranked fierce beasts here would be much smarter and harder to deal with. Xu Jingming's gaze suddenly sharpened as he detected an enemy. From the rubble, a colossal tiger-like fierce beast lunged out, tearing apart a car. The first-rank armored blade tiger roared a heaven-shaking sound, demonstrating its power. Amidst the desolate scene, Xu Jingming calmly thought his luck wasn't bad, encountering a first-rank fierce beast right after entering. He smiled excitedly, viewing this as the perfect opportunity to test his spearmanship. The fierce beast charged with terrifying speed, its razor-sharp claws extended, ready to shred its prey. Xu Jingming lightly evaded the furious assault, his spear tracing a perfect arc. The armored blade tiger's colossal claws dug deep into the asphalt road. Xu Jingming smirked, telling himself that the strength of a common first-rank fierce beast like this wasn't enough to make him exert himself. Perhaps only the Tiger King was worth using a bit more effort on. He declared he would send the beast on its way, then launched his attack. In an instant, Xu Jingming closed the distance and plunged his spear through the armored blade tiger's flank. The beast roared in extreme agony as fresh blood gushed profusely from the wound. Xu Jingming stood firm, his expression unchanged after the lightning-fast strike. His blue eyes shone with coldness, intensely focused on the battle. Stimulated by the pain, the armored blade tiger's eyes glowed with hatred and madness. It let out a final roar, pouring all its remaining strength into a desperate death blow. Xu Jingming moved at blinding speed, creating countless afterimages to evade the beast's chaotic lunges. He lightly leaped over the beast's head, causing it to lose momentum and crash violently into a lamppost. Xu Jingming conceded that the vitality of a first-rank fierce beast was indeed tenacious, struggling desperately even with severe injuries. Facing the charging beast, he calmly judged that all resistance was futile. As streams of violet thunder began to envelop his body, Xu Jingming delivered the finishing blow, striking down the armored blade tiger in a spray of blood. A system notification appeared, confirming he had eliminated the armored blade tiger and received 14 ability points, causing Xu Jingming to smirk as he realized the reward was far more generous. Leaving the monster's corpse behind, Xu Jingming concluded that this place, which others saw as fraught with danger, was actually fertile ground for him to harvest points. With surging determination, he charged into the middle of the fierce beasts, viewing this as a golden opportunity to accumulate ability points. Meanwhile, in the observation room, the leaderboard updated Xu Jingming's position to 32nd, and someone recognized him as Teacher Chen's student. Teacher Chen, with his spiky gray hair, immediately became the center of attention, but he humbly attributed the achievement to the student's own efforts. Suddenly, a cry of astonishment rang out, as everyone watched Xu Jingming's rank leap to 25th place, gaining 44 points instantly. Director Zhang calmly analyzed, an unranked peak fierce beast yields 6 to 8 points, while a low-tier rank 1 fierce beast gives 14 to 16 points. Principal Zhao followed up, explaining that the smartwatches update the kill count every 4 seconds. Director Zhang concluded that this meant Xu Jingming had taken down 5 peak-tier fierce beasts, or 3 rank 1 fierce beasts in 4 seconds, an astonishing performance. He turned to question Principal Zhao. Cornered, Principal Zhao confessed that he had only just learned of this himself, then pushed the responsibility for explanation onto the homeroom teacher standing nearby. Principal Zhao immediately summoned Teacher Chen to report the details of Xu Jingming's talent to the leaders. Trembling before the director and the principal, Teacher Chen stammered out that Xu Jingming had only awakened an E-rank lightning ability. Principal Zhao was stunned, pressing Teacher Chen if he had misremembered, but the teacher insisted that he had even advised the boy not to take the exam. Director Zhang mused that if Xu Jingming could achieve this with only an E-rank ability, he must possess other exceptional qualities, piquing his curiosity further. Taking a sip of water, Director Zhang predicted that, at this rate, Xu Jingming would soon break into the top 10. He thought to himself, by then, everything would become clear, including the possibility that the student had resorted to cheating. Hearing the word cheating, both Principal Zhao and Teacher Chen turned pale, utterly terrified. The leaderboard updated once more. Xu Jingming's name was now firmly entrenched in 9th place, even surpassing Tang Qi, who was ranked 12th. In the competition area, Tang Qi, with her beast ears and surging purple energy, smiled, confirming that her cousin Jingming was the one who had caused the commotion yesterday. Elsewhere in the competition area, Zhou Mingyang, the top-ranked contestant, took notice of the unfamiliar name Xu Jingming, who had just squeezed into the top 10. Meanwhile, surveillance camera footage showed Xu Jingming fiercely fighting a black leopard-like fierce beast alone. He quickly dispatched the rank 1 Night Shadow Cat, earning 14 ability points, and determined that hunting in the central zone was far more efficient. The appearance of a closely following drone made Xu Jingming realize he had fallen under the scrutiny of the organizers for entering the top 10. He had no intention of hiding his true strength, as the top 10 was merely the starting point for his goals. Before advancing into the core area, Xu Jingming decided to enhance his strength once more, checking his status panel with 312 accumulated ability points. He realized that to advance beyond the awakened stage, he needed a proper cultivation method, not just the accumulation of points. Therefore, he decided to continue improving his basic attributes first. After allocating 40 points to physique and 22 points to spirit, Xu Jingming felt his power surge and confidently proceeded into the core area. There, a ferocious scene unfolded. A pack of armored blade tigers was tearing apart the corpse of another gigantic fierce beast. Hiding behind a wall, Xu Jingming counted 9 tigers and quickly identified the one with superior aura and size as the armored blade tiger king. Instead of fear, he smiled excitedly, viewing this as a massive harvesting opportunity. Suddenly, Xu Jingming's intuition warned him that someone else was lurking nearby, and he spoke up, demanding the person reveal themselves. Zhou Mingyang stepped out, acknowledging Xu Jingming's keen perception and expressing surprise that the person who broke into the top 10 was an unfamiliar face. Xu Jingming also recognized the opponent as Zhou Mingyang and was surprised that the top-ranked contestant knew who he was. Zhou Mingyang explained that since he knew all the other strong contenders, he had guessed the sudden dark horse was Xu Jingming. When Zhou Mingyang revealed that he was also tracking the tiger pack, Xu Jingming immediately grew wary, suspecting the other party wanted to steal his prey. However, Zhou Mingyang proposed cooperation, arguing that one person couldn't possibly handle the entire pack led by the armored blade tiger king, but Xu Jingming flatly refused. With a confident smile, Xu Jingming declared that he alone was more than enough. Immediately, he charged straight into the middle of the fierce beasts, unleashing lightning-fast spear strikes, beginning his solitary slaughter. Xu Jingming realized that this pack of fierce beasts, under the command of their leader, was even intelligent enough to use simple formations. The pack of armored blade tigers, led by the king, roared ferociously, ready to rush into battle. Without hesitation, Xu Jingming leaped into the air, directly confronting the pounce of an armored blade tiger. From a hidden corner, Zhou Mingyang watched skeptically, wondering if Xu Jingming was seeking death or truly possessed extraordinary skill. Xu Jingming stood firm, gripping his spear tightly, his entire body radiating a powerful aura. He spun his spear at blinding speed, generating a vortex of energy, then unleashed a sweeping attack into the charging pack of tigers. The sharp claws of one tiger collided violently, sending sparks flying. Gliding like a phantom among the beasts, Xu Jingming struck down one after another, continuously receiving notifications of added ability points. The armored blade tiger king roared in fury as it watched its kin fall. Standing in the middle of the battlefield, Xu Jingming felt a slight regret, telling himself that his physical strength was still lacking, preventing him from wiping out the entire pack. Immediately, the armored blade tiger king and the remaining beasts surrounded him, the leader radiating a crimson bloodlust. The king let out an earth-shattering roar, releasing a shocking sonic wave. The power of the roar shattered the windows of surrounding buildings, sending shards raining down. Even the hidden Zhou Mingyang had to clutch his head in pain from the mental attack. Yet, Xu Jingming stood firm, his eyes sharp and cold. He smirked defiantly, because the intimidating attack was completely useless against him. He charged forward, evading the king's attack and retaliating with a lightning spear strike. His continuous spear strikes not only severed the king's tail but also swept away the remaining tigers. With a full-power finishing blow, Xu Jingming struck down the armored blade tiger king, earning 20 ability points. Zhou Mingyang was dumbfounded, unable to believe his eyes, wondering what kind of monster Xu Jingming truly was to be able to annihilate the entire pack alone. Standing atop the leader's corpse, Xu Jingming was satisfied with the ability points he had harvested and looked forward to accumulating even more once the exam concluded. Standing amidst the battlefield, Xu Jingming decided he needed to quickly find the next group of fierce beasts to increase his score. Just then, Zhou Mingyang rushed over, astonished, questioning how Xu Jingming could use a single spear to wipe out the entire pack of armored blade tigers, guessing that his ability was an enhancement type. As soon as he finished speaking, Xu Jingming shot away, casually replying that his ability was of the lightning element. Feeling mocked, Zhou Mingyang angrily clenched his fists, believing Xu Jingming was just making excuses to conceal his true power. He worried that his score was about to be overtaken, but then froze in shock upon seeing the new notification on the screen. The leaderboard had updated. Xu Jingming sat firmly in first place with 1,122 points, pushing Zhou Mingyang down to second. In the observation room, education officials erupted in astonishment, praising Xu Jingming's supreme spear mastery and confirming him as a true genius. Director Zhang Wenshan patted Principal Zhao Yao on the shoulder, promising to recommend a reward for high school no. 2. For cultivating such an outstanding talent for the city. Overwhelmed with emotion, Principal Zhao Yao teared up, silently thanking Xu Jingming for bringing glory to his school. 3 hours later, Zhou Mingyang wandered through the desolate core zone, confusedly wondering why there wasn't a single fierce beast left. A voice rang out, suggesting he should go ask the person at the top of the leaderboard. And when he turned around, Zhou Mingyang was surprised to see a group of other examinees. It was Tang Qi, rank 9, Wu Hao, rank 3, and Meng Di, rank 4. They explained that the group had to cooperate because Xu Jingming had completely swept the area clean of fierce beasts. Zhou Mingyang immediately refuted this, asserting that it was impossible for one person to eliminate all the fierce beasts in the core zone. Tang Qi looked at him knowingly, saying that he would understand everything simply by looking at Xu Jingming's current score. When the leaderboard appeared, Zhou Mingyang was stunned to see Xu Jingming's score had skyrocketed to an unimaginable number, 3,435 points. While Zhou Mingyang was still reeling, Tang Qi calmly analyzed that Xu Jingming had single-handedly taken down nearly 200 fierce beasts in the core zone alone. He suddenly realized that the reason Xu Jingming was always wary of having his prey stolen was because he had planned this massacre from the very beginning. Wu Hao announced that the group planned to advance into the inner core zone, a place Zhou Mingyang knew well was a death trap if entered alone. With a challenging smile, Meng Di turned and invited Zhou Mingyang to join them on this perilous hunt. Meanwhile, elsewhere under the moonlight, Xu Jingming stood atop a massive mountain of beast corpses, realizing that his supplies were depleted and the exam was nearing its end. Xu Jingming sat on the peak of the beast mountain, determined to venture deeper into the central area to earn more ability points and strengthen himself before confronting the Tier 2 fierce beast. The status panel appeared, showing he had accumulated 2,413 ability points, along with the S-rank Purple Heaven Divine Thunder ability and Spear Mastery that had reached the advanced level. With a confident smile, Xu Jingming decided to pour all his precious points into one specific skill. After upgrading, he swung his spear, and violent purple lightning surged forth. He believed this power was sufficient to handle the final round of the exam. Meanwhile, the team consisting of Tang Qi, Zhou Mingyang, Meng Di, and Wu Hao was rushing forward at full speed. Suddenly, a surging wave of dark energy erupted from a ruined building, signaling the appearance of a colossal fierce beast, the final challenge of the exam. Standing amidst the frozen battlefield, Xu Jingming also sensed that presence, wondering what kind of Tier 2 fierce beast this year's challenge would be. Tang Qi's group suddenly stopped, looking up in horror as a colossal bloodthirsty savage bear appeared before them. The monster roared, its fiery red eyes flashing with ferocity, revealing sharp, menacing fangs. It stood towering amidst the ruins, its massive size obscuring the night sky, radiating terrifying pressure everywhere. Meng Di frantically assessed that the monster's hide was as tough as E-grade alloy, and a single swipe of its claw would be enough to wipe out their entire team. Tang Qi, with a serious expression, suggested that the entire group should abandon the mission against this overwhelming opponent. She explained that they wouldn't even need the bear to attack, as the high-level fierce beasts guarding the area were enough to annihilate them. Hearing this, Tang Qi decisively turned to leave, but Zhou Mingyang held her back, angrily questioning his teammate's decision. Just then, Meng Di pointed into the distance and shouted in surprise upon spotting someone approaching. Tang Qi turned back, her red eyes widening in shock as she recognized the familiar figure. It was Xu Jingming. From above, Xu Jingming descended like an arrow, his spear ready for the coming battle. Tang Qi's group stared at him dumbfounded, unable to believe their eyes, while Zhou Mingyang muttered curses about this insane exam. Xu Jingming's appearance immediately drew the attention of the entire pack of fierce beasts, causing them to roar in unison and charge toward him. Without a hint of fear, Xu Jingming swung his spear, easily parrying the attack of the first beast, sending fresh blood splattering into the night. The fierce beasts roared wildly, simultaneously rushing toward the sole intruder. Standing amidst the dense encirclement, Xu Jingming remained unusually calm, gripping his long spear tightly, ready for the bloody fight. The ferocious wave of monsters crashed down, completely swallowing his small figure into the deadly vortex. From the rooftop, Tang Qi watched the scene in horror, fearing that Xu Jingming would die, and resolved to rush down and save him. Meng Di and Wu Hao quickly restrained her, arguing that it was suicide, but Tang Qi desperately screamed that she couldn't stand by and watch her cousin be killed. At that very moment, from the center of the beast horde, a fierce surge of brilliant purple lightning erupted. The purple flash spread throughout the area, creating a terrifying electrical explosion that illuminated a corner of the city in the darkness. Zhou Mingyang was stunned, shielding his eyes from the blinding light, and wondering if this was the lightning element ability Xu Jingming had been hiding all along. In the eye of the thunderstorm, Xu Jingming stood firm and unharmed, feeling the power surging through his body, now that he could finally use it freely. He smirked confidently, a small bolt of lightning dancing on his fingertip as he silently marveled at the overwhelming power of an S-rank ability. As the lightning faded, several charred beast corpses lay scattered at his feet, but right behind him, the colossal bloodthirsty savage bear had appeared. The giant bear let out an earth-shattering roar, its bloodshot eyes locked onto its target. Xu Jingming calmly faced the monster, analyzing that, although the opponent was massive, it wasn't agile, and he could definitely handle it. However, he realized that the smaller, fierce beasts surrounding the bear would be a troublesome obstacle once the battle began. Xu Jingming's eyes flashed with blue electricity. He decided he would clear out these minions first. He charged into the horde with astonishing speed, his long spear tracing deadly arcs, easily piercing their defenses. In the blink of an eye, the battlefield was drenched in fresh blood, and a system notification appeared, confirming he had eliminated a high-level fierce beast. Xu Jingming felt the power of his S-rank ability enhancing his body, but he was also aware that this state could not be maintained for long. Nevertheless, he asserted that the time was more than enough to deal with all the monsters, swinging his spear to create a sweeping strike that cleared everything around him. He stood upon the corpse of another fierce beast, and the system once again announced that he had defeated another high-level fierce beast, earning more ability points. The bloodthirsty savage bear let out an earth-shattering roar, its fiery red eyes locked onto Xu Jingming. It slammed its massive claws onto the ground, creating a terrifying shockwave that shattered the pavement. The monster stood towering amidst the rubble, the red crystals on its back glowing menacingly. Undaunted, Xu Jingming charged forward, the spear in his hand flashing with violet lightning as he confronted the fierce beast head-on. He swiftly dodged the bear's swipe, moving like a streak of lightning across the chaotic battlefield. Seizing the opening, Xu Jingming vaulted into the air, preparing for another strike. In a flash, he eliminated another high-level fierce beast, and the system confirmed he received 15 additional ability points. Witnessing its comrade fall, the bloodthirsty savage bear let out a roar of absolute fury. Xu Jingming smirked, taunting the monster by asking if it was angry because its minions were being wiped out one by one. He pointed his spear toward a rhino-like fierce beast, declaring that he would deal with it after finishing off the last one. Facing another fierce beast, Xu Jingming calmly noted that he had accumulated enough energy. The monster lunged, intending to crush him with sheer brute force, but Xu Jingming vanished, leaving behind a whirlwind of lightning energy that swept through everything. The fierce beast was torn apart from the inside by the unstoppable power. Xu Jingming landed softly, electrical sparks still swirling around him. He looked directly at the bloodthirsty savage bear, declaring that finally, there were no more minions in the way, and it was time to test if its armor could withstand his lightning. With a roar, Xu Jingming plunged down, driving his lightning-charged spear straight into the giant bear's head. An earth-shaking lightning explosion erupted, engulfing both the bear and the recording drone in a sea of destructive violet light. From afar, other students, including Zhou Mingyang, Wu Hao, Tang Qi, and Meng Di, stared dumbfounded at the chaotic scene through their screens. In the observation room, officials and principals were equally stunned, only able to gasp in amazement as the screens before them went completely white. In the observation room, Director Zhang Wenshan was so shocked he spilled his water pitcher, shouting at Principal Zhao, questioning if he was joking about calling Xu Jingming's ability E-rank. The principal of First High analyzed that even an A-rank ability user would struggle to achieve what Xu Jingming had just demonstrated. Principal Zhao scratched his head in confusion, offering the only hypothesis that could explain this extraordinary power, an ability mutation. Zhang Wenshan no longer cared about the cause. He spread his arms and laughed heartily, proclaiming that after today, the entire Great Xia Federation would be shaken by the name Xu Jingming. Back on the battlefield, the bloodthirsty savage bear still stood firm after the lightning explosion, its body suffering only minor, superficial injuries. It let out an earth-shattering roar and charged straight at Xu Jingming, with its jaws wide open, determined to take revenge. Xu Jingming flipped lightly in the air, surprised to realize his lightning attack had only caused a superficial wound on the beast. He continued to agilely evade the bear's powerful swipes, maintaining a safe distance. Xu Jingming analyzed that the tough hide of this rare Tier 2 beast was non-conductive, admitting that with his current strength, defeating it in a single blow was impossible. Suddenly, a fierce surge of dark energy erupted from the bear's body, making it more savage than ever before. Xu Jingming gasped in astonishment, as he witnessed the fierce beast's sudden transformation. In its frenzy, the bear slammed down hard, causing the surrounding ground to shatter into pieces. Amidst the destruction, Su Jingming remained calmly standing, violet lightning still swirling around him. He realized the bear had activated the Berserk State skill, a fierce beast counterattack technique, and surmised that its hatred for him had fueled it. The bloodthirsty savage bear was now completely transformed, becoming a colossal and terrifying engine of destruction. It roared and lunged to attack, while Su Jingming's spear was ready to meet the challenge. Contrary to expectations, Su Jingming smirked, secretly admiring the beast's significantly enhanced physical strength upon entering the Berserk State. He glided away, dodging the attack, concluding that the bear had lost its reason, and the best approach now was to use agility to maintain distance. Su Jingming landed firmly, always maintaining the initiative and searching for the opponent's weakness. He gripped his spear tightly, beginning to accumulate violet lightning, deciding to wait for the perfect opportunity to neutralize the beast. Su Jingming flashed past the bloodthirsty savage bear's swipe, violet lightning sparking around him. He channeled all his lightning energy into the spear tip, forming a destructive orb aimed directly at the fierce beast's flank. Despite the hit, the bear still let out an earth-shattering roar. Its fierce vitality seemed undiminished. With eyes blazing with power, Su Jingming raised his hand to the sky, summoning the full might of the nine heavens' divine thunder to unleash a destructive lightning strike. A terrifying lightning storm descended, completely submerging the savage bear in a sea of light and roaring sound. The power of the lightning continued to sweep the battlefield, crushing everything within its area of effect. When the storm subsided, the colossal fierce beast had collapsed, its body smoking heavily before Su Jingming. He smiled confidently, thinking to himself that no defense could withstand half a minute of the Violet Heaven Divine Thunder's assault. Unexpectedly, the bear sprang up with eyes blazing with rage, charging straight at Su Jingming with the intent to devour him. Just as its massive jaws were about to snap shut, the paralyzing effect from the previous lightning strike suddenly took hold, freezing the beast mid-air. "It's time," Su Jingming declared coldly, standing right next to the monster's immobilized head. He channeled his power, combining lightning and gale energy, preparing to unleash the upgraded lightning gale strike technique. A spiraling vortex of energy shot straight into the bear's gaping mouth, tearing through its body from the inside. The whirlwind of lightning and gale force exploded inside the fierce beast, ripping it to shreds. A violent explosion erupted from the bear's body, completely ending its life. Amidst the desolate scene, the colossal corpse of the savage bear lay motionless on the cracked ground. A system notification appeared, confirming he had eliminated a low-level Tier 2 fierce beast and received 24 ability points. Su Jingming gasped, telling himself that upgrading the lightning gale strike to the advanced level was the right decision, and the new power had not disappointed him. He flashed a satisfied smile, feeling that the 2-minute battle he had just fought was the most exhilarating experience he had ever had. Amidst the ruined city under the moonlight, Su Jingming wondered how many points he would receive after clearing the core area. The dark night sky loomed over the desolate buildings, signaling the end of the examination period. In the observation room, the leaderboard displayed Su Jingming's unbelievable score of 1,0,8,3,5, causing the entire audience to erupt in utter astonishment. Director Zhang Wenshan joyfully exclaimed that Su Jingming had not only broken the city record, but also the provincial record, calling him a genius among geniuses. One principal remarked that with this achievement, Su Jingming had virtually secured the provincial champion title for the year. Back on the battlefield, Su Jingming stood amidst countless slain fierce beasts. Realizing time was running short, he decided he wouldn't stop, but would return to the central area to finish off the remaining prey, believing every bit counts. As Su Jingming turned to leave, Zhou Mingyang's group watched from a distant ruined building, stunned by the sight. Wu Hao exclaimed in disbelief that Jingming had taken down 2 rank 2 fierce beasts, while Zhou Mingyang couldn't comprehend why he would return when he was already far ahead. Meng Di watched him go, deducing that his path led back to the central zone. She suddenly had a terrifying realization. Su Jingming intended to go back and clear the entire battlefield. Zhou Mingyang's entire group fell silent as they grasped Su Jingming's insane intention to finish them all. Zhou Mingyang immediately declared the team disbanded, urging everyone to hunt quickly if they didn't want to lose all their points in the final hour. Instantly, the 4 of them charged wildly in different directions, scrambling to snatch the last few prey before Su Jingming arrived. An hour later, an announcement from a drone echoed throughout the city, declaring the exam over and instructing all participants to return. Tang Qi let out a sigh of relief, her golden eyes reflecting exhaustion but also the accomplishment of her goal. Other participants had mixed reactions, One collapsed in despair, having narrowly missed passing, while another rejoiced at just making the cut. Amidst a sea of slain fierce beasts, Xu Jingming leaned on his spear, feeling a slight regret that the fun ended too quickly. Outside the perimeter, examinees began to gather under the watchful eyes of guards and drones, marking the end of a tumultuous exam. The examinees silently exited the competition area, a heavy atmosphere settling after the grueling battle. Xiaoya incredulously asked Tang Qi about her relationship with Xu Jingming, and Tang Qi tiredly confirmed he was her cousin. Immediately, Xiaoya's demeanor shifted, and she pleaded with Tang Qi for Xu Jingming's contact information. Tang Qi reminded her that Xiaoya hadn't cared at all just yesterday, but Xiaoya hastily explained that circumstances had changed now that Xu Jingming was the top scorer. Suddenly, a loud shout announced Xu Jingming's arrival, causing the surrounding crowd to go wild. Examinees jostled and pushed, each vying for a vantage point to catch a glimpse of the exam's champion. Xu Jingming appeared with a cold expression, a stark contrast to the frenzied crowd cheering and chanting his name below. He calmly walked through the surrounding throng, heading straight for the school bus. Wu Hao regretfully told Zhou Mingyang that the top spot should have been his, but Zhou Mingyang admitted that the emergence of a monster like Xu Jingming was completely unexpected. Principal Zhao Yao and Director Zhang Wenshan personally came to greet Xu Jingming, announcing that the director would escort him home. Xu Jingming inwardly thought this was a convenient arrangement, allowing him to avoid troublesome questions from his classmates on the bus. A luxurious car detached from the bus convoy, taking Xu Jingming away from the examination zone. Inside the car, Director Zhang Wenshan initiated the conversation by inquiring about Xu Jingming's university aspirations. Xu Jingming honestly replied that he had been too focused on honing his strength to have considered choosing a school. Director Zhang Wenshan assured him that with his outstanding results, any university would welcome him, but he specifically recommended 3 top institutions that produced half of the nation's high-level superhumans. First was Qingjing Superhuman University, located in the heart of Great Sha and affiliated with a government organization, guaranteeing a place in the system upon graduation. Next was Madu Superhuman University in a bustling port city, which had trained the current rank 9 National Guardian and possessed abundant resources for exceptional individuals. Finally, Jincheng Superhuman University, with over 200 years of history, was renowned for its long-standing traditions and formidable faculty. All 3 schools possessed top-tier cultivation methods that were not publicly disclosed. Xu Jingming understood that awakeners needed cultivation methods to become superhumans, but he was curious about what exactly these top-tier cultivation methods entailed. On the car ride, Director Zhang Wenshan explained to Xu Jingming that top-tier cultivation methods could shorten the process of becoming a superhuman from several years to just half a year. He reassured him that with his exceptional performance, all 3 top universities would offer generous terms, allowing him to choose freely. As the car stopped in front of a high-end apartment complex under the night sky, Xu Jingming respectfully thanked the director for his guidance. The next morning, Xu Jingming showered, the water washing away the fatigue from the battle. He checked his status screen, confident that the 2,534 accumulated ability points were more than enough to get into a superhuman university. While drying himself, Xu Jingming pondered his future, wondering if there would be fierce beast hunting competitions at university, and if not, he would have to plan an expedition into the wilderness. At the same time, Tang Qi and an older woman arrived at his doorstep, discovering the door was damaged and deciding to sneak in for a surprise. The woman, his aunt, Xu Qingwan, cheerfully called out Jingming's name as they entered. All 3 were stunned to meet each other in an awkward situation. Xu Jingming was only wrapped in a towel, causing Tang Qi to blush, and his aunt to shriek in surprise. Xu Jingming awkwardly tried to explain amidst the messy room, while his aunt marveled at the chaotic state of his living space. Xu Jingming recalled the days after his parents' death, how his aunt Xu Qingwan had been there, caring for him, and providing him with the warmth of a family. Seated at the dining table, his aunt expressed her worries about the exam, and breathed a sigh of relief upon seeing him safe, comforting him that his score didn't matter. Xu Jingming turned to Tang Qi in surprise, wondering why his cousin hadn't informed his aunt about the results beforehand. Tang Qi winked mischievously, suggesting it was better for him to deliver the good news to her mother himself. With pride, Xu Jingming turned to his aunt and announced that he had done very well, scoring over 10,000 points. The declaration was so shocking that Xu Qingwan spat out her drink in disbelief. Still stunned, she stammered a question, and Tang Qi quickly confirmed it was true, even revealing the exact score was 11261. Xu Qingwan was completely speechless, her disbelieving eyes fixed on her nephew. Overwhelmed with emotion, she embraced Xu Jingming, tears of joy streaming down her face as she thought that the Shu family finally had an heir. In a high-level conference room, a female recruiter presented Xu Jingming's official profile, emphasizing he was merely an E-class awakener with a weak electrical ability. Meanwhile, two other officials discussed, one insisting they must recruit this student if the score was real, the other pointing out the unbelievable discrepancy between his recognized talent and his achieved results. The debate in the room grew heated as some argued Xu Jingming's true power must be A-class or higher, while others suspected fraud, as such a top scorer couldn't possibly emerge from a small city like Jiangcheng. An authoritative voice from someone whose eyes were obscured by shadow cut through the arguments, silencing the room. The female recruiter slammed her hand on the table, decisively placing Xu Jingming on the special S-rank direct admission list and declaring she would personally visit Jiangcheng to investigate the truth. Simultaneously, Xu Jingming received official notification from the Jiangnan Provincial Education Department. He had become the provincial top scorer with a record-breaking 1,124 points. Sitting on the exercise bench, Xu Jingming looked at his phone with a satisfied smile, silently celebrating the resounding victory he had strived to achieve. His achievement immediately went viral on social media, with forums erupting in debate over how an E-rank awakener could become the top scorer. At the award ceremony of Jiangcheng Second High School, a female reporter prepared to pose a tough question to the school board seated on stage before a crowd of media. The reporter directly questioned Principal Zhao, demanding an explanation for the suspicions and conspiracy theories circulating online regarding Xu Jingming's results. Principal Zhao confidently replied, announcing that the complete video footage of Xu Jingming's exam process had been publicly released, affirming that the fairness of the exam was beyond doubt. The reporters watched the video with astonished expressions, their skepticism vanishing as they witnessed Xu Jingming's overwhelming power, a strength far exceeding the standards of an awakener. With irrefutable evidence, Principal Zhao proudly declared Xu Jingming's results to be completely genuine, and his contribution as the city's first top scorer worthy of commendation. Teacher Chen Fan then held up the reward check worth 1 million yuan, while Principal Zhao announced the full prize package including cash, advanced cultivation methods, and a luxurious villa. A man wearing sunglasses coolly signaled his subordinate, recognizing this as earth-shattering news. Upon arriving in Jiangcheng, the female recruiter stepped out of the car with her bodyguards, her mind focused on a single objective, confirming Xu Jingming's true awakener rank. In the martial arts gym, Principal Zhao and Teacher Chen Fan eagerly awaited, explaining to their guests that they had summoned their star student. Principal Zhao let out a hearty laugh, expressing admiration for the new top scorer's spirit, as he was still diligently training right after the exam. Inside another room, a young man respectfully served tea to three mysterious figures, solemnly addressing them as the three esteemed masters. A server carefully placed teacups on the table for the powerful guests. Principal Zhao broke out in a cold sweat, inwardly terrified by the overwhelming aura of the seasoned, high-level awakeners with extensive combat experience. The aura of the three guests was visualized as fearsome beasts, making him worry if a battle was about to erupt. Zhang Zhaoyue, the admissions director of Madu University, smiled enigmatically, asking who everyone's target was this time. Su Yun, the admissions director of Qingjing University, declared without hesitation that as long as Xu Jingming's results were real, her school would surely secure him. Immediately, Wu Yuan, the admissions minister of Jin City University, scoffed in rebuttal and asserted that Xu Jingming belonged to his school. The atmosphere grew tense as Wu Yuan and Su Yun confronted each other, sparks of energy colliding, a common sight during top scorer recruitment drives. Just then, the door to the room opened, and Xu Jingming entered with a spear on his shoulder, greeting the teachers. His sudden appearance caused all three powerful admissions directors to turn and look in surprise. Zhang Zhaoyue silently admired Xu Jingming's demeanor, noting how he remained unfazed by their pressure and maintained his peak condition. Principal Zhao solemnly introduced Xu Jingming to each of the admissions directors from the three top universities. Zhang Zhaoyue stood up, commencing the interview by praising Xu Jingming's exam footage. She looked directly at him, questioning the discrepancy between his current superpower and the weak E-rank he had initially registered. Xu Jingming calmly recounted his prepared story, explaining that he was struck by natural lightning while training, which amplified his superpower. Wu Yuan and Su Yun listened, concluding that this could be a case of superpower mutation. Showing interest, Zhang Zhaoyue produced a testing device and invited Xu Jingming to try it to accurately determine his mutated ability. She held the device towards him and asked him to use his superpower. The moment Xu Jingming touched it, a violent surge of purple lightning erupted from his body, engulfing the device. Su Yun couldn't hide her astonishment, admitting that the lightning surge was so intense it made her own heart race. The testing device completed its analysis, identifying Xu Jingming's superpower as the Purple Heaven Divine Thunder. Immediately after, the machine began to beep alarms and then cracked from energy overload. A fierce electrical explosion erupted from the device, throwing everyone in the room back. Amidst the chaotic scene, Principal Zhao Yao was stunned, not understanding what was happening. Meanwhile, Wu Yuan and Su Yun appeared excited, asserting that Xu Jingming's ability must surely be S rank. Zhang Zhaoyue smiled with satisfaction, thinking to herself that she had bet on the right person. Wasting no time, Wu Yuan immediately extended the offer from Jin City University, 4 million in enrollment bonuses and a set of C-rank equipment. Su Yun scornfully mocked her opponent's meager offer. She quickly presented a more attractive figure from Qingjing University, 6 million in bonuses and full access to cultivation methods. Xu Jingming was stunned by the generous offers he had never dared to dream of. Zhang Zhaoyue calmly announced that Madu University would provide S-rank cultivation resources annually. This offer left both Wu Yuan and Su Yun speechless with shock. Xu Jingming curiously inquired about the S-rank cultivation resources, which he had never heard of. Zhang Zhaoyu began to explain about a superior type of fierce beast known as the Dragon Clan. She described them as creatures born at rank 4 or 5, far surpassing ordinary fierce beasts. She revealed that the S-rank resource was the core essence of a mature rank 8 Dragon Clan beast, capable of transforming the user's physique to be on par with the Dragon Clan. Su Yun and Wu Yuan were utterly dejected, admitting they couldn't compete with Madu University's wealth. All three recruiters looked towards Xu Jingming, awaiting his final decision. With a confident smile, Xu Jingming boldly declared that he chose Modu Superpower University. Xu Jingming explained that he chose Modu University not only for its excellent resources, but also because it is the premier practical combat training ground, the cradle of half the champions in the history of the University Alliance tournament. After making his decision, he bowed, thanked Su Yun and Wu Yuan for their interest, and politely declined their offers. Zhang Zhaoyue smiled with satisfaction, 2 brilliant red admission letters glowing in her hands. She solemnly handed the admission letters to Xu Jingming, announced the enrollment date as September 1st, and promised to provide accommodation since he was a direct entry student. Xu Jingming immediately asked if he could consult the school's library for cultivation methods and combat techniques in advance. Zhang Zhaoyue happily agreed, stating that the school could provide him with an independent research room, and gave him her business card for contact upon arrival. Clutching the admission letter, Xu Jingming couldn't hide his excitement, thinking to himself that he couldn't wait to enroll. Time passed quickly, and Xu Jingming pulled his suitcase to the train station, preparing for his trip to Madu City, as announced by the loudspeaker. Seeing him off were his uncle, Tang Daolin, and his aunt, Xu Qingwan, both unable to contain their emotion upon seeing their nephew truly grown up. Tang Daolin turned to his daughter, Tang Qi, suggesting that she should also choose a university in Modu so the two cousins could look out for each other. Tang Qi was slightly embarrassed, replying to her parents that she already knew. On the high-speed train, Xu Jingming used the time to study one of his exam rewards, the cultivation method called the Deep Sea Cultivation Method. A chart appeared, explaining that cultivation methods are divided into 4 ranks: basic, intermediate, advanced, and supreme, with higher ranks leading to faster cultivation speed. Xu Jingming calculated that the method he currently possessed was only intermediate rank, and with his spiritual power of 180, it still took him half a day to memorize the entire content. He recalled the feeling when he first cultivated, successfully sensing a special kind of energy floating between heaven and earth. Although the system panel had displayed a notification about leveling up, Xu Jingming decided not to rush the breakthrough. He gazed thoughtfully out the window, realizing that the higher the rank of the cultivation method used to break through to Tier 1, the greater the benefits received. Therefore, he would not waste this opportunity on an intermediate method. Upon arrival, Xu Jingming pulled his luggage and waited next to a silver car. He was overwhelmed by the grandeur of Madu Superpower University, astonished that the school gate alone was over 100 meters wide, and wondered how magnificent the campus inside would be. A luxurious red sports car pulled up, and Zhang Zhaoyue greeted Xu Jingming from the driver's seat, telling him to get in, so she could take him to complete the enrollment procedures. A guide proudly boasted about the sheer size of Modu University, covering an area of 26 square kilometers, meaning visitors couldn't tour the entire campus even in a full day. Sitting in the car, Xu Jingming admitted that seeing was believing when faced with the school's magnificence. Zhang Zhaoyue handed Xu Jingming his integrated student card, which would grant him access to the dormitory. Xu Jingming mused about the dormitories he had lived in during his previous life, ranging from four-person rooms to private apartments for doctoral students. He was stunned when he stood before a luxurious villa and realized this was his dormitory. Zhang Zhaoyue explained that all students lived in villas, and as the provincial top scorer, Xu Jingming was assigned the most extravagant villa, spanning over 800 square meters and designed for two people. Xu Jingming, an orphan in both lifetimes, still preferred the cozy feeling of a four-person room, but he accepted that having one roommate was better than being alone. Inside the modern villa, Zhang Zhaoyue announced that the enrollment procedures were complete and began outlining the important points to note. She held up two fingers, emphasizing the two most important aspects of the school: the credit system and the exclusive mentorship system. Zhang Zhaoyue explained that credits were everything, used to pay for everything from meals to rare equipment, with one credit being equivalent to 10,000 Daxia currency. She stated that Xu Jingming would receive 100 credits for the academic year due to his S-rank enrollment status, and then summoned the artificial intelligence, EVA. A spherical flying device appeared, and a mechanical voice simultaneously announced Xu Jingming's current credit balance was 100. Zhang Zhaoyue introduced the device as EVA, a Tier 4 AI subunit equipped in every dormitory, sufficient to assist with daily life. Xu Jingming was astonished to learn that a subunit had reached Tier 4 AI capability, realizing that the technology of this world far surpassed his previous life. Next, Zhang Zhaoyue moved on to the exclusive mentorship system, where students could choose someone they admired to receive private instruction. Xu Jingming was excited by the prospect of receiving direct guidance from a mentor starting in his freshman year. Zhang Zhaoyue smiled, revealing that all mentors were high-level superhumans possessing exclusive combat techniques and cultivation methods. She mentioned that the school had 4 lightning element mentors and specifically recommended Yang Zhentian, the head of the weaponry department, to Xu Jingming. The AI EVA immediately projected a 3-dimensional screen displaying detailed information about Yang Zhentian, a Tier 7 awakener bearing the title Thunder Spear. Zhang Zhaoyue announced that the information on the remaining 3 mentors had also been listed, and the final choice belonged to Xu Jingming. Xu Jingming smiled confidently, realizing that Department Head Yang, with his lightning element and expertise in spear techniques, was the most perfect mentor choice for him. Not long after, he found himself standing before an ancient, magnificent manor nestled among lush green trees. Standing before the imposing gate, Xu Jingming couldn't help but secretly marvel. The residence of a mentor was indeed on a completely different level than the student dormitories. Another student unexpectedly approached and asked if he was there seeking guidance. The student was surprised to realize that Xu Jingming was still only a newly awakened person and guessed that he must be a direct entry student. Xu Jingming confirmed it, causing the other person to be secretly astonished, as the direct entry students every year were usually of a much higher rank. The person introduced himself as Tan Mingyang, a third-year student in the weaponry department, and Xu Jingming likewise stated that he was a newly enrolled freshman. Tan Mingyang praised Xu Jingming for being quick to seek a master right after enrolling, noting that freshmen usually only learned about this after the competitive entrance examination. He explained that the freshman competition was a school tradition, where teachers would observe and select those with potential to take on as disciples. Tan Mingyang patted Xu Jingming's shoulder, warning him that even as a direct entry student, becoming the department head's disciple immediately upon enrollment was as difficult as winning the lottery. Xu Jingming thanked the senior student for the explanation, and then asked in return if Tan Mingyang was also there, to request mentorship from teacher Yang. Tan Mingyang sadly admitted that he had come here many times over the past 6 months, but had always been rejected. Suddenly, the heavy gate creaked open, and a butler appeared, startling Tan Mingyang. The butler respectfully greeted both of them, and announced that teacher Yang was waiting inside, inviting them to follow. Tan Mingyang whispered in astonishment, unable to understand why the butler was so enthusiastic, and why teacher Yang was personally waiting. A glimmer of hope suddenly sparked in his heart. The butler led them both inside, where a man with an imposing aura was waiting. Facing department head Yang Zhentian, a Tier 7 awakener known as the Thunder Spear, Xu Jingming immediately sensed the terrifying stream of power radiating from him. Yang Zhentian recognized Xu Jingming immediately, said that Director Zhang Zhaoyue had informed him, and then invited the young man to the training room. Inside the room filled with weaponry, Yang Zhentian stated that he had watched Xu Jingming's exam video and acknowledged his skills, but he wanted to witness the legendary S-rank superpower with his own eyes. At the department head's request, Xu Jingming calmly agreed and prepared to demonstrate his power. Xu Jingming unleashed a terrifying surge of energy as furious violet and blue lightning bolts engulfed the entire room. Yang Zhentian gritted his teeth in astonishment, realizing this was the legendary S-rank ability, the Divine Violet Lightning. He silently admitted that even though he possessed an A-rank lightning ability, the gap to S-rank was insurmountable, and this child's future might far surpass his own. With a look of satisfaction, Yang Zhentian declared that with such potential, it was only natural for Xu Jingming to become his disciple. However, he warned that his life had earned him countless enemies, and becoming his disciple meant potentially being dragged into his conflicts. Without hesitation, Xu Jingming knelt down to perform the disciple initiation ritual, affirming his readiness and expressing admiration for powerful experts forged in blood battles. Overjoyed, Yang Zhentian loudly proclaimed that from this day forward, Xu Jingming was his 32nd disciple, and his very first S-rank disciple. He helped his student rise and presented him with 2 gifts, a peak-level ability cultivation method, and a body refinement combat technique called the Indestructible Thunder Body Technique. Xu Jingming took the book, realizing that a body refinement combat technique was far more valuable than ordinary combat skills. Yang Zhentian explained that the Indestructible Thunder Body Technique was his life's work, certified by the 2 largest martial arts academies. Xu Jingming was completely stunned when he heard his master say it was an S-rank combat technique. A chart appeared, illustrating the combat technique ranks from F to SSS, with the Indestructible Thunder Body Technique clearly marked as S-rank. He mused in astonishment that most Tier 7 experts could only create A-rank combat techniques. Master Yang's martial arts talent was truly terrifying. Yang Zhentian further explained that this cultivation method was only for lightning-type users, consisting of 13 layers, with each breakthrough causing a physical metamorphosis. He instructed Xu Jingming to use the ability cultivation method to advance his rank first, after which he would personally help him establish the foundation for the Indestructible Thunder Body Technique. Xu Jingming bowed in gratitude to his master, thinking that having a guide would help him avoid countless detours. Yang Zhentian revealed that he had only cultivated up to the 10th layer, and Xu Jingming was his greatest hope for proving the full potential of this cultivation method. His eyes burned with belief in a hypothesis, that if one cultivated to the final layer, the body would truly become eternal and indestructible. As Xu Jingming was led out of the room by the blindfolded butler, he spotted Tan Mingyang sitting slumped on the ground, clutching his head in despair. Noticing the senior student's miserable state, Xu Jingming asked what had happened. The assistant in the green robe stood behind Tan Mingyang, who was sitting on the ground and lamenting the impossible challenge required to become Dean Yang's disciple. Xu Jingming approached, offering to share his experience, assuming the senior student had also failed, but then casually announced that he had passed the test. Tan Mingyang turned around, his face utterly stunned upon learning of Xu Jingming's success, as he had never heard of a dean accepting a disciple before the freshman competition. As Xu Jingming turned and walked away, Tan Mingyang remained frozen, his mind reeling as he wondered about the identity of this mysterious freshman. Returning to the dormitory training room, Xu Jingming began to meditate, and mystical violet energy streams started gathering around him. He clearly felt the difference. The peak-level cultivation method allowed him to absorb primordial energy far more abundantly than mid-tier methods. With a confident smile, Xu Jingming decided to skip the sequential cultivation process, since he had already mastered the method, choosing instead to use his ability points for an immediate breakthrough. He decisively reached out and touched the virtual status panel, ordering the system to allocate the points and level up instantly. Energy began to surge, powerfully flowing into Xu Jingming's body. The pain hit him instantly. Xu Jingming gritted his teeth, sweat pouring out as his body endured the immense pressure of the breakthrough. His hands clenched his shirt, veins bulging, revealing the extreme agony of the power transformation process. A terrifying burst of energy erupted from his body, creating a shockwave that spread throughout the training room. After the explosion, the energy subsided, and Xu Jingming sighed in relief as the notification confirmed his successful breakthrough to the Tier 1 lower rank Awakener level. He stood up, observing the intertwined violet and blue lightning bolts dancing in his palm with a completely new level of power. Xu Jingming felt his strength had increased 4 or 5-fold, confident that he could now defeat a Tier 2 bloodthirsty savage bear using only his lightning ability, without needing his spear. Looking at the status panel, he realized the huge difference. The peak-level cultivation method had helped him gain nearly 100 attribute points, far exceeding the 30 or 40 points offered by other methods. Having spent 300 points on this breakthrough, he decided to save the remaining points for learning future combat techniques. His gaze fell upon the Indestructible Thunder Body Technique Manual, an S-rank combat technique even more crucial than the cultivation method, and he wondered how long it would take to fully comprehend it. The next day, at Dean Yang's ancient manor, Dean Yang Gentian was suddenly stunned, unable to believe his senses as he exclaimed, "That fast?" Yang Zentian admitted in shock that throughout his 20 years of teaching, he had never seen anyone break through as quickly as Xu Jingming, who took less than 24 hours. Xu Jingming humbly suggested that establishing the foundation for his master's indestructible thunder body technique was already a major challenge. Yang Zentian explained that the power of this cultivation method heavily depended on the rank of the lightning-type fierce beast essence blood used to lay the initial foundation. Therefore, he decided to help Xu Jingming establish the foundation immediately today. Yang Zentian revealed that he had used Xu Jingming's privileges and petitioned the principal to acquire an SS rank resource. That resource was the essence blood of the Thunder Tyrannosaurus, an extremely rare Tier 8 fierce beast. Xu Jingming was deeply moved by the dedication of his master and the principal, swearing to repay this kindness in the future. Yang Zentian was satisfied, placing a hand on his student's shoulder and urging them both to start immediately. In the training room on the second floor, Yang Zentian poured the precious vial of essence blood directly onto Xu Jingming's head, causing him to strain in agony. He sternly warned that this essence blood was highly toxic, and intense pain was unavoidable. Next, Yang Zentian activated his true wind-fire lightning ability, declaring he would use it to force the foundation into Xu Jingming's body. A stream of blazing red lightning energy shot from his hand directly into Xu Jingming, causing the veins on his body to bulge violently. Xu Jingming threw his head back and screamed in ultimate agony as his body was forcefully reconstructed by the powerful energy flow. 5 days later, the assistant in the green robe remarked to Butler Fu that junior brother Xu was truly resilient. The assistant recalled fainting after just 2 days using a lower-grade essence blood, and admitted that Xu Jingming's performance was entirely worthy of the Tier 8 resource. Given his S-rank lightning ability, the assistant expressed his anticipation to witness the results of the indestructible thunder body technique. Suddenly, a loud noise echoed from the upper floor, startling both of them. The assistant rushed up the stairs, wondering if Xu Jingming had successfully completed his refinement. He curiously peeked through the training room door. Inside, Xu Jingming stood firm amidst a storm of blue and violet lightning, his eyes blazing with a powerful red light. The assistant in blue was terrified, sensing the killing intent radiating from Xu Jingming, an oppressive feeling no different from a peak-tier fierce beast. In a fit of rage, Xu Jingming lunged forward, his body enveloped in purple and blue lightning energy, causing the assistant to shiver in sheer terror. Just then, Yang Zentian roared powerfully, shouting Xu Jingming's name and demanding that he wake up. Xu Jingming's attack abruptly halted right in front of the assistant. His overwhelming power had been restrained. Snapping back to reality, Xu Jingming clutched his head, sweat pouring down his face, bewildered by what had just happened, and why he felt such a strong urge to destroy everything. Yang Zentian explained that the blood essence of the Thunder Tyrannosaurus, known for its ferocity, had temporarily affected his mind due to the extremely high absorption and compatibility rate. He reassured him that this side effect would gradually disappear as his strength increased, provided he didn't allow his emotions to fluctuate too violently. Xu Jingming sighed in relief. He didn't want to be controlled by his emotions and commit acts he would regret. Yang Zentian smiled, declaring that the refinement process was perfect, with an absorption rate reaching 98%, shattering the 95% record that had stood for 50 years. The assistant stepped forward to congratulate him, and Yang Zentian introduced him as Liu Ming, Xu Jingming's senior brother, an ability user who had reached peak Tier 3. Xu Jingming politely greeted him, while Liu Ming mentioned he would transfer some credits as a welcome gift for his junior brother. Looking at his phone, Xu Jingming was stunned to receive 200 credits, an astronomical amount for a simple introductory gift. Yang Zentian explained that it was customary for senior brothers to look after their juniors, and Xu Jingming would do the same in the future. After instructing Xu Jingming to rest and reminding him of his spear mastery lesson tomorrow, Yang Zentian dismissed him. Xu Jingming returned to his new dormitory complex, a very stately-looking building. As he entered the room, he saw a person with silver-white hair sitting on the sofa playing a video game. The person turned around, introduced himself as Liu Wentao, and asked if Xu Jingming was the new roommate. When Xu Jingming confirmed his identity, Liu Wentao exclaimed in shock, realizing he was the top scorer, valedictorian, of Jiangnan province. Liu Wentao excitedly explained that he knew the information of most freshmen and couldn't believe the dark horse top scorer was his roommate. He familiarly draped an arm over Xu Jingming's shoulder, curiously asking about his awakening during the exam and commenting that his ability didn't look like an E grade at all. Xu Jingming secretly thought his new roommate was truly friendly and talkative, admitting to himself that he had always hated loneliness in both this life and his previous one. He recalled his tragic past in the old world, an abandoned orphan who was never adopted and lacked a sense of belonging, despite having many friends at school. Memories of his happiest college days flooded back, when he played games and joked with friends, never expecting to wake up in this world after his graduation party. Back in the present, Xu Jingming was glad he was no longer alone, while Liu Wentao proudly introduced himself as a top 20 student from Sichuan province with an A-grade mental ability, dreaming of commanding the military against the fierce beasts. Liu Wentao abruptly stopped bragging, announcing he was heading to the martial hall, and Xu Jingming offered to join him, having never seen a superpower university's martial hall before. They arrived in front of a massive modern building named the Thunder Martial Hall, a branch of the superpower university. Stepping inside, Liu Wentao was overwhelmed by the vibrant and bustling atmosphere of the martial hall. A chaotic scene unfolded with countless students training, one using fire, one showing off metallic skin, and another transforming into a werewolf. A student explained that this was the public training room, capable of holding 300 people, and constructed entirely from C-grade memory alloy, so damage was not a concern. The person added that private training rooms were available if needed, but Xu Jingming felt this place was sufficient. Liu Wentao excitedly watched everyone sparring, while Xu Jingming calmly remarked that they were quite noisy. Liu Wentao pointed at the werewolf, revealing he was an A-grade ability user in the Sichuan top 10. Xu Jingming curiously asked Eva, the hovering AI drone, about the purpose of the numbered pillars in the hall. EVA explained that they were punch strength challenge leaderboards, and ranking in the top 3,000 would earn 50 credits. Hearing that the entire school only had just over 4,000 students, Liu Wentao confidently decided to try it, and EVA reminded him that using abilities or combat techniques was prohibited. Liu Wentao decisively swiped his student card against the sensor on the pillar. An electronic announcement rang out, welcoming Liu Wentao. Student ID 2037-01256 to the Punch Strength Challenge. A group of students, including the fire user and the one with metallic skin, paid attention to the challenge, recognizing Liu Wentao as a freshman and showing interest. Sensing the gazes of the crowd, Liu Wentao gritted his teeth, telling himself he couldn't lose face. He let out a roar, channeling all his strength into his raised fist. With a dazzling impact, Liu Wentao unleashed a powerful punch directly onto the surface of the challenge pillar. The meter announced, Liu Wentao's punch force reached 476 kilograms, a decent achievement, making him smugly think he wouldn't lose face and would easily make the top 3,000. However, his joy was instantly crushed when the system announced his rank was outside the top 100,000, terrifying Liu Wentao since the entire school only had just over 4,000 students. Xu Jingming explained that the leaderboard tracked the scores of all students throughout the school's 100-year history, making Liu Wentao realize he had become a laughingstock. A group of senior students burst into laughter, mocking that their scores when they first entered the school were higher, and teasing the freshman's flushed face. Xu Jingming placed a comforting hand on his friend's shoulder, reminding him that as a mental system user, physical strength wasn't his forte, and Liu Wentao immediately encouraged him to try the challenge. Accepting the challenge, Xu Jingming walked toward the meter while Liu Wentao cheered from behind, entrusting the entire dormitory's glory to him. The announcement of Xu Jingming joining the challenge echoed throughout the martial hall, drawing the attention of other students who were training. The crowd began to murmur, one person suggesting Xu Jingming looked even weaker and guessing his punch force would struggle to reach 400 kilograms. Ignoring the comments, Xu Jingming smiled confidently, thinking about how he had advanced to Tier 1 and undergone 5 days and nights of body refinement. He clenched his fist, determined to use this punch to verify what level his strength had reached after his cultivation. In an instant, Xu Jingming unleashed a lightning-fast punch, generating a powerful force aura and a motion afterimage. His punch created a shockwave that radiated outward, leaving all observers stunned by its sheer power. Xu Jingming's gaze was sharp and focused, and the number displayed on the meter was an unbelievable result, 4,589 kilograms. The leaderboard instantly updated, placing Xu Jingming's name in the number 1 position, officially shattering the long-standing record. The previously mocking crowd was now completely silent, unable to believe a freshman could unleash a punch with a force exceeding 4,500 kilograms. 2 female students nearby also discussed it in astonishment, one quickly using her phone to record this historic moment. Realizing the record that had stood for over 10 years had just been broken, Liu Wentao rushed over with a look of utter admiration, declaring that he would follow Xu Jingming from now on, causing Xu Jingming to laugh and tell him not to exaggerate. Xu Jingming was secretly satisfied with the result, noting that his compatibility with the Thunder Tyrannosaurus blood essence had yielded immediate improvements. The system immediately sent congratulations and announced that a reward of 400 credits had been transferred to Xu Jingming's account for breaking the record. He curiously asked Eva if he would receive another reward for breaking the record next time, and was informed that the reward was only for the first time, but he could challenge other groups to earn new credits. Xu Jingming told himself he would conquer the high-level awakened pillars later, while Liu Wentao proudly boasted to the female students that Xu Jingming was his roommate. Immediately, a group of senior female students surrounded Xu Jingming, enthusiastically inviting him to join their clubs and offering to guide him in using the equipment. Liu Wentao quickly pulled Xu Jingming away from the crowd, suggesting they both head to a private training room. In a luxurious room, Yang Zhentian sipped tea and wondered why his new disciple hadn't rested, but instead rushed off to break records, while Liu Ming reported in astonishment about his junior brother's extraordinary physical strength. Liu Ming secretly compared them and realized that Xu Jingming's strength, even at the first layer of the indestructible thunder body, already far surpassed his own past self. Elsewhere, a brown-haired man roared in anger upon learning that Xu Jingming had also arrived in the capital, smashing a table with his blazing fist. Gritting his teeth in hatred, he vowed to reclaim all the honor he lost after Xu Jingming stole his position as the top scorer of Jiangnan province and made him a laughingstock. In the training room, Xu Jingming felt the abundant energy flowing from the indestructible thunder body, allowing him to go without food or sleep for 5 days and nights. He used a utility knife to test the hardness of his skin, and was satisfied to find that it was comparable to E-grade alloy, befitting the level of an S-rank body refinement technique. Liu Wentao suddenly burst in, frantically reporting that the news about Xu Jingming had exploded across the school forums and that many people were demanding to challenge him. Xu Jingming merely smirked, thinking that the martial spirit of this school was indeed very strong. He dismissed Liu Wentao's offer of help, telling him not to waste time, as he needed to visit the combat skill library. The scene shifted to a modern and colossal building, the combat skill library. Standing before the library, Xu Jingming marveled at the enormous protective magic circles, confirming the rumors that 9-grade martial arts secrets were stored inside. He inserted his student ID card into a scanner at the entrance. Immediately, the energy circles parted, opening a path for him to step inside. 3 female library staff in neat uniforms bowed, and the one in the middle immediately recognized him as the S-rank student, Xu Jingming. Xu Jingming was surprised they knew his name, and the bespectacled staff member explained that the system had notified them the moment he swiped his card, because he possessed privileged access. The staff member secretly admired him, recognizing the limitless potential of someone with S-rank authority, and resolved to befriend him. Xu Jingming asked about the location of the lightning element combat skills, and was informed that the more valuable techniques were kept in the reading room on the 4th floor. The librarian politely invited Xu Jingming to follow her into a special area. Inside the private reading room, an AI drone named Eva explained that after selecting a skill, the original manuscript would be delivered directly, noting that he must be careful with valuable secrets ranked B or higher. Xu Jingming immediately ordered EVA to display all lightning element combat skills ranked B or higher. A series of virtual screens appeared, showcasing countless powerful skills, including S-rank and even SS-rank secrets. He was overwhelmed by the library's abundance, secretly admiring the wealth of a top university, and wondered if he could view them for free. Xu Jingming quickly realized that at his current level, he could only learn A-rank skills, and the selection process would be extremely difficult without his master's guidance. Fortunately, he remembered the list of recommendations his master had prepared, which would save him a significant amount of time. Consulting the list, Xu Jingming quickly scrolled through the options and pointed out the skills he required. He decided to select 4 A-rank skills: Thunder Spear, Chain Lightning Gun, Lightning Flash Movement, and Thunder Prison. Xu Jingming was confident that the combination of these 4 skills, long-range attack, single-target strike, movement, and control along with the indestructible thunder body, would make him unstoppable. Eva warned that it typically takes 6 months to learn each skill, but Xu Jingming asserted that this amount of time was sufficient. Immediately afterward, the librarian returned, carrying the 4 original skill manuscripts he had chosen. Xu Jingming was astonished by the value of the books. Since even C and D-rank skills cost millions, these 4 A-rank secrets were truly priceless. As soon as he opened the books, he immediately sensed a profound aura and artistic conception, realizing that this was something copies could never possess. Time passed as Xu Jingming became completely immersed in studying the 4 sets of cultivation methods. After finishing all the reading, he leaned back in his chair and ordered his system to allocate points. The system immediately announced that each skill consumed 200 ability points and had been learned to the elementary level. Xu Jingming's status panel updated, displaying the 4 new skills and his remaining ability points. 1,434. Feeling the surge of new power, Xu Jingming clenched his fist, eagerly wondering who would be the first lucky person to taste his new set of combat skills. Night fell, enveloping the building as Xu Jingming's day came to an end. In the dormitory room, Liu Wentao excitedly informed Xu Jingming about the freshman assembly the next day and a newly created group chat. His friend curiously asked about the combat skills Xu Jingming had chosen, and received the casual reply that they were 4 A-rank skills. Liu Wentao was stunned, thinking that learning all 4 of those skills was typically the task of second- or third-year students. Sure enough, Xu Jingming always walked a different path. When Liu Wentao asked if Xu Jingming possessed A-rank authority, he was corrected. It was S-rank authority. This news made Liu Wentao jump up in horror, stammering as he asked why Xu Jingming had S-rank authority, and beginning to doubt the rumors that he was only E-rank. Xu Jingming merely smiled meaningfully, saying that his know-it-all friend had just learned something new. Liu Wentao was overcome with admiration, realizing that even the top scorers from other provinces were only A-rank, while Xu Jingming was truly an S-rank existence. He gave a thumbs up in approval, telling himself that the decision to become Xu Jingming's fan right now was an absolutely correct investment. Later, in the training room, Xu Jingming held a practice spear and found it too light compared to his current strength. He ordered the AI assistant EVA to open the school's shopping center to find a more suitable new weapon. After browsing the options, Xu Jingming decided to purchase a long spear, a combat suit, and E-rank boots, totaling 210 kilograms in weight. Completing the transaction, he watched the credit balance on his phone drop by nearly half, and couldn't help but sigh. Gripping the practice spear firmly, Xu Jingming resolved to train all night to familiarize himself with his 4 new A-rank skills. The next morning, the freshmen had gathered in full force on the school grounds for their first assembly. Xu Jingming's appearance immediately drew attention, with female students whispering about his record-breaking performance and handsome looks. Suddenly, a tall, muscular student named Lei Zhou stepped forward, loudly declaring a challenge to Xu Jingming in front of everyone. The surrounding crowd recognized the challenger as the second-highest scorer in Jiangnan province, a person of prestigious background who was clearly resentful of being overshadowed. Xu Jingming coldly rejected the challenge, stating he had no interest, while Liu Wentao stood beside him looking worried. Lei Zhou smirked, advising Xu Jingming not to refuse so quickly, and brought up his aunt's rare flora business. He stepped closer, grabbed Xu Jingming's chin, and threatened that his family was both the biggest customer and the creditor of his aunt, implying he would cause trouble if his demands were not met. Provoked, Xu Jingming coldly asked if he was being threatened, as an invisible, savage aura erupted from his body. The terrifying pressure slammed directly into Lei Zhou, sending him sprawling onto the ground. Lei Zhou was utterly terrified, wondering why a freshman could emit killing intent akin to a fierce beast, and quickly stammered that it was merely a reminder. He stood up, set the duel for 7 days later, at noon at broadcast platform number 3, and turned to leave, while Xu Jingming calmly accepted the challenge. The surrounding students immediately buzzed with excitement, eagerly anticipating the ultimate showdown between the top scorer and the runner-up in 7 days. Afterward, at the freshman assembly, a senior figure from the university began his speech. He welcomed the freshmen to Madu Superpower University and announced the school's combat power ranking system. The senior explained that students would use virtual immersion pods for simulated combat, and their rankings would determine generous rewards. Another female staff member continued the presentation on the podium. The students listened attentively to the announcements regarding the school's upcoming regulations and activities. When the lengthy meeting finally concluded, Xu Jingming yawned, deciding to dedicate the upcoming time to intensive training with his master and senior disciple brother. In the following days, he threw himself into a relentless cycle of arduous training, from receiving instruction from his senior brother Liu Ming, to practicing spearmanship and meditating to absorb lightning energy. 7 days later, Liu Ming was astonished to see that his junior brother had broken through to the Tier 1 middle stage in such a short time, but Xu Jingming humbly replied that it was due to luck. Xu Jingming secretly thought that he had deliberately delayed his progress for a few days. Otherwise, his true advancement speed might have scared senior brother Liu half to death. Liu Ming patted his shoulder, reminding him of the duel scheduled for noon, confirming the details with his junior brother. With a confident smile, Liu Ming declared that he would observe 3 minutes of silence for Xu Jingming's opponent, and decided to accompany him to witness his junior brother's true strength firsthand. At the arena, Lei Zhou stepped in amidst the crowd's anticipation. Lei Zhou's group discussed animatedly. Although they were slightly wary of Xu Jingming's strength record, they still believed that superpowers were the decisive factor in victory. Just then, Xu Jingming appeared alongside his senior brother Liu Ming. His confident demeanor and new attire drew gasps of admiration from the entire audience. Liu Ming smiled smugly, secretly thinking that with this appearance and strength, his junior brother would soon attract countless female students at the university. Although he knew Xu Jingming's ranking had increased, Lei Zhou remained confident in his own preparations. In the arena, Lei Zhou provoked Xu Jingming, suggesting they bet all their credits to make the match more dramatic, and Xu Jingming calmly accepted with his 370 credits. Lei Zhou sneered, declaring he would use cash to cover the missing credits, and suggested they both transfer the wager to an intermediary account to ensure neither could renege on the deal. The supervising teacher was revealed to be Zhou Yun, a level 6 awakened of the healing system, demonstrating the school's caution. Xu Jingming inwardly recognized the necessity of a healer in dangerous battles between superpower users and quickly completed the transfer of funds. The stands erupted over the 3.7 million credit wager, and the atmosphere became hotter than ever. After confirming receipt of the wagers, Zhou Yun announced the rules of the match, emphasizing that anyone who attacked an opponent after they had conceded defeat would be severely punished. Both Xu Jingming and Lei Zhou confirmed in unison that they understood the rules, their sharp gazes locked onto their opponent. Lei Zhou roared, swearing to reclaim his lost honor as he unleashed his fire-type superpower, the dense pine industrial flame, enveloping his body in raging fire. The audience was terrified by the dreadful power of the A-rank superpower. Feeling the scorching heat even from a distance, he unleashed the raging flame-slash-technique, swinging his blazing great saber in a savage arc toward Xu Jingming. Xu Jingming remained rooted to the spot, calmly awaiting Lei Zhou's blazing slash as it descended from above. With just a simple spear block, Xu Jingming halted the blazing great saber, the sound of metal clashing echoing throughout the arena. All the spectators, including Zhou Yun, were stunned to witness such a powerful technique, neutralized by a seemingly ordinary attack. Lei Zhou gritted his teeth, unable to believe his eyes, wondering how that was possible. Xu Jingming coldly countered his opponent's disbelief with a fatal remark. "Nothing is impossible. You are simply too weak." Instantly, Xu Jingming lunged forward like a purple bolt of lightning, launching a lightning-fast attack at the still-stunned Lei Zhou. The earth-shattering impact caused Lei Zhou to cough up blood, his body paralyzed by the purple electric current. Xu Jingming's spear continued its momentum, shattering Lei Zhou's defenses and leaving a deep wound. Utterly defeated, Lei Zhou collapsed onto the arena floor, blood pooling around him as the battle ended swiftly. In the stands, the student crowd was aghast, unable to believe the match had ended so quickly. Xu Jingming's strength clearly surpassed that of all other freshmen. Silently observing, Liu Ming secretly thought the match was too dull. His junior brother hadn't even used 1/10 of his true power. In the arena, just as the female supervisor Zhou Yun prepared to declare the winner, the defeated Lei Zhou suddenly spoke up. With eyes full of resentment and blood dripping from his mouth, Lei Zhou growled that he had not surrendered, and the match was not over. To everyone's astonishment, he suddenly pulled out a dark red medicinal pill. Zhou Yun screamed in horror, recognizing it as a bloodburst pill, and questioned Lei Zhou's madness for using it in a regular match. The spectators also recognized the forbidden drug, discussing how it could temporarily boost strength, but would leave severe side effects, potentially confining the user to bed for months. Despite everything, Lei Zhou asserted that he would bear all responsibility, deciding to pour his entire strength into this final wager. Some students booed in protest, arguing that using drugs during the match was tantamount to cheating. Zhou Yun immediately explained that this was an unofficial duel, where all types of weapons, armor, and medicine were permitted. Immediately following the explanation, Lei Zhou swallowed the pill, and his entire body erupted in a fierce surge of fire energy. The female supervisor assessed that the bloodburst pill had instantly pushed Lei Zhou's power straight to Tier 2, putting Xu Jingming in a difficult position. However, facing a stronger opponent, Xu Jingming's fighting spirit burned even brighter, his aura radiating like a true general. A smile curled on Xu Jingming's lips. He secretly thought that the match was finally no longer like an adult playing with a child. Instantly, Xu Jingming charged forward, savage purple lightning enveloping his body, and the ground beneath his feet cracked from the sheer force. Lei Zhou, despite being enhanced, was still horrified by his opponent's astonishing speed. The lightning spear and the blazing great saber collided, creating a terrifying energy explosion. Xu Jingming's power was completely overwhelming, forcing Lei Zhou back, causing him to stagger and lose his balance. Collapsing onto the arena floor once more, Lei Zhou was incredulous, wondering what kind of monster Xu Jingming truly was, if even Tier 2 power couldn't contend with him. In desperation, Lei Zhou decided to attack from a distance, launching a kick that generated fire bullets surging forward. Facing the rain of fire bullets, Xu Jingming merely spun his spear, and a vortex of purple lightning shattered everything. He coldly asked his opponent if that was all they had. Lei Zhou ground his teeth in fury, wondering how Xu Jingming's lightning ability could be so flawless, yet still clinging to the hope of draining his opponent's energy from a distance. Giving his opponent no chance, Xu Jingming immediately charged forward, the spear in his hand blazing with thunderous light. He swung his spear through the air, creating a massive lightning streak that swept toward Lei Zhou. Lei Zhou screamed in astonishment as the surge of lightning energy struck him. He realized in panic that Xu Jingming also possessed long-range attacks, and then a thunder prison suddenly erupted from the ground, enveloping him. Xu Jingming extended his hand, coldly declaring the name of the control technique he had just used. Thunder prison. Completely imprisoned, Lei Zhou realized he had fallen into a terrifying control skill. In desperation, he strained, creating a flame barrier that encased his entire body. With a smug smile, Lei Zhou challenged Xu Jingming, believing this would be a war of attrition where he held the advantage. Xu Jingming merely sneered, curious to see how many of his attacks that fragile fire shield could withstand. He leaped high into the air, his body enveloped by violent lightning currents, aiming straight for Lei Zhou. Pointing the spearhead straight ahead, Xu Jingming unleashed the consecutive thunder spear strikes, generating countless lightning spear projections. The screaming rain of purple lightning spears descended, effortlessly piercing through Lei Zhou's fire defense. Facing the unstoppable attack, Lei Zhou realized in horror that he was about to die. In that moment of life and death, he squeezed his eyes shut and screamed two words: "I surrender." The sharp spear tip halted right before Lei Zhou's forehead, causing him extreme terror as he yelled for the attack to stop. Xu Jingming coldly retracted his energy, realizing that another spear projection had already pinned Lei Zhou's robe to the arena floor. He pulled the spear from the floor, leaving Lei Zhou kneeling on the ground, clutching his chest and panting in defeat. Hoisting the spear onto his shoulder, Xu Jingming looked down at his defeated opponent and declared himself the victor. In the stands, the audience was still reeling from the overwhelming victory, astonished that Xu Jingming had unleashed 4 combat skills consecutively in just a few seconds. One student speculated that Xu Jingming's skills must be rank B, and possessing 4 such skills was already incredibly impressive. Liu Ming, looking weary, corrected them, stating that they had underestimated his junior brother. Those were 4 rank A skills, and he had mastered them to combat readiness. He secretly recalled the past, when it took him 4 months just to learn a single rank A skill, admitting that having such a junior brother truly created immense pressure. On the arena floor, Lei Zhou stood up straight, sincerely thanking Xu Jingming for showing mercy and wholeheartedly admitting defeat, promising to pay the full amount of the wager. Supervisor Zhou Yun announced that 50 credits and 3,200,000 Daxia coins had been transferred to Xu Jingming's account, causing him to inwardly marvel at how quickly money could be earned through dueling wagers. Liu Wentao rushed over, congratulating his newly rich roommate and inviting him to the Madu city center to relax tonight. Xu Jingming intended to refuse, citing his training schedule with his senior brother, but Liu Ming, from the stands, advised him to go, saying that balancing rest and effort was the way to advance further. Taking his senior brother's advice, Xu Jingming happily agreed, while Liu Wentao secretly admired Liu Ming, the vice president of the Ashes Society, with a rank A lightning ability. Liu Wentao secretly thought that Xu Jingming was far more impressive in person than in pictures. As they left the arena, Liu Wentao excitedly told Xu Jingming to follow him, promising to take care of all the entertainment. Xu Jingming felt a slight doubt, wondering what kind of entertainment his friend was referring to. With a meaningful smile, Liu Wentao revealed that the unmissable university activity was the social mixer between the male and female dormitories. The scene shifted to a lavish banquet table laden with roast chicken, pizza, and countless other tempting dishes. At the restaurant, Liu Wentao boasted that Xu Jingming's reputation had skyrocketed after the match, and the post inviting people to the social mixer on the school forum had attracted a huge response. He revealed that over 100 people had signed up, making him dizzy with the sheer number of choices. Xu Jingming smiled, curious to know who among those hundreds his friend had finally chosen. Liu Wentao mischievously kept it a secret, but immediately cheered when he saw their guests arrive and waved them over. A girl wearing glasses and a beret, in a graceful yellow dress, approached, waved hello, and introduced herself as Qi Dongxia. Accompanying her was another girl with messy black hair and purple eyes, who also waved and introduced herself as Song Chuyun, Qi Dongxia's roommate. Liu Wentao excitedly introduced their 2 new friends, Qi Dongxia, a rank A beast enhancement ability user, and Song Chuyun, a rank A light ability user and the top scorer of Sichuan province. Xu Jingming politely smiled and introduced himself, causing Song Chuyun to immediately recognize him as the famous top scorer she had heard about. Without hesitation, Song Chuyun looked straight at Xu Jingming with eyes full of interest and issued a challenge, giving him full authority to decide the time and place. Qi Dongxia quickly tried to restrain her battle-crazed friend, reminding her that this was a social mixer, but Song Chuyun confessed that she only came because she wanted to duel Xu Jingming. To ease the tension, Xu Jingming invited everyone to sit down at the lavish meal, and Liu Wentao suggested the group eat first and then go shopping downtown. Under the night sky of Modu, the group strolled along the bustling Huaihai shopping street. Song Chuyun couldn't help but marvel at the lively scene. They passed magnificent fashion stores displaying trendy outfits and even rare weapons like the rank A moonlight blade. Xu Jingming inwardly acknowledged the variety and quality of the goods here, ranging from combat gear and weapons to elixirs, far surpassing anything he had seen in Jiangcheng. The group happily enjoyed street snacks, temporarily setting aside stressful matters to enjoy the relaxed atmosphere. The two girls, Qi Dongxia and Song Chuyun, were engrossed in choosing clothes inside a store, while Xu Jingming and Liu Wentao patiently waited. Song Chuyun proved to be a generous shopper, quickly selecting many items she liked. Xu Jingming quietly observed the two girls looking at jewelry, noticing the difference in their personalities when they weren't in combat readiness. While carrying countless shopping bags, Xu Jingming was astonished to calculate that Song Chuyun had spent millions in just one evening, which Liu Wentao explained was because she was genuinely very wealthy. Liu Wentao whispered to Xu Jingming that Song Chuyun was not only rich but also came from an incredibly respectable background, making him even more curious. Qi Dongxia cheerfully called the two boys over to help carry the last bag, while Song Chuyun secretly thought it was time for them to head back. The group stopped in front of a luxurious villa complex, and Qi Dongxia and Song Chuyun thanked their two friends for a pleasant evening. Xu Jingming and Liu Wentao waved goodbye as the two girls, laden with shopping bags, headed toward their home. As his figure gradually disappeared, Song Chuyun inwardly reaffirmed her challenge, vowing that she would definitely duel Xu Jingming someday in the future. As if sensing her intent, Xu Jingming turned back with a confident smile and accepted the challenge, promising that he would wait. On the way back, Qi Dongxia teased Song Chuyun, saying that since entering the university, she had never seen her friend talk to any boy. Yet she got along very well with Xu Jingming. Song Chuyun mused about her A-rank Divine Radiance ability, which granted her sharp perception, allowing her to sense the impure thoughts of other men. But she realized Xu Jingming was completely different. In his eyes, there was only pure admiration, devoid of lust. This made him truly special in her eyes. Qi Dongxia smiled knowingly, teasing internally that the heart of the Song family's young lady seemed to have been stirred. Meanwhile, Xu Jingming and Liu Wentao were on their way back. Liu Wentao sighed in relief, admitting that going out for a trip occasionally wasn't bad at all. Xu Jingming silently agreed, but the image of Song Chuyun flashed through his mind. He reminded himself that she was already upper tier 1, meaning he still had to work harder. 15 days later, Xu Jingming sat in the training room, energy surging around him. He felt it was time for a breakthrough, and ordered the system to allocate his ability points. A burst of power erupted as the ability points were converted, helping him advance from middle tier 1 to upper tier 1, while his indestructible thunder body also broke through to the second layer. Xu Jingming exhaled a long breath, feeling his overall strength enhanced. He knew that the second layer of the body refinement technique would focus on bones and muscles. Placing his hand on the secret manual, he recalled that upon breaking through to the third layer, a special state called Thunder Zenith would be unlocked, pushing his strength and speed to their limits for a short duration. Looking at his status panel, Xu Jingming regretted that his ability points were nearly depleted. He decided it was time to ask his master for permission to go hunting fierce beasts in the wilderness zone. Upon arrival, Yang Zentian exclaimed in surprise as he sensed the change in him. Xu Jingming calmly reported that he had broken through the previous night, and that his indestructible thunder body had also reached the second layer. Yang Zentian couldn't hide the shock in his heart. He thought to himself that with an S-rank ability and this level of dedication, Xu Jingming's path was destined for greatness. Liu Ming, standing nearby, told his master that he had already called their junior brother a true monster, as it had taken him more than half a year to complete a similar breakthrough. Yang Zentian stated that while advancement was important, actual combat was even more crucial. He suggested Xu Jingming spar with his senior brother Liu Ming to test his new strength, and the boy happily accepted. At the martial hall, Liu Ming announced that he would suppress his strength to lower tier 2 and told Xu Jingming to use his full power. After a 3-count countdown, the duel began in tense silence, both ready to charge at the other. Immediately, 2 streams of lightning energy, one purple and one blue, collided fiercely, creating a blazing confrontation. Liu Ming was utterly astonished, unable to believe that Xu Jingming could match him blow for blow. As for Xu Jingming, he felt incredibly excited. Since acquiring the system, this was the first time he had found a truly equal opponent. Seizing the opportunity, Xu Jingming channeled his power. A purple lightning orb formed in his palm, and he shouted, unleashing the thunder prison technique. Facing the purple lightning orb, Liu Ming swung his spear, preparing to meet the attack. From above, Xu Jingming unleashed the continuous thunder shot, sending countless lightning spears raining down on Liu Ming. Liu Ming confidently recognized this as the combo that had defeated Lai Zhou, but asserted that he was not that mere freshman. He roared, unleashing his Jade Pivot True Thunder ability to neutralize Xu Jingming's attack. 20 minutes later, Xu Jingming was exhausted, resting his spear on the ground, and admitted defeat because his Divine Thunder was depleted. Liu Ming corrected him, stating that he hadn't lost in skill, but simply ran out of energy. Yang Zhentian stepped forward, praising it as an excellent match and noting that Xu Jingming's performance had far exceeded expectations. Liu Ming asked if Xu Jingming knew what level of power he had just reached. When his senior brother revealed it was Tier 2 invincibility, Xu Jingming couldn't help but be astonished. Yang Zhentian declared the training session over, and a servant brought over clear spirit fruits to help dispel their fatigue. Xu Jingming took this opportunity to ask his master for permission regarding a matter, and the master agreed to listen. He firmly expressed his intention to leave the university and head to the wilderness zone for training. Yang Zhentian was surprised to learn he planned to be gone for a whole month and would return before the freshman competition. He secretly pondered the unpredictable dangers of the wilderness zone, a place without protection and teeming with high-level fierce beasts. Nevertheless, Yang Zhentian placed a hand on his disciple's shoulder, agreeing to let him go, as the path of a powerhouse always required life and death trials. Xu Jingming bowed, sincerely thanking his master for his understanding and support. He stated that he would be heading to the wilderness zone on the outskirts of Yuanshui City. Hearing this, Yang Zhentian felt more at ease since that area was relatively safe, and he promised to have Liu Ming give him further guidance. He said that since he couldn't help directly, he would prepare a truly useful weapon for him. With that, Yang Zhentian fastened a glowing bracelet onto Xu Jingming's wrist, which greatly surprised him. Returning to his room, Xu Jingming sat on his bed, preparing for the upcoming journey. He ordered Eva to open the university's mission system. Recalling his senior brother's advice, Xu Jingming decided to accept a few field missions to earn credits before leaving the school. A series of missions of various ranks appeared, ranging from collecting materials and hunting criminals to participating in large-scale campaigns. He realized that the university's training model was to push students into genuinely dangerous battles in exchange for high rewards. Understanding the school's philosophy, he decisively chose one A-rank mission, along with 3 B-rank missions. After finishing his preparations, Xu Jingming donned his cloak, put on his backpack, and set off with EVA's good luck wishes. He arrived at the Yuanshui City supply base, a noisy and bustling outpost before entering the wilderness zone. Xu Jingming stepped into the vast registration hall, where adventurers were gathered. A receptionist in a charming red dress approached and politely asked how she could help him. Xu Jingming presented his student ID, stating his purpose was to register as an adventurer. The receptionist was surprised to see a student from such a prestigious university visiting the wilderness zone, and she informed him that processing the card would take a little time. While the woman went to process the paperwork, Xu Jingming waited in the middle of the hall. Suddenly, the crowd in the hall stirred when a group of adventurers recognized the appearance of the goddess Jiang Chushuan. Jiang Chushuan, a famous second-year student, walked in with a confident demeanor alongside her entourage. Everyone discussed animatedly, revealing that she was an influential figure with over 15 million followers, often coming here to film. Xu Jingming merely glanced over, secretly comparing her beauty to Song Chu-yun's before dismissing the matter. Just then, the receptionist returned, handing him his adventurer card and a smartwatch integrated with the area map. Taking the new equipment, Xu Jingming turned to leave. Just as he was about to step out the door, a strange man blocked his path, soliciting him to buy pills meant for first-timers in the wilderness zone. With a calm expression, Xu Jingming inquired about the price of the pills. The vendor immediately opened his coat, displaying a variety of pharmaceuticals and quoting prices. Tier 1 healing pills for 20,000, antidote pills for 15,000, while the Tier 2 versions were pricier at 40,000 and 30,000 respectively. Xu Jingming commented that the prices weren't too expensive, which only made the vendor more smug, boasting about his cheap yet effective pills. However, Xu Jingming had already realized this was a scam, as standard Tier 1 pills usually cost between 30,000 and 40,000, and only those specializing in deceiving newcomers would sell them at such suspiciously low prices. His gaze turned sharp, and he exposed the vendor directly. "You must have used this trick to fool quite a few rookies, haven't you?" Caught red-handed, the vendor became flustered, but Xu Jingming closed in, questioning whether the man intended to chase him away. Suddenly, the vendor's demeanor changed. His smile turned sinister and murderous as he declared Xu Jingming was the first person daring enough to pull a stunt on him here. Just as the tension peaked, a gray-haired girl, Wang Qian, suddenly appeared, pointing directly at the vendor and shouting, "Zhao Chunlin, are you scamming rookies here again?" Called out by name, Zhao Chunlin recognized the woman, Wang Qian, and sullenly stated that Xu Jingming was lucky this time. Before leaving, Zhao Chunlin turned back and shot Xu Jingming a threatening look, warning him not to leave the supply base if he didn't want to regret it. The surrounding adventurers began whispering, believing the rookie had brought trouble upon himself by offending Zhao Chunlin, a man already at the intermediate Tier 2 rank. Wang Qian approached and sincerely advised Xu Jingming that Zhao Chunlin held grudges, and it would be best if he didn't leave the base anytime soon. She further explained that Zhao Chunlin had connections to the black market, so no one dared to stop him, and reiterated her advice to stay put inside the base. Watching Wang Qian and her teammates walk away, Xu Jingming secretly thought that the girl was genuinely kind-hearted. Putting the incident aside, he decided to first purchase the necessary supplies for the upcoming month, including healing pills, antidotes, and berserk pills. Xu Jingming went to the official transaction counter, using a flying device to interact with the virtual screen and purchase items. After neatly storing the newly purchased items in his backpack, he was fully prepared. Without hesitation, Xu Jingming strode through the main gate, leaving the safe zone of the supply base. Immediately, Zhao Chunlin and his henchmen blocked his path, growling, "You really didn't believe the warning? Do you dare look down on me?" Facing the aggressive crowd, Xu Jingming merely smirked, completely unafraid, and countered, "So, what do you plan to do?" Zhao Chunlin cracked his knuckles, threatening in a low voice to cripple Xu Jingming's legs to repay the earlier humiliation. In the distance, a worried Wang Qian wanted to rush over to help, but was held back by a teammate, who argued that Xu Jingming needed a lesson for ignoring their advice. Confident in his defense, Zhao Chunlin activated his Tier C metallized skin ability, declaring that no one could penetrate his defense. However, while he was still laying out compensation demands, Xu Jingming interrupted him with a cold shout, and purple lightning began flashing around his neck. An older subordinate of Zhao Chunlin didn't even have time to understand what was happening before he froze in terror at the sudden burst of killing intent. In a flash, Xu Jingming transformed into a streak of purple lightning, charging straight into the crowd at a speed invisible to the naked eye. A one-sided massacre ensued. The thugs were sent flying in all directions, blood splattering before they even realized they had been attacked. Wang Qian and her team could only stare in shock, completely unable to believe the brutal scene unfolding before them. After everything settled, Xu Jingming calmly walked away, leaving behind a battlefield where the previously arrogant thugs lay scattered across the ground. The surrounding adventurers whispered in horror, unable to comprehend the instantaneous and ruthless annihilation they had just witnessed. A teammate of Wang Qian analyzed that Xu Jingming had used a roundhouse kick to shatter Zhao Chunlin's pelvis, ensuring he would be crippled. This teammate also recognized Xu Jingming's combat uniform as an exclusive product of Madu University, deducing that he was an elite student, powerful, and utterly ruthless. Wang Qian entertained the idea of recruiting such a powerful attacker into the team, but another member immediately objected, reminding her of their rule to only recruit female members. The other female teammates immediately teased the blushing Wang Qian, joking that they wouldn't mind making an exception for a guy who was both handsome and strong. Ignoring all the attention, Xu Jingming reached the control gate, confirmed his adventurer information, and was granted permission to enter the wilderness zone. He ventured alone deep into the dense forest of the Yuanshui wilderness zone, beginning his journey. Suddenly, a resounding roar echoed throughout the forest, causing Xu Jingming to pause, but his expression remained completely calm. He recognized it as the intimidating roar of a fierce beast of at least Tier 4, but coldly asserted that it was not his target for the day. Xu Jingming recalled the information about the wilderness zone, deciding to head to the ruined town area first to hunt weaker fierce beasts and accumulate ability points. He used the device on his wrist to project a three-dimensional map of Ping An Town, confirming it was a large area with 500 to 600 fierce beasts, an ideal starting location. Burning with determination, Xu Jingming shot through the forest like an arrow, declaring Ping'an Town his next target. Before long, he set foot on the ruined concrete road of the town, where an atmosphere of desolation reigned. Instantly, a ferocious shadow cat with glowing purple eyes lunged out of the darkness, baring its fangs and claws to attack. But in a mere instant, the Tier 2 fierce beast was subdued in Xu Jingming's grasp. He smirked, thinking about the ability points being delivered right to his mouth. Suddenly, Xu Jingming clutched his chest, chaotic purple lightning flashing as he struggled with a surging bloodlust, a side effect from absorbing the blood essence of the Thunder Tyrannosaurus. With blazing eyes and a wild grin, he decided to unleash his instinct for slaughter, no longer needing to suppress it. Facing that aura, another shadow cat could only let out a confused meow. 1 month later, a team of bald adventurers entered the town, and one member wondered aloud to the captain why they hadn't seen a single fierce beast all day. The captain grumbled that he didn't know either, while his teammate analyzed that the complete disappearance of hundreds of fierce beasts was highly unusual. Suddenly, a gigantic armored blade tiger burst out of a building, startling the entire team into a defensive stance. The captain recognized the prey and joyfully urged the team to charge together and take down this rare fierce beast. But before they could act, a massive stream of purple lightning tore through the sky, striking the tiger directly. The armored blade tiger was completely engulfed by the destructive thunderbolt, much to the adventurers' astonishment. A terrifying explosion consumed everything, the violent lightning energy tearing the fierce beast into pieces. Blown back by the shockwave, the stunned adventurers heard their captain conclude that this was not a technological weapon, but an extremely powerful lightning-based combat skill. Realizing the attack was a warning, the captain sternly concluded that a powerful expert had claimed this territory and ordered an immediate retreat. The entire team fled hastily, trembling as they understood that all the fierce beasts in the town had been wiped out by that expert using the Thunder Spear skill. From above, Xu Jingming observed coldly. A notification confirmed he had received 19 ability points, and he was satisfied with the 1,000-meter attack range of his Thunder Spear. He checked his status panel, proud of the results of 1 month of intense training, reaching Upper Tier 2, breaking through to the 3rd layer of the indestructible Thunder Body, and upgrading a series of Tier A skills. Standing atop a ruined building, Xu Jingming decided to conclude his hunt here, preparing to return to the supply base before venturing deeper into the wilderness zone. Upon Xu Jingming's return to the Yuanshui supply base, his strangely bulging backpack immediately drew ridicule and became the subject of gossip among the other adventurers. He secretly congratulated himself for purchasing the reinforced tactical backpack. Otherwise, it would have been impossible to carry over 400 kilograms of fierce beast materials. At the procurement counter, a female attendant instructed Xu Jingming to place his items on the scale for appraisal. With a loud crash, Xu Jingming unloaded a mountain of spoils, horns, armor plating, and beast claws, piling them high upon the counter. The employee was stunned by the sheer volume, while Xu Jingming calmly inquired about the price of over 400 kilograms of Tier 2 fierce beast materials. She was shocked to realize that all the materials were the most valuable parts, such as tiger sinews, armored blades, and rhino horns. Overwhelmed by the sheer volume, she apologized and requested Xu Jingming to wait, while she called for additional personnel to assist with the inventory. Immediately afterward, the procurement manager, Zhao Yi, appeared with 2 female assistants and greeted Xu Jingming politely. Zhao Yi shook Xu Jingming's hand, expressing admiration for the hunting prowess of such a young man, and invited him to sit while the staff tallied the spoils. The female assistants quickly deployed automatic scanning drones, initiating the process of sorting and valuing the massive pile of spoils. While they waited, Zhao Yi presented Xu Jingming with a platinum membership card, secretly resolving to treat this promising young Upper Tier 2 awakened with the utmost respect. The initial employee returned to report the final tally, a lengthy list of materials ranging from high grade to low grade, leaving Zhao Yi astonished and wondering if Xu Jingming had single-handedly cleared out an entire fierce beast lair. Zhao Yi announced the total value was 24,764,000 and generously rounded the payment up to 25 million, a gesture Xu Jingming happily accepted. The transfer notification flashed on his phone. Xu Jingming's account balance now exceeded 29 million, causing him to be secretly overjoyed at having become rich overnight. Before departing, Xu Jingming bid farewell, and Zhao Yi handed him his business card, suggesting they meet for tea next time. Watching Xu Jingming's retreating figure, Zhao Yi smiled, certain that the young man's future held limitless potential. But immediately afterward, his phone rang, and his expression soured when he saw the caller ID. Zhao Chunlin. On the other end, Zhao Chunlin's voice, filled with venomous rage, screamed that he had seen the person who assaulted him, returned to the base, and demanded Zhao Yi exact revenge. Zhao Yi indifferently confirmed if the target was the upper tier 1 individual Zhao Chunlin had mentioned, and asked what kind of revenge he sought. From his hospital wheelchair, Zhao Chunlin, completely covered in bandages, roared, demanding the deployment of the Tiger Shark Squad to make his enemy suffer a fate worse than death. Zhao Yi agreed to lend Zhao Chunlin the Tiger Shark Squad, but declared it would be the last time, while the injured man swore he would leave Yuanshui City immediately after his revenge was complete. Ending the call, Zhao Yi brushed aside a vague sense of unease, reassuring himself that a Tier 2 elite squad would face no trouble dealing with a mere Tier 1 youngster. Meanwhile, as Xu Jingming walked down the street, he suddenly sneezed. He paused, wondering if someone was speaking ill of him behind his back. Simultaneously, Zhao Yi called his superior, Manager Wang, to report on a promising newcomer named Xu Jingming, whose haul of spoils far exceeded that of a dozen teams combined. In his office, Base Chief Manager Wang Chuang heard the name Xu Jingming and immediately ordered a background check. Discovering something shocking, Wang Chuang urgently demanded that Zhao Yi report to him immediately if Xu Jingming returned, astonishing Zhao Yi, and confirming his belief that the young man possessed an influential background. Gazing at the file on his screen, Wang Chuang realized Xu Jingming was another disciple of Yang Zhentian, an upper Tier 2 genius, and resolved that he absolutely could not afford to offend him. Completely unaware that he had become the center of attention, Xu Jingming strolled along, secretly calculating the exorbitant price of spatial rings. He acknowledged their convenience and yearned for one, especially a model large enough to store his spear. Suddenly, Xu Jingming's phone rang. It was his roommate, Liu Wentao, calling to ask when he would return to the academy. As Xu Jingming spoke on the phone and stepped into a deserted alley, the Tiger Shark Squad was already in position, silently observing from a distance. An injured member of the squad ordered the others to break the target's limbs and drag him back to him. Liu Wentao continued the conversation, mentioning that an arrogant new student had enrolled while Xu Jingming was away. Sensing killing intent, Xu Jingming suddenly fell silent, then quickly instructed his friend to continue talking as if nothing was amiss. The Tiger Shark Squad leader ordered them to prepare, instructing the member named He Ji to analyze the strength of the target who had just entered the alley. Initially dismissive, the squad leader was stunned when He Ji, after activating her superpower, stammered in horror that the result was impossible. Seeing his teammate's panic-stricken face, the squad leader anxiously asked what was wrong. He Ji decided to share the analysis data with the entire squad, explaining that her psychic perception ability showed that the brighter an opponent's power aura, the more terrifying their actual strength. In Heji's psychic vision, Xu Jingming's power aura manifested as a colossal purple storm, far exceeding upper Tier 2 and powerful enough to wipe out their entire squad. Realizing he had been set up, the Tiger Shark squad leader furiously ordered the mission aborted and vowed to settle the score with Zhao Chunlin. Xu Jingming was bewildered when he sensed the ambushers suddenly scattering in disarray. For no apparent reason, he quickly deduced that the only possible mastermind was Zhao Chunlin, and resolved to teach him a severe lesson the next time they met. Returning from the failed ambush, the squad leader vented his fury with a thunderous punch to the injured member's face. Knocked sprawling from his wheelchair, the injured member stared up in astonishment, demanding to know why he had been attacked. The squad leader roared, stating that his false information had nearly gotten the entire team killed, as the target was actually an upper Tier 2 powerhouse. The injured member was aghast, unable to believe the target could have advanced so rapidly in just 1 month. The mission is over, the squad leader coldly declared before turning and walking away, leaving his teammates sprawled on the ground. Upon returning to report, the squad leader informed Zhao Yi that the mission had been aborted midway. He explained that Zhao Chunlin's information was completely false. Not only was the rank incorrect, but the target's actual combat strength could potentially reach Tier 3. Zhao Yi was furious, wondering where a lowlife like Zhao Chunlin got the audacity to cause such a monumental disaster. He suddenly remembered and asked for the target's identifying features, learning it was a tall, muscular man who wielded a spear. Upon hearing the description, Zhao Yi's face instantly turned ashen with horror as he realized the person's true identity. In his office, Wang Chuang slammed his hand on the desk in fury, roaring and demanding to know which idiot dared to send people to ambush Xu Jingming. Zhao Yi attempted to placate him, suggesting there was no need to be angry over a mere upper Tier 2 youngster. Wang Chuang chastised Zhao Yi for his short-sightedness and projected Xu Jingming's detailed file for him to see. Zhao Yi froze when he read the target's illustrious background, the top scorer of Jiangnan province and more importantly, the true disciple of Dean Yang Zhentian. "Do you understand now?" Wang Chuang growled, explaining that they had just provoked a figure of such immense stature that even the government dared not offend him. Facing his superior's wrath, Zhao Yi bowed low, trembling as he promised never to cause any more trouble for the base. Wang Chuang gave a cold command, and 2 masked bodyguards immediately dragged the individual who provided the false information into the room. A member of the Tiger Shark squad, his face bruised and covered in blood, stammered pleas for mercy as he was thrown onto the floor. Wang Chuang grabbed the man's hair, declaring that a mere beating was insufficient. The ringleader must be executed as a warning. Without hesitation, a subordinate drew a blade and ended the unfortunate man's life amidst a desperate scream. Zhao Yi watched the scene in horror, but Wang Chuang merely asked coldly if such punishment was enough. Wang Chuang fixed his subordinate with a sharp gaze, emphasizing that this mistake was too severe to be overlooked like their previous shady dealings. To quell all rumors and appease the offended party, Wang Chuang declared that all those involved, including the Tiger Shark squad, must face severe punishment. Afterward, Wang Chuang led an array of high-ranking managers, all impeccably dressed, toward the main hall with solemn expressions. The crowd of adventurers buzzed with discussion upon seeing the entire leadership, including General Manager Wang Chuang, personally coming out to greet someone, speculating that a figure of immense importance was about to arrive. In the crowd, a teammate pointed to Wang Qian, asking if that was the young man from Madu Superpower University they had encountered earlier. Su Jingming had just stepped into the hall, still slightly bewildered, when he saw an entire delegation waiting for him. A refined man stepped forward, introducing himself as Base General Manager Wang Lun, expressing delight that Xu Jingming had finally returned. Wang Qian and her teammates were stunned, realizing that this young man's status was far more extraordinary than that of a regular student. Wang Lun respectfully announced that Zhao Chunlin and his accomplices had been duly punished and would pay for their actions in prison, adding that the base had also prepared compensation gifts. Xu Jingming secretly mused that the position of general manager truly belonged to a ruthless individual, handling matters with extreme efficiency and decisiveness. A graceful female attendant in a red dress stepped forward, presenting the base's highest-level black and gold membership card. Another female attendant then offered a different gift box, which contained a 1 cubic meter spatial ring. Xu Jingming was utterly astonished by the extravagant compensation gift, unable to believe it was a spatial ring with a 1 cubic meter capacity. Receiving the space ring, valued at least 50 million, Xu Jingming smiled, acknowledging the manager's sincerity, and decided to accept the gift. Wang Lun praised Xu Jingming for being as generous as his master, Yang Zhentian, while also revealing that his senior martial brother, Liu Ming, had trained at this base before. After accepting the gift, Xu Jingming bid farewell to Wang Lun and the female attendant before leaving. Inside the luxurious room, accessed by a black and gold card, Xu Jingming thought to himself that he could finally get some proper rest after a month of intense training. Wang Lun affirmed that his words still carried weight in Yuanshui City and instructed Xu Jingming to contact him directly if anything happened, making the young man realize the power of having a solid backing. To use the space ring, Xu Jingming knew he needed to leave a spiritual imprint, and he was confident that with his 972 Hz's spiritual power, this task would be effortless. In just a moment, he completed the ownership binding, discovering that he could store and retrieve objects with a mere thought, provided his body was touching them. While testing it, the phone on the table was suddenly sucked into the ring's spatial dimension. Sitting on the sofa, Xu Jingming called his master, reporting that he had just exited the wilderness and had something to report. On the other end of the line, Yang Zhentian was furious upon learning that someone dared to ambush his disciple, threatening to flatten the entire supply base if any harm came to Xu Jingming. Yang Zhentian wondered why the upper Tier 2 elite team gave up, and Xu Jingming speculated that they might have realized he was also at the same rank and retreated to confirm their assessment. Hearing this, Yang Zhentian was utterly astonished, unable to believe that Xu Jingming had broken through to upper Tier 2 after only a month, a fact the young man calmly confirmed had happened a few days prior. The master burst into hearty laughter, proudly declaring that his disciple's cultivation speed was even faster than his own back in the day, and promised to personally host a celebration upon his return. Xu Jingming presented his plan. He would enter the high-level zone for one final training session before school started, confident that he could handle Tier 4 and even Tier 5 fierce beasts. Yang Zhentian acknowledged his student's composure, but did not forget to remind him to always prioritize safety. An attendant approached Yang Zhentian, remarking that it had been a long time since the master looked so happy, while also praising Xu Jingming's extraordinary leveling speed as a miracle. The scene changed. Xu Jingming had returned to the wilderness, standing amidst the dense forest where the roars of fierce beasts echoed everywhere. He noted that the fierce beast resources in this mountainous forest area were far richer than those found in the town ruins. The young man stomped his foot on the ground, taking a firm stance, preparing for a new hunt. Immediately, Xu Jingming shot forward, his body enveloped in violent purple lightning, ready to sweep away all obstacles. A streak of green energy swept through the forest, signaling an extremely rapid movement. A ferocious gale terror wolf with gray fur and glowing eyes suddenly appeared. Xu Jingming immediately analyzed it, identifying it as a mid-tier 3 wind element fierce beast, and calculated the amount of ability points he would receive upon defeating it. He looked confidently straight at the fierce beast, showing no signs of fear. Unexpectedly, another group appeared, led by Jiang Chushuan, and one of her team members suggested that the wolf was a perfect filming target. Xu Jingming watched cautiously, recognizing the group's intention to steal his kill, an act of provocation according to the laws of the wilderness. Jiang Chushuan showed her disapproval, telling Captain Wang that she didn't want to steal someone else's prey, but he justified it as helping others for fun and attracting views. She firmly refused to stage the shot, pointing out that the young man was completely calm and did not need any assistance. Captain Wang looked annoyed but complied with Jiang Chushuan's decision, agreeing to leave and find another fierce beast. Watching them leave, Xu Jingming inwardly commented that Jiang Chushuan had a decent character for someone with such great influence. However, he also noticed the captain's murderous gaze, indicating that Jiang Chushuan's control over her team was not strong. The Gale Terror Wolf, seeing the powerful group leave, immediately looked down on Xu Jingming and lunged to attack. Scoffing at the beast's arrogance, Xu Jingming easily dodged the attack and raised his spear. He leaped into the air, condensing purple lightning onto the spear tip, and unleashed the Thunder Windbreak technique, striking directly down onto the wolf's head. The fierce beast was instantly defeated, granting him 34 ability points, a number he considered not bad. With a confident smile, Xu Jingming resolved to dedicate himself fully to leveling up during the final 10 days. 7 days later, a pack of ferocious, red-eyed apes looked in panic toward a dazzling purple light streaking through the forest. A gigantic spear formed from purple lightning energy shot rapidly toward the pack of apes. The energy spear exploded upon impact, creating a terrifying thunderblast that engulfed the apes. The ground was scorched, littered with the corpses of the ape pack amidst the dissipating smoke, evidence of the attack's destructive power. Xu Jingming noticed that the alpha ape, a tier 3 fierce beast, had not been defeated by a single thunder spear strike. Without hesitation, he charged into the remaining apes, unleashing a flurry of continuous lightning spear techniques to wipe out their entire clan. When the battle concluded, Xu Jingming stood amidst the battlefield littered with monster corpses, white smoke rising from the scorched earth. He looked contentedly at his status panel. His accumulated ability points had surpassed 3,000, enough for him to learn the S-rank combat skills he had long desired. Suddenly, a streak of blue light shot into the sky, and Xu Jingming recognized it as an emergency distress signal. In another part of the forest, a white-haired female adventurer was desperately fleeing, dodging invisible attacks that snapped the surrounding branches. Chasing her was a gigantic scaled monster. She realized in despair that her team had been completely routed by this burrowing dragon. She knew that any fierce beast bearing the name dragon was exceptionally brutal, and she couldn't possibly defeat it even with a berserk potion. While fleeing, she could only hope that a team of superpowered individuals would receive her distress signal. As she ran out of the forest edge into an open grassland, she realized she had run out of escape routes. The monster would surely catch her. The gigantic burrowing dragon appeared right behind her, roaring a declaration that she had nowhere left to hide. It opened its mouth, firing a destructive purple energy beam straight toward the terrified woman. In that life-or-death moment, Xu Jingming suddenly appeared, using his lightning spear tip to block the attack, causing the girl to recognize him in shock. She quickly shouted, warning Xu Jingming that this was a low-tier 3 burrowing dragon, and urging him to run, as they couldn't possibly win. Despite the warning, Xu Jingming calmly planted his spear into the ground, facing the monster head-on, which utterly confused the girl. Angered by his recklessness, she gritted her teeth, telling herself that she could die, but she absolutely could not implicate an innocent person. Xu Jingming turned back and decisively told her, "You run. I will hold it off." With that, he forcefully pushed the girl out of the danger zone and charged alone toward the burrowing dragon. Pushed far away, the white-haired woman could only watch in astonishment as Xu Jingming confronted the monster by himself. Xu Jingming's entire body erupted with violent purple lightning, his sharp gaze locked onto the dragon, ready for a fight to the death. Xu Jingming unleashed a massive lightning spear, hurling it straight toward the monster. The attack, imbued with raging violet thunder, struck the burrowing dragon directly in the head. The terrifying power of the strike tore through the fierce beast's body, scattering blood everywhere. The white-haired woman collapsed onto the ground, unable to believe that the burrowing dragon had been annihilated by a single blow. She realized with shock that the sonic boom she had heard earlier was not an illusion, and the power displayed by the person before her was truly terrifying. Xu Jingming received the notification of the successful monster kill and was satisfied with the amount of ability points gained, which was even higher than that of a typical Tier 3 high-rank fierce beast. He turned back to check on the woman, who replied that she was fine, just a little weak-kneed after the panic, and thanked him for saving her life. Xu Jingming replied modestly and offered his hand to help her stand up. The girl took his hand, introduced herself as Jiang Chushuan, and expressed her desire to repay his life-saving grace. Xu Jingming also introduced himself and said that all he needed was a signed photo from her. He explained that his roommate, Liu Wentao, was a huge fan of hers. Jiang Chushuan was surprised but happily agreed, promising to give him the photo when they returned to the supply base. Afterward, Jiang Chushuan recognized Xu Jingming's Black Cloud Swift Wind Spear and asked if he was a student at Madu Superpower University. She explained that the spear was famous for its weight, then introduced herself as a second-year student from the Elemental faculty, secretly thinking that this senior was very low-key. Xu Jingming realized she had mistaken him for an upperclassman, as ordinary students usually only reached Tier 2 high rank by their third year, but he decided not to reveal the truth. He greeted her back, and Jiang Chushuan lavishly praised his strength for being able to defeat the burrowing dragon with a single strike. Just as Xu Jingming was about to leave, Jiang Chushuan quickly called out to him. She hesitantly asked to accompany him for a while, explaining that she had been separated from her escort team and couldn't manage on her own. Xu Jingming agreed to take her to the city ruins area so she could find her way back, making Jiang Chushuan happily thank him. On the way, Jiang Chushuan suggested they check the dragon's lair, as there might be valuable items inside, and Xu Jingming agreed. As they walked, Xu Jingming was secretly surprised that Jiang Chushuan's ice goddess persona on her livestream was completely contrary to her talkative personality in real life. Jiang Chushuan cheerfully led the way, guiding him to the entrance of a dark cave, announcing that it was the dragon's lair. Before entering, Xu Jingming cautiously asked her to stay behind him to guard against danger, and Jiang Chushuan obediently agreed. He took the lead and stepped inside, his long spear flashing with purple lightning, ready for any ambush. However, the inside of the cave was a wondrous sight, filled with countless rare flowers and exotic herbs, and a clear pool of water emitting a fragrant aroma. Xu Jingming was astonished to recognize countless rare B, A, and C rank medicinal herbs, wondering how they could all grow together here. Jiang Chushuan, her eyes shining brightly, identified the most precious treasure, the S-rank spiritual spring earth vein, a sacred healing panacea. She explained that the spiritual spring itself nourished the surrounding plants, turning them into valuable medicinal ingredients, thereby confirming her discovery. Xu Jingming couldn't help but admire her profound knowledge, and Jiang Chushuan proudly revealed that she already possessed a Level 2 pharmacist certification. He was even more impressed, knowing that obtaining that certification was extremely difficult, proving she was more than just a talented scholar. After estimating that at least 5 doses of the sacred medicine could be formulated, Jiang Chushuan gratefully offered to yield the entire spiritual spring to Xu Jingming. However, Xu Jingming generously suggested taking only 1 portion, leaving the remaining 4 portions and half of the herbs for her, which deeply touched Jiang Chushuan. Just then, Jiang Chushuan's team entered the cave, and one member wondered why such a valuable item could be found in a place without monsters. The strange noise startled Xu Jingming and Jiang Chushuan, who turned back, wary of the uninvited guests. Captain Wang of the adventurer group quickly recognized this as the lair of a burrowing dragon, deducing that there must be treasure inside. The two sides faced each other. Xu Jingming secretly realized the trouble they were in now that an elite Tier 3 team had discovered the S-rank spiritual spring. Captain Wang greeted Jiang Chushuan, but the entire team's gaze was fixed on Xu Jingming, the stranger beside her. Jiang Chushuan quickly explained that Xu Jingming was a senior from her university, whom she had met by chance, and offered to share everything they found to de-escalate the situation. Captain Wang smiled and agreed, but a teammate quickly whispered in his ear, pointing out that the pool of water was the S-rank spiritual spring earth vein. Immediately, naked greed flared in the eyes of the entire adventurer team as they realized the true value of the treasure before them. Xu Jingming silently noted that the atmosphere had changed the moment the S-rank resource was mentioned. With a sinister smile, Captain Wang growled, suggesting that Jiang Chushuan and her companion had not been honest. Attempting to defuse the situation, Xu Jingming offered to surrender all the precious herbs and flowers, then urged Jiang Chushuan to leave. Jiang Chushuan quickly held him back, whispering a warning that Captain Wang and his crew were all peak Tier 3 awakened, impossible to fight, but Xu Jingming remained confident that he was no weaker than them. He coldly analyzed that even if they handed over all the items, the group would not let them leave alive, stunning Jiang Chushuan with his sharp insight. Captain Wang burst into laughter, admitting that the arrogant young man had correctly guessed their intentions. A team member explained that since Jiang Chushuan was a famous streamer, the best way to silence her was to eliminate both of them right here. Realizing there was no retreat, Jiang Chushuan resolved to fight, declaring that she could not let her senior be implicated because of her. Without hesitation, she took out a blood-burst pill, a temporary power-boosting medicine. She quickly swallowed the pill, preparing for a life-or-death battle. An A-rank icy aura erupted from Jiang Chushuan's body, showcasing her powerful nature-type ability. The surrounding ground was immediately covered by a thin layer of ice, putting the adventurers on high alert. Captain Wang ordered his subordinate, Zhou Chong, to deal with Xu Jingming, while he would personally confront Jiang Chushuan. He activated his ability, his body transforming into a ferocious saber-toothed tiger, and declared that he would take Jiang Chushuan's life. The cameraman and his accomplices uttered vile words, saying they wouldn't kill her too quickly but would slowly enjoy and record the entire process. Jiang Chushuan was desperate, unable to accept that she would die at the hands of these monsters in human skin, and dragged Xu Jingming down with her. She frantically turned back, intending to call out to Xu Jingming, but suddenly froze as she realized something. The eyes of the saber-toothed tiger were narrowed, reflecting a sudden flash of light. In a flash, Xu Jingming was standing behind Zhou Chong, his long spear piercing through the man's chest, fresh blood gushing out. With cold eyes, Xu Jingming calmly remarked that a Tier 3 warrior was nothing special. Captain Wang cried out in horror at the opponent's unbelievable speed. Seeing Zhou Chong's body flung away, the captain realized he had severely underestimated Xu Jingming, the truly troublesome individual in the group. He roared, swinging his weapon and unleashing the tiger roar slash with terrifying power. Xu Jingming deftly shifted his body, narrowly dodging the attack amidst purple lightning arcs. He judged that the power of this peak Tier 3 captain far surpassed his own current level, deciding he could no longer hold back. The two remaining adventurer team members were stunned when their captain's attack missed its target. Xu Jingming unleashed his full power, activating the lightning zenith form, causing violent thunder and lightning to erupt around him. Jiang Chushuan covered her eyes in astonishment at the blinding surge of energy, calling out his name in worry. Sensing the terrifying dark aura, Captain Wang trembled, wondering what kind of monster his opponent truly was. Xu Jingming was completely transformed. His hair grew long, horns sprouted from his head, his ears became pointed, and his body was enveloped by spectral lightning bolts. He reveled in the feeling of incredible power surging through him, while Captain Wang could only utter one word: magnificent. The captain quickly regained his composure, assuming it was just a temporary special state, and roared as he charged forward. With a ferocious expression, the Tiger Man swung his weapon and lunged straight ahead. Xu Jingming, in his demonic form, also smiled confidently and rushed forward to meet the attack. He unleashed the lightning flash slash against the opponent's defensive crouching tiger stone technique, which the enemy was confident no attack could penetrate. The two surges of power collided violently, and the tip of Xu Jingming's spear pierced straight into the stone armor. The solid defense shattered into pieces, causing the captain to scream in horror. Xu Jingming coldly declared that his body was now 3 or 4 times stronger, and even the captain's iron skin couldn't withstand it. A brilliant orange flame energy erupted behind him, merging with the lightning. He asserted that his control over his ability had also reached its peak. Captain Wang screamed in terror when his B-rank Ghostfire Claw technique was easily blocked. Severely wounded on the ground, he desperately looked up at Xu Jingming in his lightning zenith form, who declared he would finish him with one more strike. Facing death, the captain hastily begged for his life, offering the Earth Spirit spring water and all his assets. But Xu Jingming coldly refused. Witnessing the splattering blood, Jiang Chushuan was stunned, wondering if this was a dream, seeing a peak Tier 3 captain being slain. She gazed in astonishment at Xu Jingming's back, realizing his power far exceeded an A-rank ability and might have reached the legendary S-rank. Xu Jingming turned to the two remaining members, feeling a rising bloodlust, causing them to scream in horror and call him a demon. He sneered at the title, believing that compared to murderous bandits like them, he was still far more humane. In desperation, one of the men ordered his companions to use the blood-burst pill, resolving to fight to the death. A spear flashed, tearing through the air and the enemies like lightning, staining the battlefield with fresh blood. Returning to his human form, Xu Jingming stood amidst the scattered corpses, while Jiang Chushuan quietly observed from a distance. He gasped for breath, leaning against a rock, silently noting that maintaining the lightning zenith form for just 10 minutes was more exhausting than fighting for hours. Jiang Chushuan approached anxiously to check on him, but Xu Jingming reassured her that he was just tired and suggested they collect the earth spirit spring water first. They both went to the clear stream, and Xu Jingming sighed in relief, seeing that it had not been contaminated by blood. He carefully scooped the precious water into the glass vials he had prepared. After finishing the collection, Xu Jingming generously gave Jiang Chushuan half of the earth spirit spring water, acknowledging her efforts. Jiang Chushuan happily accepted it and profusely thanked the senior for his kindness. Suddenly, she cried out in pain and stumbled toward Xu Jingming. Realizing the side effects of the blood-burst pill were kicking in, Jiang Chushuan collapsed into Xu Jingming's arms, startling him, and he instinctively reached out to support her. Her entire body limp, she panted in embarrassment, realizing she was too weak to use her mental power or retrieve items from her spatial ring. With tears streaming down her face, Jiang Chushuan worried that this state would cause the senior to misunderstand her and leave him with a bad impression. Xu Jingming picked up the flustered Jiang Chushuan, explaining that the side effects of the blood-burst pill were severe and that he would take her to a safe place to rest. In his arms, Jiang Chushuan's heart pounded wildly. She wondered if it was because this was the first time she had been so close to a man. After gently setting her down on a rock face, Xu Jingming said he would go collect the remaining rare herbs. Seeing her shivering, Xu Jingming took off his t-shirt and offered it to her. Jiang Chushuan used the shirt to cover herself, secretly thinking that this senior was truly very gentle. Meanwhile, Xu Jingming checked the spoils from a spatial ring, but was disappointed that this elite team didn't have any truly valuable items. He secretly wished he could trade 2 small spatial rings for a larger one, as constantly carrying his long spear was inconvenient. Suddenly, Jiang Chushuan called him back, revealing that the earth spirit spring water could counteract the pill's side effects, and asked him for a sip. Xu Jingming immediately took out a small vial and carefully gave her a drink. Immediately after drinking, Jiang Chushuan sighed in relief, and her complexion visibly improved. She stated that she felt much better, but needed 3 to 4 hours for a full recovery, astonishing Xu Jingming with the miraculous effects of the S-rank Earth Spirit spring water. Noticing that night was approaching, Xu Jingming decided they would both stay overnight in this relatively safe location. The suggestion stunned Jiang Chushuan, and her face flushed as she imagined a man and a woman alone in a dark cave. When Xu Jingming asked for her opinion, she could only shyly reply that she would follow his arrangements. The next morning, after a quiet night, the entire forest awoke in the morning sunlight. Jiang Chushuan stretched refreshingly, cheerfully remarking that the fresh air here made her feel like she could live for a month, even without fierce beasts. She secretly glanced at Xu Jingming, feeling both embarrassed by her wandering thoughts from the night before and a strange sense of disappointment. Suddenly, Xu Jingming turned around and announced that he would take her to the edge of the forest, startling Jiang Chushuan, who quickly agreed. Without further explanation, he gripped his spear tightly and took the lead, swiftly darting through the trees. Abruptly, Xu Jingming stopped short, raising his hand to block Jiang Chushuan right behind him, his expression filled with vigilance. Right in front of Xu Jingming and Jiang Chushuan, a gigantic level 5 flame tiger appeared, letting out a sky-shattering roar. However, the powerful fierce beast didn't attack. Instead, it bolted past them with terrifying speed. Hiding behind a tree, Jiang Chushuan was astonished to realize the tiger wasn't hunting, it was running for its life. She suddenly felt a chill as she sensed the true danger rapidly approaching from behind. A black wave swept through the forest. It was a swarm of gigantic iron-eating rats with fierce, glowing red eyes. Jiang Chushuan explained that even though they were only level 1 fierce beasts, their sheer numbers were enough to tear apart a level 6 powerhouse, making Xu Jingming understand why the flame tiger had fled. Without a moment's hesitation, Xu Jingming grabbed Jiang Chushuan's hand and yelled that they needed to run immediately as well. The ferocious swarm of rats pursued them relentlessly, flattening everything in their path. While sprinting, Xu Jingming realized that, given the rats' endless stamina and the 90-kilometer distance to the base, they needed to move even faster. Feeling the spear was too heavy, he considered discarding it, but Jiang Chushuan offered to store it in her spatial ring. The massive spear instantly vanished, sucked into the ring on her slender finger. Relieved of the burden, Xu Jingming turned and said that carrying her on his back would be the fastest way, causing Jiang Chushuan to blush in confusion. He quickly hoisted her onto his back and poured his strength into dashing away like an arrow. They reached a ruined city area, but their hope for refuge was shattered when they found the area was also overrun by the rat swarm. Landing amidst the monster's encirclement, Xu Jingming realized they had been cornered. With Jiang Chushuan clinging tightly to his back, he decided to stop running, activating his lightning extreme form and transforming into a thunder war god. He yelled for her to hold on tight, then unleashed a furious purple lightning surge, sweeping away everything around them. The destructive lightning bolts tore through the iron-eating rats, simultaneously earning Xu Jingming valuable ability points. Meanwhile, at a fortified military base, soldiers and armored vehicles had taken up combat positions. A subordinate reported to the director that this rat tide numbered over 300,000 creatures, an alarming figure. The base director looked at the map, riddled with signs of wiped-out teams, feeling bitter about the fate of the awakened ones who had ventured deep into the wilderness, believing they would all be devoured. He was especially worried about Xu Jingming, thinking that if the boy had gone too deep, no one could save him, unless his master, Yang Zhentian, personally intervened. Suddenly, a massive purple lightning sphere appeared at the edge of the forest, astonishing the soldiers. While the director immediately ordered a threat assessment and authorized firing, the base's automated defense system unleashed a barrage of bullets toward the target, which was approaching at 80 meters per second, but all interception efforts failed, as the lightning energy vaporized the projectiles into dust. Inside the electrical storm, Xu Jingming roared in his lightning extreme form, his silver-white hair flying as he carried Jiang Chushuan, and charged forward with terrifying speed. He slammed into the ground with a powerful impact, breaching the base's defenses to the astonishment of the soldiers. The stunned soldiers initially thought it was a lightning-type fierce beast, but then realized it was a person radiating a terrifying aura, with a familiar figure clinging to their back. As the lightning dissipated, Xu Jingming returned to his normal form, sighing in relief as he informed Jiang Chushuan that they were safe at the supply base. The director rushed over, unable to believe his eyes that Xu Jingming had survived the rat tide, while the boy simply tiredly requested a room to rest. He was speechless upon learning that Xu Jingming had run over 90 kilometers from the mountains, a feat difficult even for a level 4 awakened one. The director offered to arrange accommodation, but Jiang Chushuan quickly declined, stating that she would personally take care of Xu Jingming. As the two departed, the soldiers recognized the goddess Jiang Chushuan and began whispering, envious of the lucky young man who had stolen their goddess. After a long sleep, Xu Jingming finally woke up in a comfortable room. Jiang Chushuan smiled by the bedside, informing him that he had slept for 2 days and 2 nights, and that she had nearly resorted to using the Earth Mother Spirit Spring to save him. He sat up, surprised by how long he had slept, and asked about the situation outside. Jiang Chushuan explained that the rat tide had not yet receded, and the area was still under lockdown. Xu Jingming decided it was time to return to school, since the new semester was about to begin, and Jiang Chushuan happily said she would also be heading back. He agreed, and Jiang Chushuan suddenly remembered something important she needed to mention. She imagined herself in a seductive nightgown, handing him the signed photo he had requested earlier, leaving Xu Jingming bewildered. Returning to reality, Xu Jingming awkwardly explained that the photo was for a friend, and asked if she had a more normal one, making Jiang Chushuan realize her misunderstanding. Jiang Chushuan flushed crimson, clutching her head in extreme embarrassment, chastising herself for thinking her senior had feelings for her. Still mortified, Jiang Chushuan offered a new photo, insisting that Xu Jingming return the old one. However, Xu Jingming refused, saying he wanted to keep that photo for himself. His words made Jiang Chushuan blush again. She smiled shyly and happily agreed. To break the awkward atmosphere, Xu Jingming said he needed to handle some matters and book a train ticket home. Jiang Chushuan immediately offered to drive him back in her private car. On the way, Xu Jingming couldn't help but be overwhelmed, sitting in the limited edition supercar worth tens of millions. He marveled at experiencing the fully autonomous driving mode for the first time, while Jiang Chushuan explained it was level 5 AI technology. The luxurious car quickly brought them to the university campus. After changing into casual clothes, Jiang Chushuan stepped out of the car. Xu Jingming followed, carrying his familiar long spear over his shoulder. The appearance of the handsome pair attracted admiring glances from other students, who mistakenly believed they were a perfectly matched couple. Back at school, Xu Jingming silently marveled at his skyrocketing strength, while Jiang Chushuan asked about his dormitory area. Realizing they were staying in different areas, they stopped to say goodbye. Xu Jingming politely offered his help whenever she needed it, and Jiang Chushuan happily accepted. Immediately afterward, she unexpectedly stood on her tiptoes and placed a light kiss on the stunned Xu Jingming's cheek. She explained that it was just a small thank you gift for saving her life. With that, Jiang Chushuan turned and waved goodbye, leaving Xu Jingming standing there dumbfounded. He touched his cheek, his mind completely blank, unable to believe he had just been kissed without warning. Meanwhile, back in her private room, Jiang Chushuan immediately sat down at her computer, determined to find out more about this powerful and mysterious senior. After a period of searching, she cheered when she finally found all the information about him. After discovering that Xu Jingming was a Tier 2 upper-rank freshman, Jiang Chushuan pouted furiously for having called a liar her senior, and she swore to teach him a lesson. Meanwhile, Xu Jingming returned to his room, sat on his chair, and reviewed his spoils. Mission materials, 2 spatial rings, and over 25 million yuan. He checked his status panel, regretting the missed ability points from the rat swarm, but satisfied with over 3,700 points, enough to learn 2 S-rank martial techniques. Suddenly, Liu Wentao burst into the room, overjoyed that Xu Jingming had returned safely after hearing the news about the rat swarm. Immediately, Liu Wentao sensed his friend's aura and shouted in astonishment upon realizing he had broken through to Tier 2. Xu Jingming confirmed he had reached Tier 2 upper rank, explaining that he was lucky to break through after several near-death experiences. Liu Wentao expressed admiration and joked that he also wanted to try a life-or-death experience, but Xu Jingming immediately dissuaded him, advising him to wait until Tier 2. Liu Wentao gave a wry smile, saying he was just kidding, then informed Xu Jingming that Song Chuyun had come looking for him several times. Xu Jingming replied that he would contact her later, then handed Liu Wentao a gift from the wilderness. The gift was an autographed photo of Jiang Chushuan, causing Liu Wentao, an ardent fan, to scream in delight. Elsewhere, Song Chuyun was walking through the magnificent university library. Xu Jingming also arrived at the library, musing that earning credits through missions was fast, and ordered Eva to filter out all S-rank Thunder-type martial techniques. A screen displayed information on the first 3 martial techniques: Thunder Tribulation Seal, Raging Thunder Fist, and Thunder Prison Domain. He pondered deeply, realizing that choosing the correct S-rank martial technique was the key to his future power development. Xu Jingming scrolled through numerous virtual skill directories, carefully considering each option. Finally, he decided to choose the Heavenly Thunder technique for long-range offense and the Netherworld Thunder armor for defense, creating a perfect balance. He smiled confidently, determined to master both magic and close combat, unlike others who specialized in only one area. Xu Jingming realized that the Heavenly Thunder technique was also a prerequisite for the Academy's only SSS rank martial technique, the Myriad Prison Divine Thunder, and was even more profound than the indestructible Thunder Body cultivation method. He was completely captivated, feeling that the complexity of this technique made his all-night doctoral thesis research in his previous life seem easy by comparison. 6 hours later, Xu Jingming collapsed onto the desk, exhausted but relieved that he had finally grasped the fundamentals and was ready for the system to take over. Having mastered the theory, Xu Jingming focused his resolve and summoned the Deep Blue system. He commanded the system to allocate points, and a massive surge of purple lightning energy erupted from his body, enveloping the entire room. Xu Jingming felt a momentary dizziness upon realizing that upgrading an S-rank martial technique to the basic level had consumed 1,600 points, nearly all the points he had painstakingly earned. Just as he intended to continue, the EVA drone flew over, reminding him that it was past 1 in the morning and that using abilities was forbidden in the library, forcing him to postpone learning the Thunder armor. Meanwhile, in another area of the campus, Song Chuyun was diligently jogging under the night sky, vowing to challenge Xu Jingming for the title of #1 freshman. Suddenly, she spotted a white-ring black-feathered hawk circling in the sky. Song Chuyun immediately assessed it as a formidable Tier 3 fierce beast, daring to hunt in the city thanks to its speed and camouflaged feathers. While she was still on guard, a bolt of lightning suddenly struck down from the clear sky, leaving her stunned. A blazing purple thunder sphere engulfed the night, hurtling straight toward the fierce beast. The white-ring black-feathered hawk was struck by the lightning, instantly disintegrating. Song Chuyun stared blankly at the horrifying sight, realizing this was a high-level Thunder-type ability user and judging that the person must be somewhere on campus. Little did she know, the person she assumed was a senior or instructor was actually Xu Jingming, standing in a small forest area to test his new martial technique. He smiled in satisfaction. The power of the S-rank Heavenly Thunder technique was truly extraordinary. A notification appeared stating he had eliminated a Tier 3 fierce beast and received 34 points, further impressing him when he realized the technique's range extended nearly a kilometer. From a distance, Liu Ming quietly watched Xu Jingming leave with great interest, realizing that this famous freshman was indeed extraordinary. The next morning, Xu Jingming, dressed in new clothes, prepared to leave the dormitory, telling Liu Wentao he was heading to the martial techniques library to prepare for the freshman competition. Witnessing his friend's diligence, Liu Wentao felt motivated and decided to go train immediately after breakfast. As Xu Jingming was walking around campus, a familiar voice called out to him. He turned around and saw Song Chuyun and Qi Dongxia approaching him. She was delighted that he had returned safely from the wilderness. Without letting Xu Jingming finish his sentence, Song Chuyun looked him straight in the eye, reiterated their promise, and boldly demanded a duel. When questioned by Xu Jingming, Song Chuyun confidently asserted that she was the top scorer of Sichuan province and should not be underestimated. Without hesitation, she grabbed Xu Jingming's hand, insisted there was no need to wait, and dragged him straight to the training room on the second floor of the dormitory. As he was being pulled along, Xu Jingming inwardly praised the decisive nature of the people from Sichuan, while admitting that he was also looking forward to this match. Song Chuyun's fighting spirit was also surging. She wondered what expression Xu Jingming would make when he learned she had broken through to Tier 2. At the arena, Xu Jingming stood opposite Song Chuyun, with Qi Dongxia and Liu Wentao watching nearby. Song Chuyun cracked her knuckles, flashed a provocative smile, and hoped Xu Jingming wouldn't lose too miserably. Xu Jingming warned that without a weapon, she wouldn't be able to win against him, but Song Chuyun simply replied that, of course, she had a weapon. A brilliant halo of light appeared in Song Chuyun's hand, from which a sky halberd gradually materialized and was expertly grasped by her. Xu Jingming was slightly surprised. He hadn't expected a girl to use an uncommon weapon like the sky halberd. Holding a steady stance, Song Chuyun declared that this time she would thoroughly defeat him, and Xu Jingming calmly accepted the challenge. From the spectator seats, Liu Wentao confidently told Qi Dongxia that Xu Jingming would definitely win, despite her anxiety. Xu Jingming realized that Song Chuyun had broken through to Tier 2 lower rank, but he hadn't been idle either, as massive streams of purple lightning began to surge around him. Qi Dongxia exclaimed in shock when she sensed Xu Jingming's power was at Tier 2 upper rank, causing Liu Wentao to smugly mock that her friend stood no chance. Song Chuyun was utterly stunned. She couldn't believe she was being suppressed by her opponent in terms of rank, and wondered how he could have advanced so quickly. Amidst the lightning, Xu Jingming asked his opponent if she wished to continue, and Song Chuyun, despite the pressure, agreed but requested that he not use too much strength. Xu Jingming praised her resilience, worthy of the Sichuan top scorer title, and promised not to attack first, inviting her to strike. Song Chuyun didn't hesitate. She concentrated a brilliant sphere of light in her hand, and warned him that he wouldn't regret it. Xu Jingming realized her ability was the A-rank nature type Dawn Light, a power similar to the thunder element, and was curious about its strength. She charged forward with a battle cry, the halberd in her hand radiating a dazzling golden light, making Xu Jingming realize this was a weapon enhancement martial technique. Song Chuyun unleashed the radiant flame gravity formation martial technique, and the golden, fiery sky halberd shot straight toward Xu Jingming, who stood amidst the purple lightning bolts. Facing the fiery attack, Xu Jingming smiled confidently. Purple lightning enveloped his spear, allowing him to easily block the halberd's tip. He used the shaft of his spear to parry the full force of the halberd strike, completely neutralizing the opponent's powerful energy flow. Xu Jingming calmly remarked that using a light element ability to generate fire was a decent skill, but its destructive power was still insufficient. Witnessing this, Liu Wentao excitedly thought to himself, astonished that Xu Jingming had blocked Song Chuyun's renowned technique so easily, while Qi Dongxia remained utterly stunned. Undeterred, Song Chuyun let out a shout and prepared for a new barrage of attacks. She unleashed a torrent of halberd techniques, creating countless afterimages that rushed toward Xu Jingming, causing the entire arena to ring with the sound of clashing metal. Yet, Xu Jingming remained composed, parrying every single blow, while criticizing that her halberd technique was both too slow and lacked power. After the barrage, Song Chuyun panted heavily, sweat pouring off her from exhaustion, her eyes wide with disbelief. She rested her halberd on the ground, astonished that her A-rank technique had been completely nullified without Xu Jingming having to use any special skill. In response to Song Chuyun's question, Xu Jingming nonchalantly admitted that his spear mastery had already reached the Grandmaster level. Song Chuyun was utterly stunned, unable to believe that it had taken her 10 grueling years just to reach the advanced level. She called him a genius in admiration. Finally, she conceded defeat, realizing it was impossible to win against someone who possessed both an S-rank ability and such extraordinary talent and comprehension. Xu Jingming smiled and suggested they could try out other combat skills. Song Chuyun politely declined, explaining that his level was too high for her spells to penetrate his defenses. She thanked him and invited him to lunch. After agreeing to meet again, Song Chu-yun and Chi Dongxia departed. Her close friend regretfully commented that Xu Jingming was still slightly stronger. Liu Wentao gave him a thumbs up, hailing Xu Jingming as the strongest among all the top scorers, but Xu Jingming humbly replied that Song Chu-yun's actual strength wasn't particularly high. Hearing this, Liu Wentao laughed and revealed a shocking secret. Song Chu-yun is the great-granddaughter of the S-rank light element grandmaster, Song Daoyuan, who is featured in history textbooks. Xu Jingming froze, recalling the legendary figure from 80 years prior. Liu Wentao further explained that given her family background, her rapid leveling and expensive equipment were easily understood, which brought Xu Jingming to a sudden realization. Having understood the situation, Xu Jingming waved goodbye to his friend, turned, and declared that he needed to continue honing his combat techniques. In a training area, Xu Jingming successfully manifested the Netherworld Thunder Prison armor. He was satisfied to note that this armor not only reduced incoming damage by 90%, but also possessed the ability to automatically counter-attack. 4 hours later, Xu Jingming checked his status panel and found he only had 712 ability points remaining after upgrading his new skill. He calculated thoughtfully, realizing he needed to venture into the nearby wilderness areas soon to accumulate more points. With a confident smile, Xu Jingming resolved to thoroughly prepare for the upcoming freshman competition. On September 1st, en route to the arena, Xu Jingming and Liu Wentao encountered Song Chu-yun and Chi Dongxia, who were discussing their goals for the competition. Song Chu-yun proudly declared her goal was higher than her friends. She aimed for the runner-up position, prompting Xu Jingming to tease that she was avoiding a rematch with him. Liu Wentao interjected, mentioning another formidable opponent, also aiming for second place, the champion of Qinghai Province, Li Chengzi. When Chi Dongxia announced their arrival, Song Chu-yun expressed interest in seeing just how strong the mentioned opponent truly was. Meanwhile, in the stands of the massive arena number 3, a voice rang out, expressing surprise that someone named Xuan Xuan was interested in this particular competition. That person was Jiang Chushuan. She smiled and replied that she had come because a certain interesting individual was participating. Her companion curiously asked if the person was male or female, and Jiang Chushuan confirmed it was a young man who was already present in the arena. Down on the arena floor, Xu Jingming and his friends were overwhelmed by the sheer scale and grandeur of the stadium. They gazed up at the colossal crowd in the stands, and one person in the group explained that the competition would be a 100-person melee, necessitating such a vast space. Xu Jingming clenched his fist, purple lightning crackling around him as he felt immensely excited about this battle royale format. Suddenly, Liu Wentao pointed to the stands in astonishment, recognizing the presence of major figures from the top clubs, and wondered if they had come specifically for Xu Jingming. Xu Jingming asked back blankly, completely unaware that the university even had club activities. Liu Wentao explained that the clubs here were nothing like those in high school. They were actually combat teams composed entirely of superpowered individuals. These teams regularly organized hunts for fierce beasts in the wilderness to gather cultivation resources. Liu Wentao suddenly recalled and revealed that Xu Jingming's senior brother, Liu Ming, was the vice president of the Ash Club, and found it strange that he was absent on such an important day. Amidst the noisy arena, Xu Jingming secretly worried, as he hadn't been able to contact senior brother Liu or his master since they departed for the southwest battlefield. Meanwhile, a member of the Ash Club thanked their president for returning from the tense front lines, suggesting that the recruitment task could have been delegated to subordinates. That person was Wei He, the president of the Ash Club. He asserted that he had returned for one sole purpose: to successfully recruit Liu Ming's junior brother, Xu Jingming. Wei He's gaze swept across the stands and paused, wondering why Wu Yuan of the Falling Star Club was also present. In the stands, Wu Yuan, the president of the Falling Star Club, wore a meaningful smile, seemingly targeting the very same individual. Suddenly, a voice announced that the deans were about to enter the arena, and the ceremony was commencing, as a gigantic light formation materialized in the air. The formation rotated violently, generating a brilliant spatial gate right above the ceremonial platform. The crowd of students buzzed with chatter, astonished by the powerful spatial ability, and wondering which major figure was making an entrance. From within the blinding light, an elegant high-heeled shoe stepped out, landing on the ground with a surge of golden energy. A woman with long hair and a majestic aura stepped fully into view, her powerful radiance enveloping the entire arena. Xu Jingming recognized her as the vice principal who oversaw the combat techniques library, while his friends were astonished by her youthful appearance. The woman spoke, introducing herself as Ling Shuang, one of the 3 vice principals, and announced that she would preside over today's ceremony on behalf of the university. Ling Shuang welcomed the freshmen, proudly announcing that this year's cohort was exceptional, featuring hundreds of high-level ability users and 6 provincial champions. She then unexpectedly revealed a shocking piece of information. Among them was an extremely rare S-rank ability awakened. Hearing this, Liu Wentao shot Su Jingming a meaningful glance. While Su Jingming maintained a perfectly calm expression, Ling Shuang continued, explaining that the university would allocate resources based on ranking, and the upcoming freshman competition would determine their treatment and benefits for the first year. The students began murmuring about the school's fierce competitive system, with one person blurting out a wish that things could be fairer. Ling Shuang turned back, her voice chilling as she questioned, "Fair? Did I ever claim that Madu Superpower University was a place of fairness?" Her eyes sharpened as she declared that the school's goal was to cultivate the strongest powerhouses through competition, combat, and the seizing of resources. An invisible wave of pressure radiated from her words, spreading throughout the arena, and leaving all the freshmen speechless in horror and awe. Amidst the pressure, Xu Jingming smiled with interest, thinking that this fierce competitive system was exactly why he chose Madu Superpower University. Vice Principal Ling Shuang warned the freshmen not to conceal their true strength, stating that the stronger they were, the more resources they would receive. Before beginning to explain the competition, she announced that the first round would be a 100-person free-for-all, held over 10 heats, and EVA would select the top 5 participants from each heat to advance. High-tech drones projected onto a massive screen, announcing extremely enticing rewards for the top ranks, with the first prize being a 10 cubic meter spatial ring. Liu Wentao exclaimed in astonishment that a spatial ring was a priceless item that could not be bought with money. Ling Shuang further explained that the competition results would also determine each student's rank and privileges within the university. Having finished speaking, she gracefully departed and handed over the proceedings to Dean Sunday. Dean Sun, an elderly woman with a dignified demeanor, stepped forward. She was Sun Qingzhou, the dean of the elemental faculty, who officially declared the competition open and reminded them that outstanding individuals would have the chance to be taken on as disciples by the faculty members. The students immediately boiled over with determination, vowing to give their all to catch the attention of the deans and ascend to glory. Following the signal, the contestants selected by EVA for the first heat began to enter the arena. Liu Wentao recognized a formidable opponent on the list and informed Xu Jingming that Li Chengzi was also participating in this heat. Li Chengzi, an arrogant figure with a scar on his cheek, turned to look directly at Xu Jingming and made a provocative throat-slitting gesture. Song Chuyun angrily stated that Li Chengzi was too arrogant and needed to be taught a lesson. Meanwhile, Liu Wentao could only chuckle internally, thinking that Li Chengzi was foolish for provoking the one person he absolutely shouldn't have. 100 contestants were teleported into the center of the arena, preparing for the life-or-death battle. Dean Sun reassured them that EVA would automatically activate a protective shield upon sensing danger, and all injuries could be healed, before giving the order to begin. After a 3-second countdown, the free-for-all officially erupted. The entire arena instantly devolved into chaos as countless skills and weapons clashed against one another. From the stands, an astonished spectator pointed at a swordsman and exclaimed that he had broken through to Tier 2, while his companion recognized him as Li Chengzi, the champion of Qinghai Province. Li Chengzi mocked his opponents after taking down a large number of contestants with a single strike. An announcement rang out, declaring Li Chengzi the winner of the first heat after defeating 36 people. He arrogantly looked toward Xu Jingming and issued a challenge, wondering if an S-rank awakener could surpass his achievement. Xu Jingming coldly remarked that Li Chengzi was truly hopeless, while Liu Wentao was stunned by his reckless death wish. In the stands, an Ash Club member suggested targeting Li Chengzi, but President Wei He firmly asserted that the primary target remained Xu Jingming. When asked about internal information, Wei He replied that he had none, but he had witnessed something firsthand that day. The drone announced the start of the draw for the second heat, instructing the contestants to take the stage. Liu Wentao and Song Chuyun wished Xu Jingming good luck, cheering him on to show Li Chengzi his true strength. When Xu Jingming's name was called, the contestants in the same bracket immediately despaired, believing they could only compete for the remaining 4 spots. Xu Jingming looked at the opponents maintaining their distance and warned them that standing far away was naive and futile. From the stands, the deans recognized Xu Jingming as Dean Yang's new disciple, the one possessing the S-rank Purple Heaven Divine Thunder ability. One teacher was so astonished that he spat out his tea upon discovering that Xu Jingming had broken through to Tier 2, despite only awakening upon enrollment. The other teachers were also terrified by his leveling speed, and Dean Sun secretly chastised Dean Yang for concealing such a major secret. The moment the starting signal sounded, Xu Jingming immediately unleashed a massive surge of purple lightning that enveloped the entire arena. Standing at the heart of the lightning storm, he thought to himself that compared to fighting fierce beasts, he still preferred confronting humans. The other contestants were overwhelmed by his terrifying aura. One person frantically realizing that this was the pressure exerted by an upper tier 2 awakener. The truth was revealed. Xu Jingming was actually an upper tier 2 superpower user. The other freshmen were completely demoralized, shouting complaints about having to compete against an opponent who was an entire major realm stronger than them. The Ash Club member asked Wei He in shock if he had known this beforehand, and he simply replied that now the member could see Xu Jingming's potential. In another corner of the stands, Jiang Chushuan smiled, thinking that Xu Jingming had deceived her for too long, and decided she would settle the score with him later. Li Chengzi gritted his teeth in fury. His plan to crush Xu Jingming and establish his own reputation was completely ruined upon realizing his opponent was an upper tier 2 awakener. Looking down at the arena, Li Chengzi bitterly conceded that Xu Jingming would certainly win in any other heat, but he gloated, waiting to see what the youth would do when facing this particular second heat. Amidst the chaotic crowd, one contestant spoke up, calling upon everyone, pointing out that no one could single-handedly fight an upper tier 2 with an S-rank ability, and suggested they all combine forces to eliminate Xu Jingming first. The appeal immediately received enthusiastic support from the other contestants, all agreeing that this was the best strategy. Xu Jingming noticed that the instigator's voice carried a strange, mesmerizing power, leading him to deduce that it was a user of a mental ability. A purple-haired contestant stepped out, radiating a stream of red mental energy, and introduced himself as Shi Liao, an A-rank mental ability user, promising victory for all 102 people if they followed his command. Under the influence of the ability, the other contestants became fanatical, viewing this as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to defeat an S-rank genius, and unanimously demanded that Shi Liao give the order. From the stands, the deans commented that Shi Liao was quite talented for uniting the freshmen and putting Xu Jingming in a difficult position, and one person recalled that he was Dean Long's disciple. Long Ke, the dean of the Tactical Academy, smiled smugly, arguing that the unity was only due to a common enemy, and his disciple was merely lucky. Dean Sun Kingsnow countered, arguing that luck was also a form of strength, and it would be a huge joke if an S-rank awakener failed to pass the first round of the competition. In the arena, Xu Jingming silently observed, purple lightning beginning to surge around him as the crowd of hundreds prepared to charge. Shi Liao confidently provoked Xu Jingming, mocking him for missing his only chance to take out the ringleader, and now having to face 102 opponents under his command. Xu Jingming smirked, the lightning exploding even more fiercely as he challenged back. "What makes you think I am at a disadvantage?" Shi Liao began issuing orders, systematically dividing the formation. Melee fighters forward, ranged attackers strike immediately, and support types enhance their allies. Driven by the chance to defeat an S-rank genius, the crowd roared and simultaneously charged toward Xu Jingming. Shi Liao erected a stone wall to protect himself, advising Xu Jingming to worry about dealing with the surrounding enemies instead of thinking about attacking him. Xu Jingming calmly watched the charging crowd, thinking that although their numbers were great, they wouldn't be able to cause much damage. He unleashed his ultimate technique, a gigantic purple lightning spear condensed in the air before plunging straight down into the center of the arena. The lightning spear struck the ground, causing a terrifying explosion that shattered the arena floor into fragments. The explosion spread, creating a sweeping storm of lightning that ravaged everything, tossing numerous contestants and their weapons high into the air. Violent purple lightning spread out, knocking back a large number of freshmen in all directions amidst the chaos. Shi Liao and Wu Hao were utterly terrified. One screamed that it was about to detonate, while the other desperately thought they were all going to die. The power of the lightning explosion peaked, creating a blinding white sphere of energy at the center of the arena. A colossal pillar of thunder energy erupted from the ground, engulfing everything within its range. From the safe zone, Liu Wentao and the other students were stunned, one marveling at the sight of a mushroom cloud, while another worried if Shi Liao was even still alive. An automated surveillance drone activated its energy shield, simultaneously announcing that the defensive grid was online and that all affected individuals had been eliminated by Xu Jingming. Shi Liao stood amidst the dissipating smoke, bitterly admitting his mistake for provoking Xu Jingming, only to be eliminated without taking anyone down. In a flashback, the student with spiky brown hair led the charge, urging his teammates not to worry about him and to keep pushing forward. Responding to the call, Numerous freshmen roared and simultaneously rushed forward with all their weapons and abilities. Xu Jingming stood alone amidst the siege, facing the frantic crowd charging from all directions, determined to drag him down with them. Countless weapons and elemental attacks converged on Xu Jingming, who remained motionless with a completely serene expression. Just before impact, Xu Jingming's eyes flashed with purple light, and the corner of his mouth curled into a confident smile as thunder began to pour forth. Earlier, Xi Liao had confidently believed that trading one life for one to eliminate Xu Jingming was a worthwhile exchange. However, his expression quickly shifted to utter horror upon witnessing his opponent's true power. In the middle of the arena, Xu Jingming unleashed a lightning storm, effortlessly neutralizing and repelling all incoming attacks. He stood in the center of the chaotic energy storm with a serene expression, his eyes half closed, seemingly completely unaffected. Xi Liao couldn't believe his eyes, wondering how his opponent could block every attack without using combat techniques, and realized in horror that this might be an S-rank ability. Completely broken, he collapsed to his knees, bitterly realizing that no matter how many people they united, they were nothing more than a bunch of ants in Xu Jingming's eyes. The audience, including Liu Wentao and the other rivals, all stood with their mouths agape, unable to comprehend why Xu Jingming's power was so absurd. Contrary to everyone else, Jiang Chuxuan clenched her fists and smiled excitedly, thinking to herself that she knew her senior would certainly pull it off. Song Chuyun smiled confidently, believing that those who thought they could defeat Xu Jingming were simply too naive. In the stands, the department heads analyzed his spearmanship in astonishment: supersonic speed, advanced skill, and a flawless lightning net. Dean Sun Qing's secretly regretted that Master Yang Zentian was not present, otherwise she could have asked for more information about this outstanding disciple. Below the arena, the remaining opponents were completely demoralized, desperately trying to find a way to break through Xu Jingming's defense, and some even entertained the idea of fleeing. "You don't dare approach? Then I shall come to you." Xu Jingming smirked provocatively as purple lightning surged around the shaft of his spear. Instantly, he slammed the tip of his spear into the ground, generating a terrifying energy explosion. Moving at a speed invisible to the naked eye, Xu Jingming plunged into the crowd, his body transforming into countless afterimages. The remaining contestants screamed in panic, realizing that standing scattered only made them easy targets and that they had to join forces. They hastily gathered, setting up a defensive formation combining shields and elemental abilities. In a flashback moment, Liu Wentao anxiously asked Xu Jingming about the encounter between Song Chuyun and Jiang Chuxuan, but Xu Jingming just looked confused. Liu Wentao couldn't believe that no conflict had occurred between the two of them, finding the situation surprisingly harmonious. He admiringly concluded that Xu Jingming had handled everything smoothly, just as a device chimed, granting access. Returning to his room, Xu Jingming smiled with amusement, deciding to check his rewards first. Back in the arena, the defeated contestants sat slumped on the ground, bitterly lamenting Xu Jingming's overwhelming power and their own bad luck. A surveillance drone hovered above, solemnly announcing the end of the round, with the only person to pass being Xu Jingming, having defeated 102 opponents. The drone continued to emit a signal, preparing to announce the format for selecting the remaining 4 contestants. Sun Qing's now explained that, excluding Xu Jingming, who had a guaranteed spot, the others would have to participate in another round of matches to select the final 4. The audience in the stands was in an uproar. They had never seen a freshman competition where only one person advanced, and they predicted the clubs would fiercely compete to recruit him. The department heads confirmed that Xu Jingming had broken a record held for over 40 years by an S-rank ability user, establishing a new achievement that was nearly unbreakable. They were astonished by his spearmanship, which had reached a master level, and Dean Sun Qingsno admitted she had given up on trying to lure him to the elemental department. Vice Principal Ling Shuang smiled meaningfully, believing that, with Xu Jingming present, the upcoming inter-school research trip would be nothing to worry about. In the arena, Liu Wentao, Song Chuyun, and Qi Dongxia ran over to congratulate Xu Jingming on his victory. Liu Wentao excitedly recounted Li Chengzi's ashen face after Xi Liao was defeated. Likening him to someone performing face-changing, Liu Wentao continued to mock him, concluding that Li Chengzi was merely a paper tiger who bullied the weak and feared the strong. Xu Jingming thought to himself that Li Chengzhu's previous arrogant behavior was unacceptable, and he decided to use one of his 3 opportunities to challenge him in the second round. He turned back to encourage the group, saying the rest was up to them. Liu Wentao confidently replied that making it into the top 50 was simple, while Song Chuyun also looked eager to show off. Song Chuyun fist-bumped Xu Jingming, declaring that she would show him that, even if she couldn't beat him, she was still the strongest freshman besides him. By the third round, Liu Wentao stepped onto the stage and finished in 4th place after defeating 9 opponents. Round 6 was Qi Dongxia's performance. She brilliantly secured 3rd place with the achievement of defeating 12 people. Finally, in round 8, it was Song Chuyun's turn. She slung her halberd over her shoulder, her eyes shining with confidence, and declared that it was time for her to act. In the stands, a group of male students cheered excitedly, praising Song Chuyun as the Sichuan valedictorian who possessed both looks and strength, even hailing her as the new generation goddess. The match began, and Song Chuyun immediately activated her Dawn Light ability, causing her entire body and halberd to emit a brilliant golden aura. She plunged into the battle, her halberd dancing in graceful yet deadly arcs, easily overwhelming her opponents. The contestants in the arena cried out in terror upon realizing that Song Chuyun had also broken through to Tier 2. And even though she hadn't transformed like Su Jingming, they desperately admitted they had no chance of winning. From another corner, Wei He, the president of the Ash Club, ordered his members to place Song Chuyun on the 2nd recruitment target list, temporarily ranking Li Chengzi 3rd. In the arena, Song Chuyun was like a female war god. Her halberd swept back and forth, creating streaks of metallic golden light that sent opponent after opponent flying. She concentrated her energy, preparing to unleash her signature martial skill, the light flame gravity array. The halberd was slammed hard onto the arena floor, releasing a giant light formation that enveloped the entire area, creating an invisible pressure that weighed heavily on everyone. One contestant collapsed, hands braced on the ground, straining against the terrifying gravity pressing down on his body, and cried out about the unimaginable weight. With a single strike, Song Chuyun ended the match, standing firm among 45 fallen opponents and securing the top spot absolutely. She smiled contentedly, a confident and proud smile of a true victor. A dark-haired female student with a ponytail confidently waved at Xu Jingming's group. She approached and asked Xu Jingming about her performance, receiving praise from him for her excellent combination of magic and close combat. 2 hours later, the 2nd round of the freshman tournament officially began under the free challenge format, where each participant had 3 opportunities to challenge others. The floating combat platform slowly descended, preparing for the upcoming battles. Xu Jingming considered challenging the 2nd-ranked student, but then decided to ask Eva to arrange a match against the 3rd-ranked student, Li Chengzi. Li Chengzi's face contorted with shock and fury. He couldn't believe what he had just heard. He roared, questioning why the 1st-ranked student would challenge the 3rd-ranked, and Xu Jingming coldly replied that the rules didn't forbid it, while also reminding him of his previous provocation. In the crowd, a gray-haired male student explained to his friend that Li Chengzi had previously provoked Xu Jingming. Li Chengzi accepted the challenge, declaring that he would see what the power of a true S-rank ability user was like. While EVA announced the match would take place on Combat Platform 74, EVA signaled the start, and Xu Jingming and Li Chengzi stood facing each other on the platform, ready for combat. Li Chengzi immediately activated his S-rank beast transformation ability, the Berserk Blood Lion King, transforming into a lion man with a blazing red mane. In his new form, he roared that Xu Jingming had forced him to use this power and charged forward to attack. Xu Jingming, with purple lightning flashing in his eyes, retorted that this was the consequence of Li Chengzi's own arrogance. Li Chengzi unleashed a powerful slash onto the arena floor, but Xu Jingming quickly dodged, leaving behind a streak of lightning. Xu Jingming leaped high into the air, raising his spear, preparing to strike down with a thunderous blow from above. Li Chengzi roared, unleashing the wild lion slash, confident that a lightning-type user could not confront him head-on. Xu Jingming's spear, fully charged with lightning, collided directly with Li Chengzi's attack. The terrifying impact sent Li Chengzi flying backward, his body losing balance mid-air. Li Chengzi realized in horror that Xu Jingming's power far surpassed his own, his hands trembling from the shock. Xu Jingming stood firm, violent purple lightning surging around him, demonstrating absolute dominance. Submerged in the purple heaven divine thunder, Li Chengzi screamed in agonizing pain. He writhed in his lion form, unable to resist the savage electrical current tormenting his body. The horrified spectators realized that Xu Jingming was deliberately torturing his opponent, a costly lesson for anyone who dared to provoke him. A massive explosion erupted, and the match concluded with Xu Jingming's overwhelming victory. Standing on the platform, Xu Jingming coldly thought that those 10 seconds of agony would be a lesson Li Chengzi would remember for the rest of his life. Lying slumped on the arena floor, Li Chengzi trembled, relieved to still be alive. He had genuinely thought he was going to die. Only when Xu Jingming turned and walked away did Li Chengzi dare to breathe a sigh of relief, the terror still lingering. Meanwhile, Another dark-haired female student confidently stepped forward, declaring to the EVA system that she wished to challenge Li Chengzi for the third rank. Upon hearing the challenge, the already stunned Li Chengzi became even more furious and dumbfounded. On another platform, Qi Dongxia was dominating her own fierce battle. Song Chu-yun also ended her match with a powerful strike and was declared the winner by the EVA drone. Completely broken, Li Chengzi was carried away on a stretcher by the medical team. Song Chu-yun happily ran over to Xu Jingming, asking if he had seen her performance, and he praised her. She smiled brightly and intimately bumped fists with Xu Jingming. Witnessing this scene, a group of male students couldn't help but feel jealous, gossiping that their goddess had been won over by Xu Jingming too quickly. One person in the group quickly covered his friend's mouth, warning that they didn't want to be beaten down by the pair like Li Chengzi was. 4 hours later, Dean Sun Kingsnow announced that the freshman competition had officially concluded. The rankings appeared. Xu Jingming was in first place, followed by Song Chu-yun and Li Chengzi. Students were instructed to log into the school website to select their respective academies. Having changed into casual clothes, Song Chu-yun asked Xu Jingming about his class, learning that they would be studying in 2 different academies. As Xu Jingming and Song Chu-yun departed, Qi Dongxia playfully teased Liu Wentao about the pair's closeness. In the stands, Dean Sun Kingsnow officially declared the ceremony and the freshman competition over, while also hinting at special mentorship invitations. Yang Zhentian and Long Ke both agreed that this year's batch of students, especially Xu Jingming, would cause fierce competition among the school's various clubs and societies. Meanwhile, Liu Wentao suggested the group go out to celebrate, and Song Chu-yun quickly nominated the champion, Xu Jingming, to treat them. Xu Jingming happily agreed, causing Liu Wentao to jump for joy and praise his generosity. Suddenly, a stranger blocked their path and called out to Xu Jingming. The person introduced himself as Wu Yuan, the president of the Falling Star Club, and formally invited Xu Jingming to join his society. To show his sincerity, Wu Yuan offered an extremely attractive proposal: the position of vice president, 100 credits per semester, and a B-rank resource. Qi Dongxia and Liu Wentao were utterly astonished by the benefits, secretly lamenting the vast gap between ordinary people and geniuses. Just then, another voice rang out, criticizing the Falling Star Club's offer as too stingy. The newcomer was Wai He, the president of the Ash Club, and he presented an even more shocking invitation: the position of reserve president for Xu Jingming. Everyone witnessing the scene was stunned by the Ash Club's aggressive investment. Wu Yuan admitted he couldn't make a similar promise because the Falling Star Club was constrained by the regulations of its superior guild. Faced with 2 powerful invitations, Xu Jingming pondered for a moment and then requested a few days to think it over. He recalled wasting too much time on club activities in his previous life and decided he must be more cautious in this one. Both Wu Yuan and Wei, he agreed, giving Xu Jingming their personal business cards for later contact. The 2 presidents also didn't forget to extend invitations to Xu Jingming's friends, demonstrating their goodwill. Just as Xu Jingming prepared to lead his group away, Song Chu-yun sensed that they wouldn't be able to escape attention so easily. Sure enough, representatives from numerous other clubs immediately swarmed forward, surrounding Xu Jingming with countless attractive invitations. After a strenuous effort, the group finally escaped the crowd, and Xu Jingming decided to take everyone to Qingyeju. Xu Jingming was startled when a familiar figure approached. It was Jiang Chushuan. She smiled and greeted her junior, whom she hadn't seen in a long time. Xu Jingming awkwardly returned the greeting, while Song Chu-yun looked surprised, wondering who this person was. He explained that this was senior Jiang Chushuan, whom he had met in the wilderness, and Jiang Chushuan introduced herself as a second-year student from the Elemental Academy. Liu Wentao immediately blushed, stammering out Goddess Jiang, and secretly admired Xu Jingming for knowing such a famous ice beauty. Song Chu-yun showed no sign of being intimidated. She smiled confidently and introduced herself as Xu Jingming's classmate. Jiang Chushuan secretly assessed Song Chu-yun, acknowledging that the girl's captivating beauty and sensual figure possessed an irresistible charm. She was even astonished to realize that Song Chu-yun's appeal could sway both men and women. Xu Jingming invited Jiang Chushuan to join the group for a meal, and she happily accepted. The entire group proceeded to a luxurious restaurant to celebrate. The 5 of them raised their glasses to celebrate the conclusion of the freshman competition. During the banquet, Jiang Chushuan leaned closer and invited Xu Jingming to toast with her. Immediately afterward, Song Chu-yun refused to be outdone, pressing close to Xu Jingming and inviting him to drink with her. Sensing the tense atmosphere, Liu Wentao whispered to Qi Dongxia that both girls were interested in Xu Jingming and that they should immediately withdraw from this battlefield of love. Liu Wentao quickly stood up, making an excuse about having urgent business with Qi Dongxia, and left first, abandoning the bewildered Xu Jingming. With only 3 people remaining, both Jiang Chushuan and Song Chuyun leaned against Xu Jingming, complaining that they were drunk and couldn't walk. Both girls simultaneously clung to Xu Jingming, pleading for him to help take them home. Faced with the expectant gazes of the 2 beauties, Xu Jingming reluctantly agreed. 2 passers-by witnessed Xu Jingming escorting both Jiang Chushuan and another beautiful girl, and couldn't help but utter envious comments. Finally, Xu Jingming managed to bring both of them back to the front of a large building. As soon as he entered the room, Xu Jingming saw an unfamiliar woman sitting on the sofa, who coldly asked him who he was. The woman stood up and introduced herself as Su Yu, his class advisor, who had come to present the rewards for the freshman competition. Su Yu handed Xu Jingming a wooden box, instructing him that it could be opened with his fingerprint and reminding him to join the class group, adding that he could contact her directly if he encountered any problems. After giving her instructions, Su Yu bid farewell to inform the other students, leaving Xu Jingming and Liu Wentao watching from the staircase. Liu Wentao rushed down, anxiously asking if any conflict had erupted between Song Chuyun and Senior Jiang, leaving Xu Jingming confused. Seeing that his friend was safe and sound, Liu Wentao sighed in relief, astonished that everything had turned out so harmoniously. He praised Xu Jingming's capability in handling both beauties smoothly, while Xu Jingming used his fingerprint to unlock the reward box. With an eager smile, Xu Jingming opened the lid of the box, ready to examine the valuable items inside. He muttered the command "store," and a blue energy sphere appeared in his hand, drawing the spear into the ring. The spatial ring glowed, easily shrinking the long spear and storing it within its dimensional space. Xu Jingming happily clenched his fist, realizing he finally wouldn't have to carry his weapon everywhere, while Liu Wentao marveled that his friend possessed 3 spatial rings. Liu Wentao lamented that even though he made it into the top 50, he only had a meager 400 credits, which couldn't compare to Xu Jingming's wealth. Xu Jingming calmly replied that he had too many rings and planned to go to the equipment department tomorrow to sell some of them. He picked up a pill, wondering about its function since there was no instruction manual, and Liu Wentao immediately suggested summoning EVA for appraisal. Following his friend's advice, Xu Jingming held up the pill, and the EVA drone sphere flew over, shining a beam of light to scan and analyze the item. EVA quickly identified it as a Rank 5 spirit-gathering pill, an A-grade cultivation resource that significantly enhances mental power for users below Rank 5. Xu Jingming was surprised to learn that EVA had an analysis function, and Liu Wentao further explained that it could also appraise monster materials and rare herbs. He regretted that such a convenient AI couldn't be taken into the wilderness, but Liu Wentao mentioned that similar products were available on the market. Xu Jingming sat alone in the training room on the 2nd floor, deciding that he first needed to check his current mental power level. Holding the spirit-gathering pill, he pondered how increasing the 2 foundational attributes, physical strength and mental power, was becoming increasingly difficult and inefficient. Xu Jingming swallowed the spirit-gathering pill, hoping it would bring a surprise. Immediately, a powerful surge of mental energy erupted around his body. He checked his status panel, and was satisfied to see that the pill's effect had saved him 500 ability points. While his mental energy was abundant, Xu Jingming decided to train for 2 more hours before going to sleep. The next day, at a bustling trading center, people were constantly coming and going. Xu Jingming arrived here after selling the rings, secretly astonished that his assets now exceeded 100 million. He took queue number 43 and realized he would have to wait for over an hour, so he decided to find a place to cultivate while waiting. Xu Jingming walked toward the waiting area, looking for an empty seat. Suddenly, a familiar voice rang out, and he realized it was Jiang Chushuan. He smiled back, teasingly asking if she had sobered up after last night's events. Jiang Chushuan confidently replied that she had been sober for a long time. She curiously asked if he was here to sell herbs, but Xu Jingming replied that he wanted to find an alchemist to refine them. Hearing this, Jiang Chushuan smiled brightly, confidently nominating herself. Xu Jingming looked skeptical, but Jiang Chushuan affirmed that she possessed a Rank 2 alchemist license. He was even more surprised when she revealed that she intended to switch entirely to being a full-time alchemist. The two sat down together in the waiting area while Jiang Chushuan began to explain. She admitted that after the previous crisis, she realized the wilderness wasn't suitable for her, and that she would switch to making vlogs about refining medicine. Jiang Chushuan recalled her past as an orphan, struggling financially, until a friend informed her that her monster-slaying videos had become famous. Thanks to that fame, she received advertising contracts, but deep down, she still preferred researching and refining pills. The image of her engrossed in the laboratory clearly showed her true passion. Jiang Chushuan explained that since she couldn't rely on luck to save her life every time, she decided to change her path, and Xu Jingming wished her success. Xu Jingming wondered if an ice-type user could practice alchemy, but Jiang Chushuan smiled, suggesting he didn't fully understand the field. She explained that there are special alchemy furnaces capable of converting energy, meaning even his thunder-type power could be used to refine elixirs. Trusting her abilities, Xu Jingming handed Jiang Chushuan a box of rare medicinal ingredients, which surprised her. Jiang Chushuan happily accepted them and promised to deliver the finished product within a week. Immediately afterward, Xu Jingming's phone unexpectedly rang, drawing his attention. Following the call, he immediately headed to an ancient, solemn compound. Inside, two strangers were animatedly discussing Xu Jingming's monster reputation on the school forums with their senior brother Liu Ming. Liu Ming merely offered a knowing smile, asserting that their new junior brother would astound them. The senior sister seemed interested but remained slightly skeptical, suggesting Liu Ming might be exaggerating. Xu Jingming entered, greeted his master Yang Zhentian, and explained that he had arrived immediately upon receiving the call. His gaze suddenly froze when he saw Liu Ming sitting in a wheelchair, his legs bandaged, and he frantically asked what had happened. Yang Zhentian revealed that a rank 8 grandmaster named Wang Lin had used a guild as bait for the beasts, resulting in Liu Ming being severely wounded in the ensuing battle. The master explained this was why he had been absent from the freshman competition, while Xu Jingming gritted his teeth, enraged by the cruelty of such a powerful individual. He realized the terrifying disparity in strength, and vowed that if he didn't become stronger, others would crush him at will. Yang Zhentian patted his shoulder reassuringly, then introduced the other two, third-year senior brother Xu Wei and second-year senior sister Tong Yue. Both senior brother and senior sister greeted their new junior brother warmly. Xu Wei generously gifted him a rank 4 vitality pill, a B-grade cultivation resource, and transferred an additional 200 credits. Faced with the generosity of his senior siblings, Xu Jingming bowed in sincere gratitude. Following senior brother Liu Ming's words, Xu Jingming confirmed to senior sister Tong Yue that he had indeed mastered 4 A-rank thunder-type martial skills. Xu Wei and Tong Yue were utterly astonished, unable to believe how someone who had just broken through to upper tier 2 could learn so many skills. Tong Yue secretly lamented the unfairness, as she herself had only reached this level after arduously cultivating 2 martial skills. In response to everyone's questions, Xu Jingming humbly replied that he was born with good intuition, while secretly thinking he couldn't reveal the secret of the system. Yang Zhentian expressed his satisfaction and mentioned the praise from Dean Sun, but Xu Jingming changed the subject, asking his master to help him test a new martial skill. He boldly declared that it was the S-rank martial skill, the Netherworld Thunder Armor. Everyone, from the senior siblings to Master Yang Zhentian, was stunned by this earth-shattering revelation. Xu Wei immediately retracted his offer to help, admitting that his lower tier 3 strength could never break through that defense, and Yang Zhentian decided to take the group to the training ground. At the vast arena, the group prepared for the strength test. While waiting, the senior siblings discussed, and Tong Yue finally understood why Liu Ming called their junior brother a monster. Xu Jingming began circulating his energy, and streams of purple and blue electricity started converging around him. In the blink of an eye, a majestic thunder armor enveloped his body, and Xu Jingming confidently challenged his master to attack. Yang Zhentian accepted the challenge, announcing he would start with the intensity of a peak tier 3 awakener. He fired a blazing red thunder sphere straight towards Xu Jingming. Standing firm against the attack, Xu Jingming asked his master to increase the power, stating it wasn't enough. Yang Zhentian nodded, beginning to amplify his energy, with more powerful purple electric currents surrounding him. The attack's power was multiplied 2, then 4, then 6 times, relentlessly striking the thunder armor. When the attack intensity reached 10 times the original, cracks began to appear in the Netherworld thunder armor. Under the final strike, the S-rank defensive armor shattered into pieces. After the armor broke, Yang Zhentian praised Xu Jingming, noting that his defense had withstood an attack 10 times stronger than a peak tier 3 strike. The senior siblings watching were terrified, realizing Xu Jingming had crossed 2 major tiers to resist a tier 4 attack, an extraordinary feat. Just as the master intended to end the training session for a meal, Xu Jingming stopped him. With a fierce roar, he declared that he hadn't reached his limit yet, as violent purple lightning enveloped his body and his hair gradually turned white. Xu Jingming unleashed his full power, completing his transformation into the Thunder Extreme form, the terrifying aura throwing his master backward. Blown backward, the senior siblings were stunned as Liu Ming recognized his junior brother's transformation state and wondered if his indestructible thunder body had reached the 3rd layer. Tong Yue was utterly shocked, admitting her own body was only at the second layer, and feeling that Xu Jingming's talent far surpassed the norm. He was nothing short of a monster. Yang Zentian laughed heartily with excitement, confirming his student's suspicions and preparing to launch an even stronger attack. A destructive energy sphere was hurled straight toward Xu Jingming, who was in his strongest state. 3 minutes later, Xu Jingming reverted to his original form, exhausted but still standing, while Yang Zentian announced that he had withstood an attack 20 times stronger than the initial strike. With a proud gaze, Yang Zentian admitted that his student's achievement had far exceeded all his expectations. Xu Jingming thanked his master, secretly thinking that he had finally understood the limits of his own defense. Yang Zentian helped his disciple stand up, praising him as the one who caused him the least worry because he could learn everything on his own. In high spirits, the group set off to celebrate, with the master promising the most lavish meal. Their car sped down the highway, transitioning the scene to a private conversation. Sitting in the car, Xu Jingming asked Liu Ming for his opinion on whether to join the Ash Club or the Falling Star Club, and was advised to choose the Falling Star Club. Xu Wei, who was driving, looked surprised, but Liu Ming explained that his club was currently facing trouble, so the Falling Star Club was the better choice for Xu Jingming right now. Yang Zhentian offered a different perspective, advising Xu Jingming to establish his own society later, to build his personal power base. Xu Jingming pondered his master's advice, wondering about the necessity of creating his own faction. Yang Zentian explained that he hadn't been able to break through to the Grandmaster rank because he lacked a backing faction, having to handle every trivial matter himself, and advised Xu Jingming that having his own power base would allow him to focus entirely on cultivation. Xu Jingming grasped his master's teaching, secretly resolving to consider this matter once his strength grew further. The next day, classes officially began, and Xu Jingming felt that his academic life had finally settled into its routine. During a lecture, the professor explained the origin of the fierce beasts from hundreds of years ago, when the primordial energy surged, transforming animals and awakening human potential. Xu Jingming learned that the planet's advanced technology, including the ability detection devices, were all developed from ancient civilization relics discovered afterward. He attended an anatomy class, where the teacher was lecturing on the skeleton of a gigantic marine fierce beast. In the weaponry department, another teacher introduced a spiked mace to the class. Next, in the elemental department, a female teacher demonstrated her fire-type ability. The female teacher was then astonished, praising Xu Jingming for shaping his S-rank ability into a water dragon, a feat no one in her department could achieve, and expressed regret that he wasn't one of her students. On the weekend, Xu Jingming traveled to the Yangcheng wilderness area, using his new spear to unleash a powerful lightning strike, cleanly eliminating a swarm of crab-like monsters. His new spear was identified as the Azure Black Dragon Spear, valued at 1,000 credits. Standing amidst the purple electrical currents, Xu Jingming clearly felt his combat strength had been elevated once again, thanks to his new knowledge, techniques, and equipment. He checked his status panel, realized his ability could not be upgraded further, and immediately decided to use all his accumulated ability points to enhance himself. After allocating the points, he believed that one day, his Violet Heaven Divine Thunder ability would surely become an SS rank ability. With the spear resting on his shoulder and golden lightning flashing, Xu Jingming smiled, full of confidence in his future power. The scene shifted back to the university campus. A female student wearing glasses expressed surprise that Xu Jingming had only been practicing ability control for a few days, yet was already better than her month of training, prompting him to humbly reply that he had simply experienced a sudden enlightenment. His classmate then asked about the upcoming inter-school event, and Xu Jingming confirmed his participation since the location was a wilderness area. Xu Jingming thought to himself that this was a great opportunity to collect ability points, and he was also eager to see how strong the geniuses from the other two top universities were. 1 week later, Xu Jingming gathered with his group of friends, including Liu Wentao, Song Chuyun, and Qi Dongxia, in a large auditorium. Liu Wentao and Qi Dongxia excitedly discussed the event, certain that with Xu Jingming participating, the school's 5th consecutive championship in this research trip was guaranteed. Suddenly, a brilliant gate of light appeared on the stage, capturing everyone's attention. A woman in majestic red attire stepped out, introduced herself as the host of the meeting, and ordered Eva to display the map. EVA immediately flew up, projecting a massive 3-dimensional map, and the woman announced the destination, Devil's Den Wilderness Area, number 7. The students murmured nervously upon hearing the name, Devil's Den, a place rumored to have buried countless super ability users, and Xu Jingming also sensed the danger of the trip. The woman reassured them that she would personally lead the team, and announced the resource distribution mechanism based on the ranking of fierce beast kills. With the top 50 participants receiving rewards, she emphasized the importance of the first-place position for the school's honor, and directly entrusted this mission to Xu Jingming, who confidently accepted without hesitation. However, the woman smiled meaningfully and revealed shocking news. Qingjing Superpower University had invited a foreign aide possessing an S-rank ability to participate. The other students immediately began discussing in astonishment, wondering about the origin of this new S-ranker, as no one in the entire Xia nation had awakened an S-rank ability in the past 3 years. Eva projected the opponent's image, a man named Kiran Rao, an exchange student from the nation of Jidu, who possessed an S-rank enhancement ability and had already reached lower tier 3. Xu Jingming narrowed his eyes, his mind focused on the fact that the opponent was already at tier 3. The other students were completely shocked, unable to believe that a freshman could reach such an astonishing level. The woman confirmed the information was accurate, but added that Kiran Rao was actually 20 years old. The students immediately protested, arguing that it was unfair for a 20-year-old to compete against them. But the woman explained that, according to the regulations of the empire Kiran hailed from, he was still considered a freshman. Song Chuyun thought to herself that a lower tier 3 S-ranker was no match for her. But then she looked over at Xu Jingming and saw that he remained completely calm. Meanwhile, Xu Jingming merely thought that the opponent also being S-rank was no big deal, as he was already accustomed to fighting above his tier. He crossed his arms, completely confident in his set of S and A rank combat skills and his peak spear mastery, asserting that when it came to hunting monsters, he would not lose to anyone. The woman observed Xu Jingming's demeanor and nodded in satisfaction, secretly praising his courage and feeling that the decision to grant him the tier 3 Tyrant Dragon Blood essence was entirely justified. The red-robed instructor thought to herself that Qingjing University would be disappointed, as they had brought in foreign aid just to compete for priority resource allocation. She ascended into the air, declared the end of the meeting, and gave the students 7 days to prepare for the trip. 7 days later, Jiang Chushuan brought Xu Jingming countless vials of tier 3 elixirs that she had refined, enough for him to use for an entire month. Xu Jingming thanked her and felt a pang of sympathy seeing the dark circles under her eyes, advising her not to stay up refining elixirs since he could buy them externally. Jiang Chushuan confidently asserted that the elixirs she personally refined had far superior efficacy compared to store-bought goods. She also revealed that she had prepared an identical set and asked Xu Jingming to give it to Song Chuyun. Xu Jingming was surprised by the close relationship between the two, but Jiang Chushuan only smiled playfully and refused to elaborate. Before leaving, Jiang Chushuan instructed Xu Jingming and Song Chuyun to do their best, but most importantly, to stay safe. When he was alone, Xu Jingming held the vial of medicine, secretly touched as he realized she must have stayed up for 3 or 4 nights straight to refine such a large quantity. He resolved to put aside personal feelings, telling himself that now was not the time. The priority was to quickly become stronger. On the day of departure, a massive crowd of 856 freshmen gathered at the school stadium. Standing with Liu Wentao and Song Chuyun, Xu Jingming wondered why they were gathering here instead of the high-speed rail station. Liu Wentao explained that they would be traveling by airship, confusing Song Chuyun, as the school grounds had no runway. Just then, a gigantic airship descended from the sky, causing all the students to look up in astonishment. The colossal vessel landed in the middle of the field, overwhelming the students with its size and magnificent appearance. Some recognized it as an airship excavated from the ruins of an ancient civilization, featuring anti-gravity technology that current science still couldn't decipher. The red-robed instructor stood before the vessel, loudly ordering all freshmen to board. Following the command, the stream of people began boarding the ancient airship. Meanwhile, the instructor activated a complex and brilliant magic array on the ground right next to the ship. The red-robed instructor hovered in mid-air, channeling astonishing power to activate the yin-yang spatial barrier. Energy from the magic array enveloped the entire airship, preparing for an extraordinary effect. Inside, the students were utterly amazed when the ship suddenly became transparent, and they were informed that this barrier would help them evade all flying, fierce beasts. Xu Jingming secretly admired the power of the masters, while dreaming of the day he could possess a flight skill. Upon command, the soldier-grade stealth airship named EVA shot into the sky, beginning its journey. Before long, the airship reached its destination, Shun'an Supply Base in Qian Province, a modern military complex. After landing, a guide informed the Madu University students about the dormitory assignments and available facilities. Xu Jingming's group cheerfully exchanged their room numbers, finding that each of them was assigned to a different floor. Song Chuyun suddenly exclaimed upon realizing her room was right next to Xu Jingming's, a coincidence he had to acknowledge. Since he possessed a convenient spatial ring, Xu Jingming decided to head straight to the training hall, and Song Chuyun immediately insisted on joining him. The large training ground was already bustling with students from other universities diligently honing their skills. Song Chuyun quickly spotted a formidable figure and pointed him out to Xu Jingming, curiously asking if he was the S-rank ability user from Qingjing University. Indeed, it was Kiran Rao, demonstrating extraordinary strength by lifting a pair of dumbbells so heavy that they terrified the onlookers. Kiran Rao glanced over, seemingly having sensed Xu Jingming's presence and gaze. He abruptly dropped the colossal weights onto the floor and began walking directly towards Xu Jingming. A deafening crash echoed throughout the training hall as the weights struck the ground hard enough to crack the floor. Kiran Rao stood before Xu Jingming, removed his outer robe, and politely introduced himself as being from Qingjing University. The surrounding students began whispering, recognizing this as a confrontation between two top freshmen, and felt fortunate to have Kiran on their side. Surprised by his opponent's polite demeanor, Xu Jingming smiled and extended his hand to return the greeting. Kiran Rao stepped forward, offered his sweaty hand towards Song Chuyun, and introduced himself. Disgusted by the strong body odor, Song Chuyun quickly raised her hand to cover her nose. Suddenly, Xu Jingming reached out and firmly gripped Kiran's wrist with immense force. With a cold expression, Xu Jingming reminded Kiran of the rudeness of touching a girl while covered in sweat. Kiran gritted his teeth, his eyes blazing with fury at Xu Jingming's intervention. The atmosphere in the training hall instantly grew tense as powerful auras erupted from the two individuals, making the other students fear an imminent fight. Xu Jingming continued his lecture, advising Kiran to learn the etiquette of the great Xia nation. Held fast and unable to move, Kiran was astonished to realize the extraordinary physical strength of his opponent, who also possessed a lightning-type ability. Kiran's gaze shifted to Song Chuyun with a look of desire, secretly calculating that if he could claim her, he would never have to worry about cultivation resources again. Feeling unable to tolerate the suffocating atmosphere, Song Chuyun suggested they leave, and Xu Jingming happily agreed. An hour later, as the group strolled down the street after their meal, they encountered a man in a suit preaching about the apocalypse. Xu Jingming recognized him as a member of the cults that often operated in chaotic areas like this, but he paid little attention. Ignored by the crowd, the fanatic muttered angrily as a woman and her child walked past him. With a maniacal grin, he pulled out a serrated blade, believing that people didn't believe him because they had never felt pain. The man roared and lunged to attack the innocent mother and child, causing the woman to scream in terror. In a flash, Xu Jingming appeared, his body flashing with purple lightning, blocking the fatal attack. He stood there, holding his spear, shielding the woman who was tightly embracing her frightened daughter, Yin Yin. The woman looked up, profusely thanking Xu Jingming for saving their lives, and he humbly replied that it was simply the right thing to do. When everything was over, Song Chuyun approached, commenting that such open violence was unusual for cults, while Xu Jingming pondered their arrogance. Xu Jingming secretly wondered if the recent attack was merely a coincidence, or if the perpetrator had accomplices. From a distance, a mysterious figure in a hooded robe observed everything, before silently departing. The hooded figure entered a magnificent mansion, hidden amidst quiet gardens and a lake. Inside the mansion, a subordinate reported to a hidden archbishop that the person who killed their follower was Xu Jingming. The archbishop repeated Xu Jingming's name, while the subordinate astonishingly described the youth's extraordinary rate of growth. Recognizing Xu Jingming's terrifying potential, the archbishop concluded that if he were allowed to continue developing, he would become an immeasurable threat. He ordered his subordinate to retrieve the blood of the god, while warning them not to reveal the identity of the Heavenly Mandate cult. The archbishop declared that they would reveal the cult publicly within the next month, and decided to turn Xu Jingming and the other elites into sacrifices. Meanwhile, at a vast base, hundreds of students from various universities had gathered, preparing for the research expedition. Vice Principal Xu Ping appeared and announced that the research expedition would last exactly 1 month, starting with the distribution of smart bracelets. The students received their smart bracelets one by one, devices that would record all of their achievements. Xu Ping explained that the top 1,000 would receive rewards, and specifically, the top 3 could learn combat techniques from the libraries of all 3 universities. Amidst the crowd, other students had already begun discussing the fierce competition for the top spot between Kiran Rao and Xu Jingming. Xu Ping announced that there were no rules regarding team formation and encouraged everyone to act freely. Immediately, the atmosphere became lively as students began loudly recruiting members for their teams. Class representative Ding Yu approached Xu Jingming and invited him to join the class team, but he politely declined. Song Chuyun stepped forward, questioning Xu Jingming's intention to act alone, and he frankly replied that his target was the central region. Xu Jingming calculated that, with his current strength, he could definitely manage in the central region, where worthy prey resided. Song Qiuyun admitted that the central region was too dangerous for her, but offered to accompany Xu Jingming on the journey there, which he accepted. Song Qiuyun smiled happily, agreeing that they would set off shortly. Suddenly, Kiran Rao, the exchange student, blocked their path and called out Xu Jingming's name directly. With a challenging gaze, Kiran Rao declared that he looked forward to Xu Jingming's performance and hoped he wouldn't fall too far behind. Xu Jingming calmly replied with a single phrase, 100%, leaving Kiran Rao confused. He confidently asserted that he was 100% certain of victory, then coldly walked away. Provoked, Kiran Rao gritted his teeth and swore to use overwhelming power to show the people of Great Xia his true strength. Vice Principal Xu Ping loudly declared that the research expedition had officially begun. Immediately, hundreds of students surged forward simultaneously, each carrying their own goals and determination. 7 hours later, inside Ghost Cave No. 7, Xu Jingming and Song Qiuyun cautiously ventured deeper into the dense jungle. They quickly encountered a pack of iron-scaled pangolins, ferocious Tier 2 fierce beasts. Song Qiuyun hastily warned that their scales were harder than E-grade alloy, but Xu Jingming calmly replied, "I'll handle this." The iron-scaled pangolins roared and charged, while Xu Jingming plunged alone into the enemy encirclement. The monsters curled into sharp, spiked balls, shooting toward him like cannonballs. Xu Jingming wielded his spear, his movement technique gracefully evading every attack by a hair's breadth. He launched a precise strike, his spear tip piercing the defenses of an iron-scaled pangolin. With absolute precision, he continued his assault, taking down the beasts one by one, much to Song Qiuyun's astonishment. Observing from a distance, Song Qiuyun was amazed to realize that every spear thrust from Xu Jingming aimed directly at a weak point without the slightest error. She secretly admired his perfectly refined energy control, wasting not a single ounce of strength. After the battle, Xu Jingming stood amidst the pile of corpses, calculating that he had eliminated 12 beasts, earning 276 ability points and 1,200 accumulation points. Song Qiuyun commented that Xu Jingming was different from other lightning element users and offered her assistance, making him curious about the distinction. She explained that while others often held nothing back when using their abilities, Xu Jingming was extremely cautious, and he replied that it was all to maintain his stamina. Xu Jingming added that he could easily wipe out the beasts using the Purple Heaven Divine Thunder, but that would be like using a sledgehammer to kill a chicken. Only by conserving energy could he eliminate more beasts, causing Song Qiuyun to secretly regret not seeing him at his strongest. As dusk approached, Xu Jingming suggested they find a place to rest before setting off the next day. However, he quickly spotted a nearby pool of water on the map and smirked, knowing that water sources were where the most fierce beasts congregated. He decided they could eliminate one more wave of monsters before night fell completely and hurried forward with Song Qiuyun. The two arrived at a quiet and serene lake nestled deep within the dense forest. Xu Jingming immediately sensed something was wrong, wondering why a water source was strangely devoid of fierce beasts. Suddenly, a gigantic tiger with striped fur and a stiff black mane emerged from the woods. The fierce beast approached the water's edge to drink, completely unaware of the hidden presence of Xu Jingming and Song Qiuyun. Unexpectedly, the water surface churned violently, and a colossal crocodile with rock-hard scales surfaced, attacking the tiger. The crocodile spat out an extremely powerful energy stream, striking the tiger directly and making it roar in pain. The tiger was severely wounded, completely overwhelmed by the aquatic predator's strength. Witnessing the scene, Xu Jingming and Song Qiuyun finally understood. A terrifying beast like this giant water crocodile was occupying the area. Song Qiuyun panicked, realizing it was a Tier 4 fierce beast, and urged Xu Jingming to leave immediately, fearing they had been discovered. Contrary to her anxiety, Xu Jingming remained calm, even smiling confidently, stating there was no need to rush, as they were not without means to deal with it. He unleashed his power, streams of brilliant purple heaven, divine thunder enveloping his body, and declared that he had previously eliminated many Tier 4 fierce beasts stronger than this one. Song Qiuyun was astonished by the overwhelming energy surge, asking if this was an exclusive combat technique taught to him by his master, Yang Zhentian. Xu Jingming smirked, confirming that while the indestructible thunder body was powerful, he possessed an even more effective technique for handling Tier 4 fierce beasts. An invisible tremor tore through the stillness of the night forest. Song Qiuyun looked up at the purple lightning bolts gathering in the sky, initially mistaking it for rain, but then realized in horror that it was something else entirely. Xu Jingming unleashed his full power, roaring the name of the technique, Heavenly Thunder Art, as a lightning storm engulfed everything. The giant water crocodile was enveloped by the wrath of the lightning, screaming in despair. It convulsed violently under the penetrating purple lightning bolts, its colossal body slowly fading. When the thunderous frenzy dissipated, Xu Jingming calmly looked at the monster's charred corpse and received a notification adding 10,000 points. He realized with satisfaction that the ability points from a Tier 4 fierce beast were 5 times higher than a Tier 3, understanding that the system always pushed users to surpass their limits. Xu Jingming turned back to Song Qiuyun, who was still stunned, telling her that the crocodile was dead and they could go examine it. Song Qiuyun was secretly terrified, unable to believe that a Tier 2 individual could defeat a Tier 4 fierce beast with a single strike. As they both approached the colossal corpse, she silently admitted that this was his true power. Xu Jingming regretted that the valuable hide had been destroyed, but Song Qiuyun reminded him that the entire body of a Tier 4 fierce beast was a treasure trove. Song Qiuyun confidently offered to use her spatial ring to store the corpse until they returned to base. Afterward, Xu Jingming decided they should find a cave to rest, as no other beast would dare approach this water source anymore. Unexpectedly, Song Qiuyun shyly suggested taking a quick bath in the nearby lake. Always cautious, Xu Jingming agreed, but decided to check the safety of the lake first. He discharged a powerful stream of electricity into the water to probe it. Xu Jingming was surprised to see an unusual reaction from beneath the lake. Streaks of dark red blood began to spread across the water's surface. He was astonished to realize that this lake emitted an alluring scent and possessed a deadly attraction. Xu Jingming felt an intense urge, an instinctive hunger emanating from the blood-colored lake before him. Meanwhile, deep in the forest, a member of the mysterious cloaked cult asked their archbishop about the objective of this mission to retrieve the blood god. The archbishop coldly declared that their target was the bloodline of the ancient dragon god. The other members grew excited. One with a sinister grin cheered that his heavenly mandate cult was about to gain another powerful blood god messenger. Immediately, another member angrily shouted, correcting him that they were the Blood Moon cult, causing the slip-up to startle and obey. The archbishop looked at the detection orb in his hand, realizing the blood god had appeared earlier than expected. Without hesitation, he ordered the entire cult to accelerate at maximum speed, determined not to rest until they quickly reached the location. Back at the lake, Xu Jingming asked Song Qiuyun if she felt the strange attraction emanating from the dark red water. Song Qiuyun denied it, but stated that her ability sensed a surge of savage beast aura from the lake, very similar to Xu Jingming's own aura. Xu Jingming deduced that this might be the blood essence of a dragon-type fierce beast, similar to the Thunder Tyrannosaurus blood essence he had previously absorbed. He decided to risk entering the lake, instructing Song Qiuyun to immediately pull him out if anything unusual occurred. The moment he touched the water, a feeling of extreme pleasure spread throughout Xu Jingming's body, like a desert traveler finding cool water after 10 days of thirst. The entire energy of the pool transformed into a red vortex, enveloping Xu Jingming and lifting him into the air. Witnessing the sight, Song Qiuyun anxiously called his name, watching helplessly as he was trapped within the energy whirlwind. Realizing Xu Jingming was undergoing a fated transformation but was defenseless, she took a stance with her long spear, determined to be his protector. The next morning, Song Qiuyun stood amidst a battlefield littered with the corpses of fierce beasts, the result of a long night of non-stop fighting. She sighed in relief, fortunate that the strongest fierce beast that had appeared during the night was only at the initial stage of Tier 3. Looking toward the pool, she noticed the red color had faded significantly, guessing that Xu Jingming's absorption process was nearing completion. Just then, a sense of danger washed over her. Song Qiuyun turned around alertly, facing the appearance of members of the Blood Moon cult. The cult's archbishop recognized Song Qiuyun as the runner-up of Madu Superpower University, wondering why a freshman would be present in this location. Facing the mysterious figures in black robes, Song Qiuyun warned them that the water source was contaminated and demanded they leave. An enraged subordinate roared that what she called contamination was their supreme blood god, but the archbishop ordered them to ignore her and seize the blood cocoon behind her. Song Qiuyun realized their target was the blood pool. She secretly assessed the enemy's strength and decided she had to use her trump card. Without hesitation, she activated a brilliant yellow protective talisman hanging around her neck. A massive protective aura, shining brightly like a small sun, enveloped Song Qiuyun, blocking the cult's entire wave of attacks. A cult member swung his sword fiercely at the light, but it only resulted in an ear-piercing clang, the attack proving completely ineffective. The archbishop was astonished, recognizing it as an extremely rare protective talisman from the relics of an ancient civilization, a reusable, life-saving treasure. From within the radiant barrier, Song Chuyun challenged them, asking why they hadn't retreated despite knowing the talisman's origin. The leader sneered, knowing well that the protective talisman had a time limit, and decided to wait patiently. Song Chuyun retorted defiantly, but inwardly, she understood the gravity of the perilous situation. She calculated silently that the talisman could only be maintained for 1 hour, and she could only hope Xu Jingming would awaken during that precious window of time. 1 hour later, the protective barrier shattered, and the archbishop triumphantly declared that the time limit was up. He issued an ultimatum, demanding Song Chuyun hand over the talisman in exchange for a swift and complete death. Facing the imminent danger, Song Chuyun pulled out a red elixir, her eyes gleaming with the resolve to fight to the death. A dark and violent aura erupted from her body, and Song Chuyun coldly declared that they were the ones who would die. Just as the battle was about to erupt, the gigantic blood cocoon behind her suddenly shook violently as a pair of hands burst forth from within. Xu Jingming shattered the blood-colored energy vortex, rising majestically from the eye of the storm. He opened his eyes, his sharp and cold gaze sweeping across the battlefield, signaling his powerful return.